Go figure, I'm uploading this footage with the wrong resolution setting. I just realized it now. Yup, it's kinda wrong. You see, there's a difference. I always like to point it out multiple times, but if I look here, it's kinda. Yep, I'm gonna check on that one now. There's way more color in there because there's. Yup, it's kind of annoying to look at, but yeah. It's just the background. It's not as distracting when it's upscaled, because OBS, when it upscales the footage, it just makes it a little more dim, a little more dark. Just yeah, it's just the way I prefer it. Otherwise, it's just gonna be kind of distracting. But yeah. As for PyPy, but there's an update apparently. I just realized now. I'm just kidding. Yeah, for you as well. Might as well do it soon after. Well, I mean, you could just click on it now, right? Hang on one at a time, I guess. Just do it. I'm gonna spin, slop. Spot. What the fuck? Did it did or not? What the fuck? I never seen that error before. No, boy, hope it's not broken. I have to install this shit. Oh my gosh. Yeah, fair enough. What a mess. Yeah, I guess it's fine. Install this fine. That should be it. With an option to force enablement. That is Saber protocol. Is it? Internal URLs dynamically change. Okay, so okay. Keep that in mind. Support translated captions for when logged into an account. Support searching for videos. Within a specific channel, that's nice. Support sorting videos within a channel. Persistent less select search filter. My custom aspect ratio. Position the tab bar at the bottom of home page. Themed icon. Some visible to push. Examination is there. It is finally. God damn it! Every little bit is missing uploaded. Example record. Weird. Yeah, there it is. Finally. It's not a very. I mean, it wasn't like a very big deal, but still, no, it is there. It just fixed it. That's nice. Mind if I wasn't so broke, I would just support them every month, at least $10 a month. This is way more. This is an actual YouTube premium. This actually feels like actual YouTube Premium. Just give money to them instead of YouTube. But yeah. Move on. Or uh, okay. Update the display of the search. Up display. Okay. Yeah, that was double there. Yay. No, sadly I'm too broke. So let's see. Am I logged in, right? Where's the server? I'll just check on this for now. But yeah, I should I can expect some errors. But it's fine. It's fine. Oh, I'm curious to try. Wait, hold on. There. What is this? Het maker mijn thick brave home. Right. Hey, Papa, okay, I was skipping on this. I guess I'll give it a chance. It doesn't seem like something I would watch, but what if it is? Playback errors, maybe? It's taking forever to load. Suspicious. Yeah, probably should roll back on that. Yep. Okay then. Go there and refer it. I probably should restart the whole thing. The fuck? No. What? What? Wasn't there some music video to see? Whatever. I'm really not sure if it's not that pop music I listen to, so I don't know. Oh, auto-tune. Oh no, listening to auto-tune stuff. I'm sorry, whatever, let's skip it. I forgot it does the stuff. Auto-tuned. Whatever. It's kind of annoying to listen. Whatever. Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Somebody's musical taste. Hold on.
Hello, voice. So Valve just does not miss. There's absolutely no way that this Steam machine could possibly go wrong.
This thing is dead on arrival. In any kind of value sense, practical sense, it is just dead on arrival.
Wait, dead on arrival? How does that happen? Even Valve is disappointed in the Steam machine?
But this is a premium price, even though I wouldn't say it's a premium product.
Not a good value in terms of the performance you get for the money. The impression I got back in November, people were saying if this launched in summer 2025 of the game, it would make a game changer. $1,000 for a device weaker than the base PS5. It's crazy work. Yeah, that's a tough sell. Valve's official unboxing of the video. We're just saying, I'm about to video so everyone knows it's actually like the old one. We can only afford to watch this. Valve, one of the coolest pieces of tech I'll never be able to get. This is the Steam machine launch page on their website is $1,049, just called $1,050. Now it's 500 gigs of storage. And only 16 gigabytes of system RAM, 8 gigabytes of DRAM, so the lowest you can get there, and it's literally bare minimum from our gaming 26. This machine is so hamstrung, they still have to charge $1,050.
This should be a social experiment of a product. See how many people will buy this shit, how much of a consumerist idiots people are. It has to be a test. See if it's gonna be sold out regardless. It has to be. It must be a social experiment. Some overpriced Xbox Series S.
has not been seen. The PC also has a built-in Steam controller receiver, so you directly connect Steam controller to the TV. There's no value ecosystem. So some playing with this console on PC, you use the PlayStation controller or Xbox controller, really for and now PC and the big thing to look forward to, but it's exactly what Steam has said here. They've been working on SteamOS sports properties across a bunch of different systems out there. They're pretty smooth. So you've seen a lot of reviews. It's a very smooth experience and very intuitive. Like a little slot. All those games right there. You navigate to the desktop mode if you want to dig into it a bit more. Yeah, there's some bugs here and there, but generally speaking, SteamOS is really good. This is a genuine alternative to Windows. You just play games. The smooth experience. And SteamOS itself has been running better and better with its compatibility. Intel CPUs, but currently they're running NVIDIA GPUs working smoothly. So I believe support all these stuff on the GPU side, working hard on supporting NVIDIA GPUs. So you have home theater PC versus APC. You want to specifically play games. You got any GPU, CPU, and any stuff on CPUs. And whichever thing just work. You don't have to worry about drivers nearly as much. Everything will just run on your updates something every now and then. All you downloads will be there. Easy to navigate, smooth experience. You press a button, you play a game easily, sleep it, you get all this stuff. Really helpful improving the PC experience. I love that shit. Because PC is not easier to use. My things you work really fast. RGB software and that shit. It doesn't make things easier to see the games on PC. It's a huge challenge on PC. You have different kinds of hardware, so everybody do it on the same. How do you handle that? We handle by allowing returns to be easy to do. So all the system is absolutely great. Also, add an option to leave hardware specs. So when you're using PC, you're running off the user review on Steam storage. Which is pretty cool way to make a game on for example, has not walking OBS can't really see it. You see it on the Steam zone very much so. Not running on computers. And you see it has a high-end PC 700 XP CPU. But I have experience with games running, but not having experience. You get an idea of how this runs on computer. That was too. Doing a system to actually perform for PC. You know, in your computer, probably into this. And they'll use overlay and form overlay Steam. We're trying to perform for someone else. You see on Steam, you see the computer, better performance, and you get out of the game. It just makes the experience on PC the challenge. PC games so much smoother. So Steam is one way to fixing the major problems of PC, making a smooth experience, but still trying to maintain the open ecosystem. PC closes ecosystem like PlayStation or Xbox. Windows is like Windows. Is that then? There's always stuff there. You can't expand your eyes. You can tackle this issue of tons of hardware on PC, but don't do that twice. I think this is what Steam machine starts. It's also a consumer-friendly approach. This is where Steam machine costs over $1,000. Which is absolutely insane. This is a reflection of what's going on. Not wanting to do this, not wanting to make affordable hardware. This is a situation where hardware isn't really affordable. Things are getting cheaper over the years, right? We're seeing more and more expensive. It's getting absolutely stupid. Steam machines is absolutely ridiculous. There's some aspects to this. Generally speaking, it seems like they'll probably reduce the price of the cost of the devices on no prices are realistically going to go down anytime soon. It's like the Steam machine is everything possible. They're going to make it kind of everything to custom built PC. How will this ever gain market share over a console? It's not as basic as building your own PC. That's why your software stack that they've been building up is probably more important in this place. So more on what they achieve here. How does it achieve something really cool? SteamOS is more and more devices. That is a genuine competitor to Microsoft and Windows. And Windows is deteriorating. But SteamOS, you can serve on PC, good performance, it's compatible, and you try updates all the computers. Sounds really cool. Sounds really cool. Some bugs and kinks. I'm sure it more bugs and kinks. But this is a really, really exciting stuff. Something really exciting. You realize the Steam machine is not only PC. They want to be on PC. They want to be more compatible. Also, game is a lot more convenient. General Steam machine is combination. All these things. Now, what is the Steam machine? And hardware you're going to perform for yeah, I'm not recommending that. It's just not good value. So I did buy it on list. So I'm on list and I'll read for any of them. I guess maybe if I test my own honest, is really that was who's going to be able to really well for this. I would personally just build custom PCs faster. It's not so much. I think you just use on a computer too. But it's sort of it's really supposed to be like a breakthrough PC game that you just recommend somebody easy recommendation. But that's not allowed. It's not really surprising. It's sad to see that Valve can't run either. And it's just really how this situation for consumer hardware. Absolutely fine. So I'm going to get the Steam machine. Really wrong. It's going to be good. But unfortunately not so great. I don't know if they should subsidize hardware. I'm guessing about that. I'm not sure. I do respect the decision on that. That was a good one, but they don't want to just take over the whole PC. Just really for long term. See you guys next video. Bye.
What is shit? Okay, no, it's the vibration thing, I guess. I suppose. Yeah. Gonorrhea. No. Just core stuff. Enough of that. Actually, I already have on my feed probably. What? Oh fuck. I got it wrong. Add to playlist. Okay, there it is, and then remove. Enough of this shit. Get it. Whoop. Holy shit. You gotta be fucking kidding me. For a moment I really thought I was getting the fucking ad. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Holy shit.
I feel like American health is the most confusing place ever been. Everyone wants to strive for a healthy version of themselves, but it can be impossible to find out what that means and how to get there. Yet somehow everyone is also an expert on social media. You'll find promises just about every single thing under the sun. And one of those experts is the carnivore guy. That doesn't mean the only guy has been around for years. So recently famously adopted by Director of Health and Human Services Margaret Kennedy Jr. This traveling voice brings American royalty. Has changed American health on the level. After hearing about how he himself eats, much less on nutritional technique. Okay, so I only eat more for this. When I saw this clip, I had one thought. What would it feel like if I did that? Do I have it in me to do this diet for a full month? And if so, what would happen? Well, there's only one way to find out. Before embarking on a month of carnivore diet, we first need to set the rules of what I can and can't eat. This would require a good deal of research in arcades, public statements on YouTube and on podcasts. I decided to dive headfirst into the experience, reading an alter ego man that would be inspired by arcade videos online. A carefully crafted Google account. So the person decided to eat nearly only meat for 30 days. And after hours of work, I got happily divorced 1963 at gmail.com. Initially, the arcade AV to do this with Fox News interview where he talked about his diet. So I started there on fresh account. So it's just meat and fermented foods. Okay, then I guess that's all I'll eat for 30 days.
Alright, I have to ask, you are in great shape and you go through your diet.
I do intermittent fasting. I eat meat. I start at 1 and I try to start eating at 6.
Alright, so now we have established a set of rules, and it's not that complicated. I have to eat my day in calories between 12 and 60, and my diet is only made up of meats and fermented foods. So that's it. This is gonna be miserable. Last night I tried to eat the rest of my leftovers in my fridge. But this morning I needed to hit the grocery store and stock up the next few days. In getting my very limited grocery list, I did add one thing that wasn't mediocre kimchi. While creating my meal plan, I wasn't exactly sure what the vibe on vitamins was. And I found this clip of RK talking about supplements.
I get a lot of vitamins. I can't listen to yours. I don't remember all, but I get a lot of vitamins. I'm on an aging protocol from the doctor testosterone replacement.
Now I will not be doing testosterone replacement therapy, and because he can't recall all the supplements he's on, I think men's one day vitamin will just have to do for now. Before this, I was sure weighing myself, and I came out to 193.6 pounds. But after seeing the result, I realized I was also weighing my Camcor, so I weighed myself again and got my real weight, which was 191.6. Now as for the benefits of this diet, RK made these claims about personal health.
One of the benefits from is on the carnivore diet. For me, it contributes to the effect I had objective. I lost 20 pounds in 20 days, and it was really transformative. The way I feel, mental clarity, my word retrieval.
So I'll be paying attention to my weight, the way I feel, mental clarity, and my word retrieval. The car, dog, small words, hopefully this will improve. Breakfast was fairly easy to start with because I just made bacon and eggs. While perusing carnivore diet started for meals, it seemed like people frequently start their day with 5 to 6 eggs, so I made 5 scrambled. I was a bit worried about my cholesterol, which was fairly healthy back in January when I got blood work. But looking up on the subreddit, it seemed like they didn't care much at all about bad cholesterol impacting your heart, and would actively encourage people keeping up with the diet to distrust their doctors if they said anything about it. So the diamond experience, 5 eggs and bacon at 12 p.m. was the plan. Later that day around 5:30, I made a delicious bowl of ground beef. Red beef seems to be mostly focused on carbohydrate. When it comes to people that do often, ground beef with a little bit of bacon or a little bit of cheese, or just completely on its own in a bowl seems to be one of the best meals. Statistics on the first day. The most challenging thing to me was not having 2 meat focused meals. It was much more challenging to eat my day's calories within 6 hours.
I don't think this would be as difficult if I didn't have to eat it so fast. It's like I get, diet full meat, animal products. I get you're trying to be Viking. Wow, you're trying to be a caveman. Does it have to be between 12 and 6? Did they do that? I thought they just like, it's just a lot of beef.
Today I started by trying to parse through the rules of what I can and can't have. I thought the most difficult part of starting a very restrictive diet and fasting schedule full of primarily eating meat was going to be everything that I just said. But the biggest hurdle in this whole thing so far is how impossible it is to actually find out what the rules are. While perusing the internet as Ned, aka HowleforceNineteen63@gmail.com, I began getting algorithmic video suggestions and advertisements tailor-made to men on carnivore diet.
I have to take a quiz. Have I interacted with it?
During this, I got YouTube advertisements and AI-generated report commercials.
So they banned it from the shelves. And now we understand the answer to this.
I'll be honest, it looked sick as hell, and I wanted to see what would come in the mail if I actually ordered it. So I began filling out my info. That's when it hit me. Ned didn't have a last name. Steak. Ned Steak. After filling out my very real card info, the charge failed. So I gave up. But minutes later, an incoming call buzzed my phone.
Well, look at their IP details, just ensure that it's accurate. So we should put your name on Netflix, and then email address is happy.divorce.com.
That's right. It seems that the company used my failed charge to personally call me and attempt to get me to finish the transaction.
And I think you're wrong.
I'm just comfortable saying the card number is on the website though.
This appeared to be a scam. A scam that I was too slow. You may have gotten my phone number. You may have gotten my address and my card information. Ned Steak is too smart to give it to you a second time. After days of looking at RK and Fox interviews, other YouTube videos, and frequenting the subreddit, I sort of have an idea to follow. So a strict carnivore diet is made up of animal products only. That means you can't use anything that comes from the plant. And that shows up way more than you think when you're actually planning your diet around. Unless you have a severe allergy or restricted diet for health, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Only mine is self-imposed and stupid. So when I'm out or don't have time to cook, just order meat at a restaurant, right? Well, they can't be cooked with garlic, onions, or olive oil because they are plant products. Okay, so I guess I have to cook everything at home. Easy enough, but I can't use spices. Okay, so basically I need to cook all of my meats at home, and I can only use salt and pepper, right? Well, pepper is a plant product. And if you're thinking diet, peppers are vegetables. To that I say, peppercorn is actually a fruit. I'm smarter than you. And if you knew that it was a fruit when I said it was a vegetable, congratulations. We now all ranked how smart we are, and you're above me because I found that out in this video. Unfortunately, my confusion continued on a day where I thought I would be brought more clarity. The Fox News interview with RK, where he speaks on his diet, includes mention of Dr. Sean Omar. In that interview, RK says that he's on a diet primarily of meat and fermented products. So I was planning research, and I was pleased to see that Dr. Sean Omar has written a book on his diet, including meal plans. That book arrived at my doorstep this morning. When I actually looked at the meal plan, I was shocked to find that it didn't follow the strict guidelines I heard about. The book mentions things that I didn't expect at all. All right, reading Dr. Sean Omar's book, there's vegetables in here. Except for the break a strict carnivore diet for those online. And even break the rules that RK mentioned himself, rather than just beef, salt, and fermented vegetables. There are mentions of onions, garlic, blueberries, spinach. Oh my. There's garlic in here. Like that's fine. No sugar berries, cauliflower rice, fermented dry crisp breads. I can have those. Looking back at my original interview, I noticed that Fox and Friends mentioned a later segment with Sean Omar on my TV. So I looked around for it and found it uploaded to his very own YouTube channel. This morning we're taking a deeper dive into the living carnivore diet. Yeah, it's a new diet that will make this web.
Sean Omar is an advocate of living carnivore diet, emphasizing the importance of clean and fermented foods.
In this segment, Sean has an array of foods laid out in front of him, and actually resemble exactly what RK talked about: eggs, steak, kimchi, yogurt, the usual. This segment seems to completely align with the RK diet. So much so that Sean Omar talks about fermented food being good for your gut microbiome.
These living foods are fermented. It's difficult to without dinner, and you really want a living culture fermented with living
But he also demonizes regular vegetables.
A wonderful variety of living varieties. You're just eating dead meat or dead vegetables. My work begins and never seen dead vegetables. You need these fermented foods.
Okay, so any type of fruit and vegetable that isn't fermented is dead, and my food needs to be living. What the hell are onions and spinach then? Because the book I bought with Sean Omar's name on it mentions that I can use them. I ordered right now at the reference table, and there's no lemon. But then I go to the recipe and also this is not the point. I thought it was important to show you. We uploaded the Fox News segment on his channel. I didn't edit this at all. I just need you to see exactly what I saw.
It's hard it's a round chart. So it's decades developing refined protocols that are scientifically proven to eliminate toxic fat. Now, for the first time ever, I'm revealing using trade secrets and a completely free course. You follow everything I teach inside. And when you start destroying this whole fat, you'll feel alive again. These are the same methods from life all around the world, and I'm giving them away right now for free at growingbetter.order.com.
Dr. Sean, sir, you are the greatest. I'm trying to help humanity. It's a huge task. Anyway, I took one day vitamin and had a big bowl of sand. Without relenting, because that would be breaking the rules, Sean. Put your shirt back on. Physically, this is a lot easier than I thought it would be. I prepped to not, start lifting or doing any strength training because I thought I was gonna, put out my keto starting. And it's fine. Like I think it's fortunate that it's just been kind of fine. One thing is that my apartment is just like constantly smells like me, and I don't want that to be forever. Also, whenever I tell somebody about the diet person, the first thing they ask is how I'm doing digestively, like in the bathroom. I know it's surprising, but I'm fine. And also, please don't ask me that. But anyway, I'll let you know if something goes weird. I'll be uncomfortable about it. But surprisingly, it's been fine. This morning I went to the grocery store and expanded my diet with 2 more fermented cheeses, Munster and Gouda. Now I'd like to split my meals into smaller portions for about 6 hours. Actually, quick correction. I went back and looked at the interview of RK and I paused too soon.
Right, I have to ask. You are in great shape, and you go through your diet next.
Oh, eat me now. I started the first meal and I'm done. I tried to stop eating at 6 or 7.
So it's like I have 7 hours, 12 to 7. But anyway, I had to leave the house for most of my day, meaning I couldn't space out my meals because I couldn't carry meat that was going bad in my pocket all the time. So I made this massive omelet with Munster cheese. It was really good. It was also a lot to eat. The other dish I made in my fridge was a jar of beef tallow. Now, beef tallow has been having her own moments because of RK himself, who campaigned heavily on replacing sea oil with beef tallow for cooking.
I don't have to get fast food. I get food there. See, when I was a kid, McDonald's was making cow fat. That was good for you. Your body needs that to make you healthy. Why would they make cow fat again?
Even selling his own merch for it. Beef tallow is rendered beef fat you can eat for cooking. Now, people on RK side of the movement will tell you that sea oils are horrible poison and that beef tallow is a naturally healthy option for your body. My problem is that when you try to look up what's healthy for you, you get completely opposite answers from people claiming to be experts. Institutions that I tend to trust normally will say that beef tallow isn't the worst thing ever, but cooking with saturated fats often can be bad for your cholesterol and your heart health. But if you're searching for the opposing opinions, you will find them. You can find videos with millions of views claiming the opposite.
And so this is what you should use to eat food. And I hope you know that I'm completely utterly sarcastic today. This picture of a kid who's smoking, right? Well, the toxic stress that occurs from smoking that poisons us for about 6 months to a year after quitting. But we consume the sea oils, right? It's gonna poison us for about 3 years.
Then you read the comments and it's all over the place. Someone went to Italy and an olive oil maker said to never cook with it because when you cook with it, it becomes toxic. That can't be right, but I can't tell you the science on why it's wrong personally. Wait, the comments said olive oil is fine. Of course. Well, they show me cook with avocado oil. And the top comment, I'm 65, I have hypertension, anxiety, and a regular heartbeat. I eat healthy, and I got a divorce, and I'm recovering nicely. I think I'm happy for you, but what the hell does that have to do with what you cook with? Anyway, I used to be telling mixtape, and I overcooked it a little bit. It was really good.
It's like you get your fermented food every day, and thanks to Old Sport. This special sale. We're giving our tasty offer 70% off. Buy one or two. You only have to see your vendor. Understand? It's less free and don't judge it.
So the biggest time during this whole thing is I'm not meal prepping, mostly because the first day before the future, so I didn't want to buy anything that I couldn't cook. So I spent Saturday prepping food ahead of time, burger patties, unseasoned chicken breasts, some bacon to use occasionally, and a pound of ground beef that I use my eggs with yogurt or my favorite, on its own in a bowl with nothing else. However, over the next 2 days, my biggest problem wouldn't be wasting time cooking the food. It would be finding time when I could actually eat it. I started my day with a big omelet that I overcooked because I let the pan get too hot before I let the eggs in. I'm not exactly seeing the mental clarity that RK was talking about. I'm still kind of dumb. But while I eat my 6 overcooked eggs, afterward, I was going to head over to my brother Tony's new apartment, which means I had to stay there on the go. I had some Greek yogurt and sauerkraut throughout the day. But as for my later meal, I took a bowl of ground beef and put it in Tupperware. However, Tony let me know before they left that they hadn't moved their dishes yet, so I took my own bowl and fork. Just headed over to my brother's new place with my dog food and my dog bowl. Now I was meeting some friends for a movie in an hour. But as I was casually trying to force down my bowl of ground beef, I got a text my friends were seated in the theater. That's when I realized that my movie wasn't in an hour. My movie was right now. Halfway through my dog food, I had one in, but Tony also had not moved his trash can yet. So I took my beef, I put it back in the Tupperware, and I got my car to move. During the Tupperware spotted too. I knew in the back of my mind that there was a Tupperware full of ground beef just stinking on my car. When I got back to it, that was absolutely true. So I had to pull over at a gas station on my way home and dump the beef out in the trash can. Steak and plain Greek yogurt for breakfast. You know, I actually like steak and it's not unfortunate to get for breakfast. I've just had a lot of meat lately. It's not that steak really. So today we're going to make sure to celebrate 3 of my friends' birthdays. It's a joint birthday trip that requires me to drive 3 hours into the desert at 3 p.m. But I can only eat from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Meaning that even though I just had full steak and Greek yogurt, I have about 3 hours to eat most of my calories for the day. So I went for a run to my appetite up and decided to bake some salmon right after. The plan was to eat half of it now before I leave, and then eat the rest of it in the car. That's just for most of the inconveniences that come with this diet. I still have food. But I will say we have a tight window when you can eat, and that food needs to be cooked in the refrigerator. Everything comes in time crunch when you have stuff to do. So I needed to take the other half of the salmon on the road. But all of my Tupperware was finishing up being cleaned in the dishwasher. So I had to grab a bowl and wrap it in foil. Salmon cannot sit out for more than 2 hours, and I have a 3-hour drive. It's not like I'm gonna eat a bowl of salmon in my car. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this was a new low for the diet. In just 3.5 hours, I consumed around 1,940 calories. Now, if you're wondering, did I eat the salmon bowl while driving? If I'm being honest, I took one bite in traffic and immediately realized it would be too dangerous. So I pulled over on the side of the road and forced half of my salmon bowl down. I couldn't, however, finish it in one sitting. It was not gonna save my salmon for later by placing it in the passenger seat of my car. Now, 8 days in on this trip, I actually for the first time experienced other people eating regular food in front of me, and man, it was way harder than I thought. But you know, it was both of their birthdays. So I don't think that, at least this point, I don't think you're allowed to be close friends and have the same exact birthday, so I solely $20. So names of Jarvis and Jordan, you 2 J names, and your same birthday. Like, you don't do so bad.
So that's really good. Why?
The house was filled with the delicious smell of chicken shawarma burritos and garlic sauce, and I had salted ground beef and plain Greek yogurt.
That's really good.
I'm tempting not to know what happened except the fact that my meat thermometer broke. I'm eating so much meat that I wore my thermometer out. At night, I got a desperate craving for any flavor that felt new. So I heated up some chicken broth with chicken broth and spicy soup. It was so good to have something flavorful. I'm still not exactly sure why it's not okay having plant-based, but it is if it's fermented. But whatever, those rules. Not only am I on a stinky diet full of meats and fermented foods, I'm also in the process of moving. So I toured and applied for a place this morning. When I went to the grocery store after, I just started staring at the bread and produce. I miss it so much, and it makes it more difficult because whenever I push my body and go for a run, I feel weaker, which just makes me crave that food even more. But there was no bread or produce on the diet today. I had steak cooked in beef tallow and sauerkraut for breakfast, and a big omelet with mustard cheese and kimchi for dinner. Then I went to see a show with Hollywood Bowl. At one point, people I was with went to the bathroom and I sat there by myself, people watching. There were couples excitedly swinging popcorn, friends cheering their drinks, some guy just absolutely housing a hot dog. The smell of food and the sound of it being shared surrounded me. Two thoughts crossed my mind. First, I want a hot dog so bad. But the second and more important thought was just about how much connection food brings. And how this diet is not just restricted on the actual food, but how you experience it. In just 11 days, I've been offered a drink or food so many times that I politely decline. If anyone wants any type of drink or food with you that isn't at your house, you just can't really do it with them. Which isn't the end of the world, but man, it kind of takes some of the simple joys out of life. And that night, one of the simplest pleasures was dangled in front of me like a big bacon-wrapped juicy carrot on a stick. LA street dogs everywhere on the walk back. One of the greatest smells of all time. Sizzling hot bacon, onion, and dogs wafting smoke that would lift you off your feet and through a kitchen window like a pie in a cartoon. Many people just have a hot dog. Carnivore diet people think that that's due process, so I can't have that technique. And the bun, oh my god, I want bread so fucking bad, dude. Whatever, I'm going to sleep. Day 12 and I had a friend in town visiting. And the thing about entertaining somebody in a place when you're doing a restrictive carnivore diet is, of course, you can't ask them to not have good food in front of you. Oh my god. It's fine. I was like, it didn't even matter. I was not taking a weird all have delicious pizza. It's not rude at all to come to my place and order delicious pizza when you don't have any. It's not. It's totally fine. I guess depends on the person you are, not how bad of a host I am. It's more like how good a guest are you. This doesn't have to do with diet all the way. And I saw this billboard in the sitting block by the 7-Eleven sign. And actually, if you think about it, it's like it's just something deep about like capitalism and art. I don't know exactly what. You have to say something in the comments. Like, I know this is deep. I just can't figure it. It's such a cool artistic terms. It's like I just need something deep in this. Oh, no, 2 burgers for dinner. Day 13. Finally time for me to try working out with some strength training. Sure, I've been running every day, but I didn't want to lift weights and pass out if I was too weak for my body adjusting to ketosis. So I grabbed my weights and one very important new addition to my workout routine. My favorite athletic wear. Jeans. RFK famously works out in jeans. If you search RFK working out on Google, you will not find a photo of him in anything but jeans. He lifts weights in jeans. He's on a bike in jeans. I've been doing a very simple body free weight workout routine that I watch on YouTube. I've done this routine every Monday for the last year and a half. And as I began, I could feel the power of the jeans taking effect. As you can see, my mobility was incredible. I felt great. I looked great. All right, that was a lie. I did look great, but I did not feel great. Even when I was stretching earlier, I already felt sore before the workout even happened, and I could tell instantly. I just felt way weaker. Everything was harder to do. But with the strength of the jeans, I didn't give up. Oh, no, I didn't give up. I was ready myself. I normally have to do light workouts. I do go for a run. And of course, after doing a little bit of light workout, my legs are usually sore during. But this was completely different. I felt like I was running through molasses. I've run every day for over 10 years, and this was probably the least amount of energy I had in my legs to keep going. That was correct, thanks, because when I looked at my pace, it was a full minute and a half slower than my average. I'm gonna keep an eye on the pace of my runs from now on. I don't know how much of this is placebo, but I definitely do feel weaker. After a week and a half of reading up on carnivore diets and ketosis, one thing was very clear to me. All of this pseudoscience confuses the shit out of me. I'm starting to realize that anyone who speaks confidently about science, whether they are right or wrong, will temporarily convince me that it's true. I am a dumb and gullible guy. But luckily, I know someone who's really good at packaging correct information for dumb and gullible guys on the internet. So I decided to sit down and have a chat.
Okay, I mean, this isn't really something I'm an expert on.
After impressing Hank with my new physique, I wanted to ask him about some of the science talk about this news interview.
Do with fermented foods is chew them together. The reason why you want to chew them together is this is fine. I just add a little cream to the coffee, and I don't stir it. It doesn't get mixed into it. But when you take that and stir it, you're mixing the end cream, and you want to do the same thing with fermented foods. You want to mix in the microbes.
We're talking about chewing the fermented foods along with the meat. At the same time,
That was a coffee example was that if you pour cream into coffee, no stir, it doesn't mix in, so it's similar. Correct me if I'm wrong. Things still mix when they get to your stomach.
Yeah, you don't get, I mean, not even that. I don't even the same meat.
The other burning question I have for Hank Green was a simple one. What was up with this treatment that all plant-based things are bad? A lot of people frequent these subreddits and communities because they're dealing with some kind of chronic inflammation, and the idea of plants in general seems to be the culprit in their minds. Is there any science at all, or is that literally just lies?
I mean, it's literally just like to say eliminating my systems. That is, I mean, we obviously evolved to eat a lot of omnivores. You're obviously omnivores. Now, what I'll say is sometimes you absolutely have to do these things that aren't really have to do. And also our knowledge is incomplete sometimes. Like you may have like an allergy, you know, and so you have like all things together because you aren't eating, you may have like on thing. Like, good for you. So like, in addition to them not being bad for you, they're also good for you. They have these levels of leafy greens.
Nice try, Hank. Trying to convince me that plants are good for me. Oh, it's good to have leafy greens. Yeah, I'm sure you think so. Look at his last name. As my meat diet reached a fortnight, I woke up in a cold sweat, as if I dropped solo into the towers. There was one thought on my mind. Oh my god, I can have prosciutto and cheese. This doesn't sound like a big deal to you, someone who's been eating pretty regular for 2 weeks. But to me, this was a very big deal. To add anything to the diet, especially something I liked, brought tears to my eyes. And while I was on my run, I was excited to get home. I was excited to get home just to open up that prosciutto. And I had egg to make. Basically, I had egg to make every day. I was at home. The addition of prosciutto yesterday made me realize just how frustrated I'm getting with the lack of things that I can actually taste in this diet. So I decided to log back on his med steak to see if I could find any evidence of RFK eating something that was seasoned. And to my surprise, it sort of looked like he does. Here's a photo of him in front of a steak, not eating it, and it looks like a pepper. Here you get a photo with barbecue. He's not eating the photo, but surely that has some added sugars and seasoning. But when he talked about his diet, he strictly mentioned the good yogurt without added sugars. But then I found something different. A press release for the dairy industry where RFK was promoting Americans eating more dairy.
Well, I grew up in a world where milk was absolutely thing to eat. There's been a attack on whole milk and cheese and yogurt over the past couple decades.
Arnold, as secretary, I know the soups, ice cream. Apparently his favorite is mint chocolate chip minus the green food dye. And mine is just regular chocolate chip. So this is ice cream. Thank you all for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
I must have heard that wrong. Surely she didn't say that her and Secretary Kennedy were going to scoop some ice cream.
Arnold, Secretary Kennedy and I are now going to scoop some ice cream.
I couldn't believe what was happening in front of my eyes. Just 2 weeks before Robert F. Kennedy spoke with Fox and Friends about his diet, this live stream.
Apparently his favorite is mint chocolate chip minus the green food dye.
Please tell me I can take vitamin D for 15 days, buddy. I've been on season D for 15 days. I don't take vitamin D. I have never felt so betrayed in my life. This diet is strict. And now I know what the F in Robert F. Kennedy stands for. That's right, the F word. The one you can't say. And I'm going to say it right now. Failure. You have failed me, Bobby Kennedy, with your mint chocolate chip ice cream minus the green food dye. Now, the Fox and Friends interview was uploaded to YouTube on August 10th, 2025. This live stream was on July 14th, 2025. There is a chance that RFK could have started the diet, say, the next day, but they mentioned that they spoke to him at the Great American Farmers Market.
The American Farmers Market. What was their ask on our secretary? What is that?
Which was August 3rd, August 8th, 2025. Meaning when somebody asks you about your diet and you tell them what you're on and that it's working for you, you probably talk about the diet you've been on for a while, not the one you've been on for 2 weeks.
Good yogurt without sugar added.
So at the very least, this interview seems to imply that the diet he had been on for a while was a carnivore diet. So in seeing him take a bite of mint chocolate chip ice cream, I'm adding pepper back into the rotation. I know. It's almost like I'm not even doing carnivore at all. Day 16 and it was time to work out for real. Taking from RFK, I put the jeans back on, but I need to go full power. Let's do this. Yeah, I just woke up. It is day 17. I woke up to a dream that became a stress nightmare. And the dream was I was standing just over there at my counter in my kitchen, hunched over, eating one of those like frozen chocolate pies, not thinking anything of it. And then when I was getting to my last bite, I was like, oh my god, just a few bites of this completely changed the way my body processed everything and ruined all of the progress. And so then in the dream, I started trying to make myself throw up before I digested. Woke up from that dream and was like, do I just full blown have an eating disorder right now? Like, I'm definitely doing disorder eating, but that's not like for the video. I promise you the dream was not for the video. Anyways, I am definitely doing this. So I started packing my place, especially my kitchen, and kept only the essentials. Then I made myself a wonderful new recipe. It's called bowl of ground beef with a little bit of bacon. I got it from the carnivore diet subreddit, and wow, it tastes like meat.
I'm not doing a bowl. It's a bowl of sauerkraut. I got it in a big bowl, but it's actually a small bowl. It's actually a small bowl. Absolutely. Crazy stuff to measure. I know. The things you can do with cameras, there's detail on those things. Well, that's my goals, by the way. That's what we're going to throw back for sure. Look at this. And what's going on with those fingers? Well, I like to know.
I'm now the better part of a month in this lifestyle, and I will say the eating actual meals part has gotten a lot easier. But I was naive to think that I was past the temptations outside of meals. Those are getting worse. Today I went to the grocery store to get some meats, obviously, and I found myself just looking at the cakes, wishing I could take a bite. I planned that night, so I rushed to get myself some food, and for some reason decided to torture myself by watching a binging with Babish peanut butter and jelly sandwich video while I ate my meats. Everything looked so good that I should have had to turn the video off at one point. Sorry, Babish, I don't know what you taste the best. To be honest, I don't fucking care. I'm jealous. Later that night when I went to my friend's day show, I ordered a soda water without the lime. First off, I thought it charged me $3 for a soda water. We can't be doing that. We can't be charging people for water just 'cause it's a little bubbly. But I think Babish heard me and thought I said soda water with lime because that'd be a super normal thing to say. Yeah, soda water, but I can't have lime. Do you want the left? Sure. Humiliated, laughed at. Ugly. This is the world you wanted for me, Bobby. A world where I can't even have the line. Closing on my move, I had a very repetitive routine for the next few days. With little time to do anything other than work, run, go to the grocery store, cook any meats, pack, and repeat. The same thing day after day after day. But there's something about these days I find people part stressful and peaceful. Obviously, there's a lot to be done. But there's really no choices involved. There are things to be packed and there's meat to be eaten. I don't really have to think about much. Part of me does enjoy not having to battle what I think is healthy or not every day. Because to be honest, since I was a teenager, that choice kind of plagued me for every meal. I want to do a good job and be healthy, but also enjoy my life. And there are some foods that people do. Buffalo wings, pizza, and beer doesn't exactly have me feeling like I did a good job. So to have a pretty restricted meal plan while miserable most of the time did silence a little part of my brain that I don't love. The final night in my place. Earlier that day, I had a delicious 4-burger patties for dinner. I ran out of mustard cheese slices after 3 patties, so the 4th actually cut some more solution in the shape of cheese slice. And what different, it was very gooey and actually really good. But I soon realized that I had packed all of my plates away for the move. So with my 4-burger patty and kimchi dinner, I had perhaps the most fine dining experience in all of the 8 years in my apartment. I am ready to move. I don't have any dishes for breakfast, so my breakfast will be 2.5 slices of cold bacon. Now, I did not film any of the actual movies. I don't want any of you freaks to know where I live, but the diet actually made this day very challenging. The two things I need access to are refrigeration and the ability to cook. And during the movie, you just don't really have either of those. So other than these slices of bacon, the only thing I ate the full day was a pack of prosciutto in my car in between places. So by the end of the night, I decided to break the fasting rules because I was starving. I got myself a nice steak from my new local grocery store and some sauerkraut. That's what I thought, baby. Like it was nothing. Sauerkraut, one of my 4 foods. In the days following my move, I mostly felt pretty good. My workouts were still slower and weaker, but mentally things weren't that hard. There are a lot of things that I hate about this diet, but if I'm being honest, there are a couple things about having a restricted diet that I do love. The constant voice that asks me whether the choices I'm making are healthy or not is silence. And if I'm being honest here, I kind of feel like I'm doing a good job. When you body the fact that the difficult thing you're doing is healthy, sticking with it feels good. I've been good for nearly a month now without breaking the diet. Sure, good means I'm mostly just eating meat at the expense of the lives of like 30 to 40 animals, but good nonetheless. The social stuff is annoying. My younger friend's birthday party made sense to unseasoned meat for me. Just me and my plate of unseasoned shrimp and a little bit of steak. And I did think about mixing lamb into my diet once, but after seeing the film, Cheap Detectives, I don't think I'll ever do that ever again. Why was everyone so mean to Winterland? I love you, Winterland. I will not be mean to you. I will protect you. Stay behind me. You know all that shit I was saying about being used to the diet and doing a good job? I take it all back. Yesterday I got American cheese for the burger patties I had, and so I made a 6 egg omelet with American cheese. It was just too much. And unfortunately, I finally got the egg just 2 days before being done. On top of that, I got the same egg for sauerkraut. Being tired of 2 foods on this diet takes away like half of the pie chart. After my omelet, I met some friends for brunch, and the only thing I ordered was 2 sides of bacon. I kid you not, the bacon arrived at the table after the whole patio here. The waiter loudly said 4 pieces of bacon for Eddie. Yeah, that's me. It was 4 pieces of bacon for me. I don't know if it was just that I was getting super tired of the meat diet, and I felt awful. The highlight of one of my last days was trying these kimchi pickle chips. Most pickles that you can buy at the grocery store aren't fermented, but these are. I just want you to hear my very real reaction to having something new and fresh for the first time in weeks. Oh my god, dude. Before my last meat supper tomorrow, I got one of those keto strips that you have to pee on and show during toasters or not. Here's proof with something that I peed on, just so you guys don't accuse me of faking this. I really did hold this all month, and I am proud of myself. Alright, let's talk about the last day. So the last day of this whole thing is actually the day that I need to go over to my apartment and clean it up because my I just wanted to diet, things are running smoothly. I made my bowl of ground beef, I put it in the Tupperware container, and I had it over there. I didn't really think about my weight the entire time, so I made a plan to begin weighing myself on day 1 and on day 3. My scale was actually the apartment, so I was going to get up and do other things, clean and get out of there. Now, one thing I'm heading over is that over the last month, I've actually started to feel a lot different about my body when I started. I've had different stages of losing weight and gaining weight and working out a ton since I was like maybe 16 or 17 years old. Ever since like I was like 2023, I've had a really good relationship with food, how I feel about my body, my exercise, my health. However, this whole thing kind of had me falling back into an old pattern of like the more that I worked at my body and the more I committed to my diet, the worse I felt and the more I criticized myself. I think when you make such a big focus of your day, your diet, and your relationship with your body, you start looking in the mirror different. But the positive feeling that I also didn't like is that I felt like I was losing weight, and I was bigger when I was younger, and so the idea of being skinnier still does like feel positive and like feedback in my brain, like insecurity part of me. And over this month, I started to feel better about myself in that way, and so I was kind of excited to get on the scale and see what number I felt like I felt like I was skinnier. When I got on the scale, reminder when I started this whole thing, it was 191.6 pounds. RK said he lost 20 pounds of visceral fat on his diet, and I dedicated an entire month to just eating basically meats and then cabbage for 38. So when I got on that scale, and it was 186 pounds. Dude, I was so mad. A little over 6 pounds is what I lost during the whole thing. My goal wasn't to lose weight, but to be honest, I didn't feel any extra mental clarity or this crazy word retrieval that you're talking about. I just felt like me, except I had a bunch of meat for a whole month. There was still work to be done before I had my first regular meal again. First, I went to the hospital and got some blood work done before my veins were tainted with bread or vegetables. Before breaking the diet, I was sure to do one final thing. I need to make sure to take progress pictures of my body. Yeah. Then I headed to the grocery store, got my supplies, and made a good old peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And oh my god, this was the best thing that I maybe have ever tasted in my whole life, and I'm not exaggerating. So the diet was finished, I had regular food, and everything went back to normal. But then, a few days later, through my insurance app, I got a message. And I was because the results of my blood work showed that my cholesterol was way higher than it was in January. And so a message from the doctor that looked at my blood work goes as follows. Your most recent blood test shows that your bad cholesterol is super high based on your age, gender, cholesterol level, and your overall risk factor. And this next part is in all caps. We highly recommend that you start on cholesterol medication. Not only to keep the cholesterol level low, but to keep your arteries open, and most importantly, lower your risk of any cardiovascular events such as heart attack and stroke. Recommend a prescription for cholesterol medication, and it begs me in all caps to follow up with my primary care doctor on managing cholesterol. Now, I will say, this was scary to receive. I don't really care what somebody on the carnivore diet subreddit says about my cholesterol. This is the doctor who seems freaked out for me. As I was going through this month, I was listening to a live podcast that RK would do. And at one point, he had this guy on who was talking about how doctors will just prescribe medication. My mom's on chronic disease for about 4 years. It was one pill after the next. High cholesterol, low blood pressure, high blood pressure, high blood pressure. Every single time, this is a no problem to take a pill. And the reason I'm in this fight is because one of those doctors said prescribe her no pill, so I never even know what the pill I take. Which was baffling to me because I've never interacted with a doctor that hasn't also just given me general health advice. And in my doctor's message about my cholesterol medication, it also includes a full breakdown on how to improve my diet and exercise to lower my cholesterol. I'm sure if I went to my doctor, they also have a discussion with me about this. So what freaks me out is if you are somebody in this country who isn't as lucky as me and can't afford insurance, it's very easy to believe people who tell you that doctors actually don't care about your health and that they'll just write you a prescription and that's it because you can't afford to go to the doctor. You can't afford to have that conversation. And so I feel like that argument is even more appealing when you're on the other side of things because then it tells you, but you don't need this stuff because doctors are out to get you and they don't care about your health. So it's actually okay. And instead of say, I don't know, voting for your own health insurance, maybe you should just eat a bunch of meat instead. It's really interesting time. And when you go to the doctor and they tell you to eat and exercise, it's not like the doctor it's not like a compelling story. Okay, I should, but it's not easy to go. But if there's like what we have now is like people in positions who really understand how to tell a story that people really get. Like a lot of people. And there's like I do believe argument believes people. I have no indication that it's like ultimately like he believes that illness can only result from the choices of individuals, which others who back cancer don't follow my own. I don't think it's true. The main mediator for the answer I got is that I get mono, which is and I don't follow my own. It's this idea like the illness is unfair and thus it must have some unjust cause or some it's gotta be some unjust happening. Someone else mitigated some cost. That's how we get sick. Eventually we all die. You don't die if you die from cancer illness. And like that's how it is. Underneath all of this, it's very exciting to me where it seems like there's this idea that if you are healthy, you get sick. So just stay healthy, you won't get sick. And if you got sick, because you didn't stay healthy. I find this very exciting. We are not as in control as we would like to be, and giving people this sense of control, giving them this idea that control there doesn't even help. It's both a lie, and also it makes it feel like there's a self, which is not.
Hi.
Shh.
Well, that's a lot. That's maybe hard to leave. And what made me aware of that YouTube has a lot of specifically AI. Yes, I know we're breaking new ground, but it's getting worse. So someone has essentially hundreds of thousands of AI generated animation storyboard channels. So what happens when an animation storyboard video gets a lot of views? Every AI channel will publish this video with them now. And the content is an example of a video with text. So we've got 1,000 views. And if you scroll, you just keep seeing them. Why not tech? Why not tech? And so the craziest thing is this video with the most views was silent thumbnail. Not only is it also AI generated, but isn't even the first video. The first video with the silent thumbnail only has 200,000 views. And you didn't guess it's also AI generated. Miles away from it's literally just Groundhog Day. Slot. And this is technically the other channels as well. But we're assuming possible getting 1 million views. And then we have 100 clones. And once again, the original video getting views is also AI generated. There's of course a lot of them as well. But the recent trailer there was an evil video. It says that wish time on the movie was an evil. Videos I post about it, there was an evil. This is a fact. Everyone should know. And when you go through the channel, what it links to brings you to a YouTube channel called Diary of Two Sisters Cooking and Gaming. And this is their most recent video.
Yes, I'm the best YouTuber on the planet, and the world period.
The realistic stuff there. And of course, you can get algorithms there. We have Jesus and God list 5.5 that has most 500,000 subscribers just for posting pictures of Jesus that say one line. And these aren't just static images there, not just flashing images there. Probably someone can yeah, that is the current state of YouTube. It's AI slop all the way down. Thanks. The slop and bar. In our next segment of Men Horrors Beyond Our Comprehension, a senior figure in Ukrainian defense industry has revealed that a drone killed a Russian soldier without human intervention. According to the Insider, the autonomous test took place 2 years ago and involved a quadcopter drone armed with explosives being given permission to autonomously seek out and destroy targets. Although likely not the first case of a fully autonomous skill on the Ukrainian battlefield, the incident is one of the first public admissions that such technology is being used without human intervention. The Ukrainian government currently bans the use of AI during the final interception phase of the drone attack, although its use has become common before the decision to engage an objective. Most militaries are currently in the process of developing technology that can automate the process of identifying and attacking targets. The United States has notably relied on Palantir's Maven smart system for identifying targets in the ongoing Iran war. Two anonymous insiders speaking to the Washington Post stated that artificial intelligence was used in the US strike that killed 120 schoolchildren on the opening day of the war. According to them, the school that was hit was tagged as either a factory or an arms depot, or it was approved as an airstrike target. Such incidents have called into question the morality of using fully autonomous weapons, as AI is incapable of making their own moral choices. Large language models are based on probabilistic decisions, meaning when you ask ChatGPT a question, it does its best to spit out the most likely word or sentence in a sequence. AI models, therefore, will naturally veer toward the most likely answer for a situation. But the most likely answer isn't necessarily the most moral. As Andrew Rogoyski of the University of Surrey would explain, quote, morality is deeply complex, contested, culturally shaped, and something that most humans never fully resolve, even for themselves. Perhaps the real question is whether we understand morality enough to codify it. Until we do, we cannot expect machines to embody something we ourselves cannot clearly articulate. The importance of having a human involved in the kill chain has also concerned Oxford University's Mario Rosario Tadia. The professor of digital ethics and defense technologies argues that any autonomous AI that steals the dignity of a soldier and that removes the responsibility of an attacker should be outright banned. This comes after a recent push by the United Nations, which has struggled to achieve global consensus on autonomous weapons governance. A major problem in trying to use AI ethically in wartime is that weapons will only be as moral as those who are programming, and even now, accountability often isn't enforced. For example, the Israeli military has gained a reputation of inflicting high collateral damage in its wars against Hamas and Hezbollah. An AI trained from previous strike data might interpret that a certain threshold of civilian casualties is acceptable within its decision-making. However, experts within the field of AI and military planning are skeptical that the AI genie can be put back in the bottle. Nicholas Wright, a neuroscientist and author of Warhead, a book on the human brain and war, would explain that AI is just humanity's newest arms race. In his own words, quote, for any military to compete effectively against other high-end militaries, it is going to need a large amount of systems that will be required to take decisions on their own. This makes the battlefield even more morally complex. If morally conscious nations refuse to use AI in their weapon systems, this could lead to a situation where the morally bankrupt hold a monopoly on autonomous murder robots. Some within the drone industry view the situation differently. Olaf Hitchwar, co-founder of the drone startup Neros, believes that AI could make war more ethical for those fighting it, explaining in his own words, quote, morality is the province of human beings, which is why AI-assisted weapon systems need to be built in a way that extends the judgment and decision-making of the operator rather than wholesale replacing it. A lot of people are looking at autonomy somewhat incorrectly. They're not looking at it through the eyes of the user. They're saying, let's make fully autonomous weapon systems. But the reality of warfare is that it's still very much a human-on-human interaction. One example of autonomy is, right now, pilots require a lot of very precise training to get the drone to travel along the right angle. Some autonomy could be the user or the human sets a general path and the drone follows that path. Neros reasons that as fighting a war is inherently stressful, these AI-assisted tools could reduce the cognitive burden on the people using them. Instead of worrying about their own capabilities, a person could instead be more concerned with whether what they're doing is morally justified. A soldier's job would be to confirm or decline what an AI believes is correct. When looking at Ukraine specifically, the morality of killing is complicated further by the enemy they're forced to fight. Russia has been heavily reliant on conscripts since the start of the full-scale invasion, and most recently have targeted universities and technical colleges in their latest recruitment drive. According to reports, the Russian government has set a quota of 2% of male students to be recruited to its military, and it's using a variety of carrots and sticks to meet these goals. Universities are given money for every student they're able to recruit, and both veterans and widows are given priority positions. Students are also promised to have their tuition wiped at the end of their service. However, under Russian law, military contracts are for an indefinite period. There are even reports of students having to choose between enlistment and expulsion after failing an exam. Simply retaking an exam is no longer an option. The latest recruitment campaign is the Kremlin's most recent effort to avoid another full-scale draft, the likes of which it saw in September 2022. According to Keir Giles, an expert in Russia's military, the Russian government is still trying to avoid such drastic measures. In his own words, quote, I think if it were politically viable, Putin would have done it by now. The fact that this is still being avoided, even when the Russian armed forces have gone through minor manpower crises in the course of this conflict, indicates what a hard decision it is to make. Analysts now believe that Russia is sustaining 35,000 casualties per month, which is a reflection of Ukraine's conscious effort to prioritize draining Russia's manpower. In this context, it's easy to see why giving an AI drone a moral code is so difficult. Ukraine is a sovereign country that overwhelmingly wants to remain independent. However, to maintain this independence, it's forced to kill tens of thousands of people a month, many of whom are coerced into serving. Any truly moral AI death drone would instead reason that the only morally sound thing to do is to capture Vladimir Putin and trap him in the Ball Smasher 3000 until the end of time. However, this is currently beyond the reach of science. Pretty much any way you slice it, AI in warfare is bound to be as horrifying as it is inevitable. Optimistically, it would be nice to think that such newly invented horrors would discourage mankind from waging wars in the first place. However, history tells us that this won't be the case.
Yep. They're gonna keep trying and failing. Keep trying and failing over and over.
This is an emergency video because I cannot believe what I am reading here. This is mentalist behavior. If you guys have just watched the video I put on the channel, it's about Bungie being gutted. It's about Destiny 2, one of the biggest live service games being cancelled by Sony because, of course, they own Bungie. Also, you may remember certain games like Concord, which were also cancelled by Sony. So their past, their history has been horrific with live service games. Before we break this down, you're not going to believe what he's actually said. Now, you are going to lose your mind. I just want to show you the list of games that have been cancelled. Right now, there's one success here. All the others are shocking. Right, so you've got Last of Us Multiplayer cancelled. Right, Insiders believe that it's actually quite decent, but got cancelled, so it never had. Marvel's Spider-Man got cancelled. There's Element Studio live service game cancelled. Pistol cancelled. Helldivers 2 cancelled. That's that one. This is what Sony are chasing now again. Remember with live service garbage, when you hit live service Viewpoint, you endlessly put money forever. Look at say Overwatch 2, well, Overwatch is called now. It's just got like tons and tons of content. It's almost like you keep game running at a base level and tons of content. You can put money forever and ever until it inevitably destroys. Now, of course, you make a lot more money
really would making single player games. It's crazy to think, like, if I was Sony, I would get live service games, I'd be going heavily into single player story driven games because that's Sony's best, right? Anyway, Halo 2 worked, Payload 2 and Concord obviously released and then was deleted after 2 weeks. And I was thinking about because I remember they were at the time, they were chasing anyone that was producing content. Hero, she was nice, like, hey, want to make some videos on Concord. And I was like, you know what, okay, and I my management at the time quoted them under my instruction a stupid amount to do the brand videos because they copyright struck my channel, seeking some truths about how I was doing. So I was like, Tony, I get my value, Concord values, and so I can make more money on Concord than Concord made on Concord. Anyway, there's a live service game from Ben Studio, live service game, God of War game actually. Again, I think it's pretty good this channel. Fair game, follow this is, I think it's terrific. Right? Rise Online is actually horrific. I don't know, Marathon, which is, I really like Marathon, but it's just not any scale. I don't think it makes it viable. So it's like this, right? It's like, holy shit, it's pure insanity. So WCCF had a report in, what it said, I've got PlayStation continues to push live service games, despite having challenged PlayStation and out. So in the PlayStation generation, Sony computer entertainment software has been the capacity of the previous generation. The SI is aggressive live service cost, which Japanese publishers resell games to still make Concord viable. Marathon Bungie didn't meet their expectations. Not only did it maybe next season, but it didn't meet expectations player games and they enjoyed it. I think it made no expectations. Despite this, President Hideki Nishino, I've never seen him apologize. Hideki Nishino, I'm really bad at everything. The president of SI confirmed they will continue to pursue live service games even as he heavily hints at PlayStation and designed to meet changing playstyle game. And this is quite right. Again, remember, they have just terminated Destiny, but they had a studio. I know Bungie's problems are all about they had a development team, right? They could have pulled down on it, push or redone Destiny. That's not making Destiny. Making out the guys who work on Destiny now, yes, videos about also on content Destiny 2 and they were a bit scaled back and then maybe we've got experience in Destiny IP and review. But they say we believe that live service games are content that attracts users and well, they want to continue to revitalize the market. We both parties of the they revitalize it now. They Helldivers, which they make successful. It's no, a lot of people I'm sure they want so they want to do again. They want like a holy grail live service game, a whole night or something. Because all these developers and specifically all these studios for sure is we'll take down on 10 live service games. It doesn't matter, they will cost 100, 200, 300 million each because one of them hits rank going to make billions a year. Call of Duty is akin to a live service game in the sense that it comes out every year and it makes a billion a year easy. They make that all of the microtransactions and they've got battle royale content, all the crap they keep milking their always going to content, always going to games like I'm not saying that anywhere similar, but it's games extremely steady, very good players on the team, always there, always nice to make that and Overwatch does again nice to make games outside of the Steam ecosystem looking forward, obviously going to be incredible, make Legends, right? Look at those back into that Steam ecosystem, they say, or even like Devil Venture and that one, these all games that have got live service, endless playability, never effectively endless generating, that's exactly what these guys want. Holy shit, we've done money printing machines, fantastic. So you can say the OG money printing machine was World of Warcraft, maybe people like World of Warcraft online, World of Warcraft was that's why making considerable amounts of money allowed to complete gets built out of Blizzard and then focus on the titles and then they sort of that's where the full recreating revenue from live service games. Again, this one here, it's not so much like games or games potential. They always say it's Netflix, it's Amazon Prime Video, it's YouTube, but now they say things like sports betting, it's things like watching live streaming, it's like loads of TikTok watching, Instagram Reels, it's all attention based comedy and we think about Hideki and Nishino in an interview with Family as celebrating 1940th anniversary. We are not only focusing on promoting releases, but also considering we do old titles in medium long. Also this year we're planning to release our own live service title, Marvel Combined Souls, and we hope everyone will enjoy that fighting game. As opposed to say that's like maybe the right game, I'm not sure, the right game got play basically related, we've got so I'm not sure the fighting game could be but do think like we should pull this all back because it's all into Fortnite, maybe it's World of Warcraft. I think like recent years, things like Genshin Impact, those kind of games print money. It's almost like they're also developing. Of course, it doesn't always work. Like look at Ubisoft, they complete shit. I mean, the company is a piece of share by down train, and they are trying to sell the company to. I remember the company's mess. You'll know Ubisoft because you know what they're doing. A bunch of failed games. Not saying they're all good live service games, but it's like I don't know. Maybe it's not the right price. Maybe it's not the right price. It's more like a heat of the moment. It just seems to do something that even consider. That's PlayStation continue live service games. And just that, no doubt on that. Live service games important to continue to provide them. The genre itself is very new. That's what it isn't right. If you say Fortnite, the origin of Valve, right? So let's say the origin of modern. Maybe not you. Let's going to make it crazy. Let's just say Fortnite, the origin of Valve. 2017, 10 years ago. That's when the genre began. But going back to most it's their live service. I don't agree with that. Anyway, I think many people find various things. So you also want to take chances within that context. I mean, it's crazy. They say originally console selection based on average. But PC maximize game experience. We'll continue to consider Nishino's our main policy at the moment is single player games. That's first party. You will value game experience provide on PlayStation. But live service games believe it's also important to have multiplayer on multiplayer considering PS5 PC as basic release. Now, I don't think that's right because they want their expensive box sale games that are 70 games on their hardware only hardware sale. By the way, they are historically low sales. People get like PS5 as well. No industry electronic game industry. But you obviously need more players, right? And you've got more consoles, live service games, you play live service games, and you obviously want to make consoles. But I think it's like that. Sony is we pay $4 and then build out passing game. Helldivers, I mean, that's what Helldivers work. But yeah, it's not what gives you can't get anywhere else. Monetization routine. So yeah, well that's not best. It's something like that. The main thing is mini sort of passing. Sometimes you're like quite good. Maybe OP like game like cheap. Like don't run out. No modes. No what way. This season you got to play it and not again. That's a lot of fair enough. So I think Sony's pretty much going to do a fairly low cost set or a mid-range cost set price at $4 and then they'll monetize the way and also more play for that. So interesting. So you asked about people PlayStation. Yes, I did the same. However, comment on how much change. It's natural for people to change. Within that context, the games is all entertainment and the time to playing is all change. The important thing is how respond to newly emerging and standard. But in the future, I think we create something different by using technologies that use various forms of that new game. Again, very good handling. PlayStation strongly associated with limited plans to release monsters, system, big on big time. Everyone monitors that, I'm sure. PlayStation 4 was developed. She understands that we want to new challenges, taking challenges outside game experience increasingly diverse lifestyles. Okay, I've got to be honest. Also, inside game as well. Say that I revitalized the market with new live service games. Essentially, the source was Prince of Show Guys. The source originally came from Hero City Japanese. So I think this is crazy, right? A lot of time these guys like really tone deaf. Like if you wanted to talk about a live service game, you had one of the biggest console live service games, one of the biggest IPs. Some of the best developers, and you could buy them and delete their game and say, we're actually Marathon, you work on that. I did talk on this in the video earlier on today, but to recap, I don't think it costs anywhere near as much of a marathon just to run Destiny. That may be an issue. It could be an issue. Hundreds of developers, low complex, and this is like a massive game. All my days on the clock when we revitalize. And that's probably totally like Destiny's a great game. So how much Destiny 2. It seems now like extremely dependable new players. Some content, some stuff I don't know what I'm doing. But why would I play? So it really like Marathon, very simplistic game, really. It's not much to Marathon. They can't really get that much to keep game running. It doesn't matter if it's crazy high player. It's sort of with its operational low cost of the game, massive expensive over 10 years. Maybe Sony makes it. We're going to Marathon the next 10 years. Hope you regret and then time we sort of and hope that when we throw shit at the wall in live service, we get the Helldivers now again on Concord. I think they're going to get Concord Horizon game. That looks absolutely tragic. Unbelievable. It's going to be and then we got this and I said when every stats I can't come back really funny. Really super money on it.
So why does someone want to be object obsessed? The human brain thinks of light and tempest. So we like lay out roles. There's a script for obsession. I'm obsessed with you. You think about that script. There's like people who do the obsessing and people who are obsessed. And I felt that way. I had this structure in high school and I was like, oh my god, it's insane. We believe that this is how life works. There's a person who's obsessed and there's I'm tired of being the person who's obsessed. I want to be the other. I want to be the one that people chase. Think about someone. When you're obsessed with someone, how do you see their mental state? Are they suffering? No, they're blissfully oblivious. Here you are suffering toward the corner. So you're tired of chasing them, feeling empty, not getting something in return. And they exist. Anytime we experience this script, basic mistake humans make is they stick with script, they try to So I want to be one in this position. Also explain, for example, like why abuse games are bullies. Right? There's stability and there's the victim. That's the way the script works. I'm on the bottom end. I'm in a description. I'm something else. And sometimes actually the worst mistake you can make is stealing games. So I see this a lot in Manosphere where like they're the betas and the alphas, and I want to move from like beta to alpha. I want to be the one that's satisfied. I want to be the one that I know what it's like to love people. I want to be the one that will last. I want to be in this power. But it's just an unhealthy script. So these people like don't understand that there's a different way to live. So the real solution that we try to do in games is actually resolve scripts and just maintain that. Alright, folks, today we're going to have a bit of an extra serious video, so please forgive me, I get a bit emo. Fair warning, we're going to be talking about things like feelings, emotions, and a little bit of, wait for it, self-reflection. So please, if that stuff like triggers you or something, do not watch this video. I would like to say that this is not my typical video about some ridiculous homework crap that happened to me with some crazy clickbaity looking thumbnail that's sadly like something very, very true that actually happened to me. Still, this feels like a very important thing that I want to get off my chest because something that's bothering me for a very long time. Yeah, so let's just jump into it, shall we? So as a bit of context, okay, growing up I was always a bit of a sappy kid, okay? So it's very early childhood, I always remember sort of having some sort of depression or something adjacent to that. Like I always have very vivid memories of being outside, kicking a ball around, and just feeling sad for basically no reason whatsoever. And keep in mind this before all the emo crap in my teen years or whatever. Like, this is super early stuff, man. But it feels like since then, like since my early childhood, there was always been something kind of off, okay? I get home after the best day of my life, and for some reason I feel like crap. I do not know why. It is really, really strange to me, okay? I'm not even really sure what to call it when you felt that way basically your entire life. I don't know if it's genetic or something. Like what's the terminology for this? Chronic depression? I don't think that's what that is. I think it's something else entirely. I don't know. Now, in addition to that, okay, in addition to just feeling depressed basically my entire life, I definitely try to hide the fact that I was sad all the time. Okay, growing up, I used to cry all of the time. Okay, I cried all the way through elementary school, middle school, and for a lot of high school as well. I was just a bit of a crybaby, I guess. Okay, literally the tiniest things would tip me off and make me cry. It wasn't until I was about 16 or so when I finally cried for the last time. Now, you may be asking yourself, Dr. Finklow, what was the last thing that made you cry? And honestly, it's a little bit silly, okay, but I feel like it's a thing that hits really close to home for a lot of people. Okay, I was driving with my dad. He was teaching me, and we were going grocery shopping. We're in this parking lot. why, and there's a pedestrian crossing the street. Me, being the genius that I was, I originally had stopped, okay, but I was kind of like taking my foot off of the brake in anticipation that he was going to pick up the pace a little bit, but like kind of just like didn't, and I almost ran into him going like 1 mile per hour. So basically he almost died is what we're getting at, okay? And my dad was not happy about that at all. He screamed at me to brake, and then he told me to pull over and do all this stuff, and he gave me the talk of a lifetime, yelling in my right ear the entire time. And I just say it was not quite fun, and I might have wept just a teeny weeny bit, and a teeny weeny bit. I mean, that was probably the most I cried in like over 5 years at that point. After that though, okay, I basically never cried ever again. It was like I had completely run out of tears to shed. Like I don't even really know how to describe it. It's very, very strange, okay? But, okay, through all of this, when I'm forgetting how to cry or whatever, right? I'm also going through even worsening depression, okay? I'm feeling worthless, lonely, generally unhappy with myself. I don't know, wishing I had more friends, etc., etc. Typical emo crap that like a lot of people say. And it was just getting increasingly more and more heavy on me. You know what I mean? When I cried for that last time, I just started to feel an increasingly growing sense of numbness. Okay, sure, I was feeling sad. Okay, yeah, nothing really changed in that regard, but I felt kind of like numb in the way that I was conveying my emotions. Okay, and I think it's just like I grew out of my crybaby phase and became a real man. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I just got better at hiding my emotions or whatever. Because while all this stuff was happening, I was still really wanting to be understood by people. I really wanted to convey my emotions. I wanted people to know that I was sad, or if I was happy, or whatever, dude. I was still extremely sad all the time, but I just started to lose the ability to show people that. You know what I mean? To show people that I was going through something. And it's not that I didn't want people to know. I definitely wanted people to know. I wanted people to help me. I wanted people to console me. And I wanted people to try to understand what I was going through. Probably just a byproduct of me being emo or whatever. Okay, but I feel like it was definitely a very real feeling that I was going through. Something that was really plaguing me and making me feel like crap. Okay, a lot of times people talk about like faking things like depression or attention or something like that. But genuinely, if you feel like you might be faking depression, but you still feel like crap all the time, and you still feel like you're sad all the time, I don't think that means that you're faking it. It's still a very real feeling, something that is making you feel awful. Okay, I think it's something you should probably look at. Okay, but yeah, after that point where I started to feel this increasingly growing numbness or whatever, and sort of indifference, I just found myself wanting to feel something again. I actually started wanting to cry after however many years of not being able to show people that I was sad. And that was a very, very awful feeling that kind of just made me feel even worse. It's like I went from being this super savvy kid who would cry all the time to a super savvy adult who couldn't cry at all, even if he wanted to. Okay, and over the years I've struggled with so much. Okay, and I just sometimes get the urge to just let it out and just bawl my eyes out. I want to be consoled by someone, but it feels like I simply can't show my emotions in their purest, rawest form. And it's like no matter how hard I try, lots of things just cannot provoke that response. And most things actually that used to make me cry all the time don't have any effect on me. I don't think it's just that I've gotten more mature because they definitely still make me feel sad, dude. I mean, it's not like I just stopped feeling sad. Okay, like I have a few examples. Okay, like let's say for instance, sad movies. Okay, the only movie I've ever cried while watching was Castaway of all things when I was really freaking little. Right? I've seen other arguably way sadder movies in my life, but none of them ever get me. Okay, Castaway was that one freaking movie, right? But even I go back and watch Castaway now and not feel a thing. It's really weird. Additionally, let's say people yell at me, okay, which is something that would make me cry all the time growing up, all the way up until I was 16, right? Leading up to that big parking lot incident with my dad, people yelling at me just made me feel terrible about myself because it made me feel like I was doing something wrong. And I wanted to do better. I wanted to please people, but when you yell at me, man, it makes me feel terrible. Okay, but you know, nowadays it doesn't do anything to me anymore. I mean, I remember getting in some really tough times with people screaming at me over things that I've done, like mistakes that I've made, and that stuff used to make me cry all the time. Now it doesn't happen. That definitely makes me feel very sad, you know. But I can't convey that sadness anymore. Unfortunately, there's also the very deep depressions I've been through or whatever, and those also can't make me cry either. Even though I've been through so many of them, and they're also very rough for me. And they make me do a lot of reflection on who I am as a person, and they make me feel terrible about myself. Sometimes even driving me to the point where I don't even want to live anymore. That hasn't been happening lately, by the way. It's made me think of the past, but you know, like even near-death experiences aren't enough to make me cry. Okay, if you've seen my video where I talk about the car crash that made me question my sexuality, it seems clickbait, but it's not. It's a real freaking video, real story. All that freaking bad. I know it sounds like whatever. That was a near-death experience for me, and I'll tell you what. The entire time after the fact, I just felt like crap, and I locked myself in my room, and I just like I cried silently or whatever. Fake smile. You know, it was just I could not bring myself to cry even though I wanted to. Nothing I could have done would have brought a single tear to fall from my eye. Now, because of all this stuff that happens to me, I've needed to opt for a different means of coping. And one of my methods has just been being extremely open about my feelings. Okay, you know, my thought process is, oh, if I can't cry to show emotion, why not just give a whole dissertation about what's getting me down? You feel me? I mean, these are the big questions, folks. Are you kidding me? Really, the grand scheme of things, I just want to be understood. Okay, nobody understands me. If I needed to just get a textual account of my feelings to be understood, I think that's okay, right? Because it can make up for the difference there is because I can't properly convey my emotions in a way that is very universal. You know what I mean? Like you're crying or something. Even then, even though I can get by just fine with this or whatever, I still wish I could just cry normally because sometimes it would just be easier, you know, than going about it this whole roundabout way and everything like that. You know what I mean? It requires a lot of time and energy to just talk to people about how I feel because it feels like I'm reading a story to somebody and it feels like I have to try to convince the person that I'm talking to that I'm being serious. Do you know what I mean? It feels like I've lost the ability to feel traditionally sad. Like other people think I don't really care, but I really do try to. Okay, I want to care, but it feels like I can't bring my body to show that. No, okay, I've been trying to do better with how I show my emotions and everything. Right? Obviously, I've been trying to be a lot more open about my feelings to at least get an understanding from people. And that's one of the main reasons I made this channel to begin with. And honestly, I think it's been helping a lot. Okay, I really do think it's been helping me in ways that I can't even really describe in words, or at least not in enough words to fit in this single video. Okay, it still hasn't gotten me very much closer to regaining the ability to cry, but it still has been helping me to understand myself and to get people to understand me better. You know what I mean? Also, you know, in general, I've been trying to help people more, just to show that I care about them and everything, to show them that I'm not some sort of weird stoic sort of statue or something that doesn't really feel anything. You know what I mean, right? Overall, it feels like I've been taking a step in a bit of the right direction. Still, though, yeah, like it's a long, drawn out process. I don't know if I'm actually going to get over this or not, or if I'm ever going to try ever again in my entire life. I guess time will tell, and I'll see what happens. Well, here's something. Anyway, though, I don't really know if I have very much I want to talk about. I apologize in advance for making this sort of really savvy, depressing video or whatever instead of one of my weird other ones where I talk about something gay. I don't really know. Still, I hope you enjoyed everything. Whatever. Okay. Moral of the story. All I gotta say is I urge you not to hide yourself away in a box. Okay. If you have trouble showing your emotions in one way or the traditional way, then please try to do it in another way. All right. Because understanding is 100% the best medicine. Okay. Even if it's hard, I can guarantee you that having nobody understand what you're going through is like a million times harder. So you really gotta try to get yourself out there just a little bit to try to get some help from people. You feel me? Well, whatever. Okay. Anyway, though, yeah. Before I get going, I want to mention that I have a Discord server now. If you're interested in joining, hanging out, maybe we're having a little chat with yours truly. Got to Then consider joining the links in the description. Also, take a look. See here we got some Gato Low fan art. This stuff is crazy. Some of it's awesome. Some of it's a little questionable because it was drawn by a very particular member in my Discord server who, let's just say, is a tad bit problematic. I wouldn't even go as far as to say she is the most problematic person in the entire server. But yeah, that's just me. Last but not least, I want to mention that I have a channel membership. It is $5 a month. I take that back. Actually, it's $4.99 a month. Whoa, what a deal. Do not feel obligated to pay for it if you want. I'm just throwing it out there. If you feel like you'd like to support me, but if this is the first video you watched from me, then pretend I just didn't say that, okay? But yeah, thank you very kindly to everybody who wanted to listen to this little sap story of mine. Thank you very kindly, and without further ado, bye!
Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in Europe. I read that somewhere. It's in Russia, which I guess makes sense because Russia is big and has a lot of room for big, tall things. People climb it sometimes. They put on special boots and jackets and walk up there for days. I saw a picture of it. It looks cold. There was snow on top, which you'd expect on a tall mountain. Some of the people who climb it don't come back down. I don't know why anyone would go up there in the first place. There's nothing up there, just more mountain. They say it's a volcano that doesn't erupt anymore. That's good, I suppose. The last thing you want when you're halfway up a mountain is for it to start shooting fire at the top. I don't know much else to say about it. It's probably very quiet up there. I bet you can see a long way. Not that it would do you much good.
Horses.
A year ago,
I came here, and our community was oblivious to the industrial data center boom. Since then, we have learned a lot. We learned that these massive facilities are routinely placed in areas with existing environmental burdens. We sounded the alarm on environmental hazard, surging utility bill. It's only been a year, 1 year to the day that we came to you. But man, oh man, what a year in. And we have only begun to buy.
Next we have Gary Dean.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. Welcome to today's episode of How You Getting Fucked. I'm your host, Louis Swanson. I'm coming to you live outside City Hall in beautiful Texas, where they're talking about building an AI data center. Now, I don't usually go over AI data centers, so what am I doing here? This is not about the AI data center, it's the story behind the AI data center. In 1999, there was a kind older gentleman who donated about 87 acres of land. I shouldn't say donated, he sold these 87 acres of land to the city for $10. Now, in my opinion, you tell me what you think in the comments down below. But when somebody gives away 87 acres of land for $10, it's a symbolic thing in there. That man does not need the $10. It's being done to say, we want you to do something good with it. And indeed, it said that he wanted it to be used for a park. Now, a comedy of errors occurred, very similar to what I've gone over on this channel when I was talking about New York and the New York playlist. And I will be fair, I'll talk about whether it's New York or Texas. That land was transferred to somebody, and at that point, they sold the land to a company to be used to build an AI data center for $10 million. An AI data center is not a park. The worst part about this is that the gentleman died in 2017. That was sold. So he's not even here to see that instead of building a park, as was his intention, in my opinion, his charitable intention, was giving away over 80 acres of land for $10. They're building an AI data center.
As we continue to shop at City Council, we ended up realizing that they were going to approve this zoning and kind of move forward despite all the things that we're bringing to them. And Pamela at one point told us the story. We're sitting in a room, about 5 of us, and she starts talking about how her dad knew they would play baseball in the field and the lawn balls would go out. And her dad had been talking to the man who mows the grass, who owns the land, Mr. Bland. And that she was a little girl, she remembers him telling her dad that this was going to be parklands, that he was going to give it his heart. And she literally was crying, saying, "I just wish that man had done that." And we're looking at each other with our laptops up, and we're like, "Hey, look at the deed." And literally in that room, 5 other people, we put the deed. There's only 6 of them. We're like, found the restriction. From that point on, I just became whatever Pamela needed me to become. I went to her lawyer meetings, I made flyers for her, walked and knocked on doors to make sure her entire neighborhood had everything in Spanish and in English, and we're always the first ones to know. And that's just kind of how I got involved with everything. We just keep taking the next right step, and it just keeps brewing. So,
but wait, it gets better. When you read what they're saying about this, they're saying that that was not a restriction, that was just a note. City officials maintain that the 1999 parkland language carries no legal force. So when said the deed carried a note about the land being held in trust for future parkland use, they categorized that the note was an intention rather than a binding restriction, telling Newsweek, and I quote, "This note was not a deed restriction." And again, there is what the law says, and then there is what I'm not religious. I just something I don't know, you call it karma, call it whatever you want. Something tells me that if a man says, "Here, we would like this land to be used for a park. Have this land that I could sell for millions of dollars for $10, please make it into a park." And after he dies, you turn it into an AI data center, which is literally a source of fucking pollution, methane generators and other crap right next to where people live. He wouldn't be very happy with that. And what I find disgusting about this is we can't go back and ask him what his intention was here. Hey, you know when you sold us that land for $10 to use as a park, how would you feel if you put a bunch of fucking methane generators and other shit that's gonna pollute the air that people can't walk around in? We can't ask him whether or not that was his original intention. So saying that was not a deed restriction, that was just a note, in my opinion, is a crappy way of getting around the situation. Now, unfortunately, many of the members of the city council here were not around when all these deals were made. They simply have to clean up everything after the fact. And I wanted to show up to speak to some of the residents to see what they think about this. Now, I wanted to listen to a session where we're gonna have a lawyer to discuss the legality of this. Unfortunately, what I noticed the agenda for the meeting usually only comes out 24/7 2 hours before, that is a closed session. So the city council hears from the lawyer, and when the city council tells the lawyer, I'm not gonna be able to report for all of you because they have behind closed doors.
They do a lot of behind the door closed meetings, and they've even gone as far as the last meeting we attended, they had 12 bullet points with code names for their different things that they were going to discuss. And I don't remember, some of them were pretty funny.
You say code names. Help me understand what you mean by code names a little bit.
Basically, it's a false title for what they're going to be discussing, so that nobody knows what they're going to be discussing.
No, you got it right the first time. But can you example?
I can't remember. Was it one about Star Wars or something? Yeah, names that had nothing to do with what they were talking about. So that's kind of how they're doing it. And they've been, to be honest with you, they've been interfering in our communications amongst our own group.
Now, there's some members of the community that have sympathy and empathy for the fact that the city council that is there right now, we're not the city council that were there when all these stupid land deals are being made. However, they are the people that have the power to deal with it or start cleaning things up right now. None of the things they can do going forward are good. Either A, they have to tell people that spend $10 million in land, you're only allowed to use it for a park, which will most likely result in suing them in a giant legal battle between a big company and a small town. Or B, they can tell the community, hey, I know this guy, great guy, left you 80 acres of land to use the park, we actually are going to turn it into a giant building idea. Sorry. Their choices suck. And one of the things my father used to tell me when I was younger is, Louis, you can either do what is easy or what is easy to live with. And what is easy to live with is usually never going to be easy. They have a difficult decision to make. And what I like about all of you, if you live in the city of Taylor, Texas, is to write your city council members and encourage them to do what is easy to live with. They're going to have to deal with like a lot of legal fuckery. They're likely going to be taking a lot of crap. They're going to have to deal with a lot of extra work that they're going to have to do to be able to stand up for you so that you can get that park that you were promised 27 years ago. And what needs to happen here, in my opinion, the community needs to come together and let them know that if they make the right decision, that you're going to support. I remember back in 2016 when I made the decision to keep all my YouTube videos on my channel, back when Outlet asked if I would remove it. And my lawyer at the time told me, you're very lucky. It looks like they are being very nice about it. They just want you to take one video down. You're good. They don't want to sue you or do anything else. And I said no. And he looked at me like, what? I mean, they want to sue you. Like, have you looked at what's in the corner of the schematic showing all your videos? It says right there. Do not distribute proprietary secret property of Outlet and all this other stuff. And you're just out here just showing it to everybody. What, are you nuts? And I believed at the time that I did the right thing. And I believed if I was doing the right thing, everybody says this is naive and stupid and you're dumbass. I believe I'm doing the right thing, but somehow the community will come together and work itself out. And at the time, I realized there were tens of thousands of people that were fixing things that otherwise would not have been. They were learning things. They were getting jobs fixing things. They were leaving working from Walmart, starting their own businesses, doing motherboard repair on eBay, and all sorts of cool stuff to feed their families and contribute to their community off the content that I was making. Somehow it was worked itself out, and it did work itself out. My company still exists. My video is still up. I don't have to deal with any of this stuff because the community comes together and it's important. And what I've been doing ever since that day for the past 10 years is trying to encourage as many other people as possible to take that plunge, take that jump. We're doing the full bounty program. I know the section 1 to 3 5 years in federal prison, but people really like the thermostat. I just community of people that want to see these things work again. If you do the right thing, society will sort things out. And I'm hoping that enough people come out to city council, enough people speak to the city council members about this. Why it matters to them. Above all, say we got your back. We support you if you do the right thing. That they will do the right thing. It is one thing to say we're going to build an AI data center. It's another to say we're going to build a polluting AI data center next to where people live. It's another to say we are going to build a polluting AI data center right next to land that was donated, that was supposed to become a park. That is not going to become a park right after the guy dies. That is fucked up. And I hope that all of you in the city of Texas will come out, speak to your city council, email, call, show up to their offices, and let them know cordially, politely, hey, you want to do the right thing. B, if they do the right thing, you have their back. That being said, I just want to speak to some members of the town and get their opinions on it. My name is Jose Horta. I live here in Taylor, Texas. 1 year ago, I came here to oppose Blueprint Data Center because the city has not acted to protect us. The citizens have taken it upon themselves to force the conversation. We are formally delivering a citizen-led petition to the city court tonight. We demand explicit, legally binding protections written directly into the city code. Data centers are massive, resource-heavy industrial plants, and our code must treat them as such. Our petition forces standards in 4 areas: water limits, safeguarding our local water supply from heavy cooling systems, noise caps, enforcing low decibel limits on industrial fans and generators, setbacks, mandatory buffers to keep these giant warehouses away from neighborhoods, impact studies, and mandatory environmental study for any facility within 1,000 feet of our homes. Living next to an unvetted industrial site threatens our health, peace of mind, and property values. If the developer wants to build near our families, they must prove they will not cause harm. This petition is proof that the citizens of Taylor will protect our own town, even when you won't. We expect this council to honor the will of the people, adopt these common sense amendments, and put Taylor's families ahead of unregulated industrial expansion. Thank you.
Whatever I do impacts everybody all the way down to San Antonio and before that. So I try to be mindful of any of the water that I use in my yard when I take a shower because I know it will impact other people. It just seems to me that these data centers don't care what impact they're going to have, and I believe that's a problem.
How will you feel when you have to explain to your children and your grandchildren why they don't have water or why the farmers are gone? Is this a short-term influx of money worth contaminating the future of our town? Consider another option. Turn Taylor into the town that people want to move to instead of move out of. A town that has good Texas roots, not sterile corporate monuments.
Yes, ma'am.
I already said a prayer.
When you came here tonight, I know they announced the meeting minutes or what it's going to be about. I think 24/7 you out with me. Were you expecting them to have the session where they're discussing the legality of this zoning behind closed doors rather than with the public?
I wasn't that aware of it, but they do a lot of behind the door closed meetings, and they've even gone as far as the last meeting we attended, they had 12 bullet points with code names for their different things that they were going to discuss, and I don't remember. Some of them were pretty funny.
You say code names. Help me understand what you mean by code names a little bit.
Basically, it's a false title for what they're going to be discussing, so that nobody knows what they're going to be discussing.
No, you got it right the first time. But can you give me an example? Yeah.
I can't remember. Was it one about Star Wars or something? Yeah, definitely. I mean, names that had nothing to do with what they were talking about. So that's kind of how they're doing it, and they've been, to be honest with you, they've been interfering in our communications amongst our own groups that we share information with the rest of the state, and they're using that information to block our ability to speak up by setting up external speakers to take up time, like Terry had mentioned about the state meeting on Tuesday. 11 hours, and we had 30 people get to share for 2 minutes each. They went up to 11 hours, and that's because they had all the paid corporate people come up and give their tushy speech, as I call it. It's basically a bunch of BS, and they suck up all the time. So we're just trying to level the playing field, get our voices heard. Some of the stories I've heard just recently about what's happened, I didn't realize the segregation had gone that deep in Taylor for so long. I mean, outside the city limits, they couldn't own property inside Taylor city limits, and that's where they're putting this data center is outside the city limits in the neighborhoods that should be having a park instead of corporations.
So that's the part of town. That's the part of town that you were only allowed to buy if you were a minority.
If you were a minority, you had to buy outside city limits.
And that's the part where they're putting the data center.
Right.
That's the part that didn't get a park, even though the land was allotted for it.
Correct. And it just, I know I'm a white person and I understand some of the things that go on with segregation things. It's still to this day, it's 2026. Give me a break. This is insane that people are still using these techniques to stop legitimate residents from enjoying their town and being a part of this town. So that's another reason why I'm standing up for this, because it's just wrong what they're doing.
Thank you so much for taking the time, man. I really appreciate you talking.
As we continue to shop at City Council, we ended up realizing that they were going to approve this zoning and kind of move forward despite all the things that we're bringing to them. And Pamela at one point told us the story. We're sitting in a room with about 5 of us, and she starts talking about how her dad knew they would play baseball in the field and the Laudner balls would go out. And her dad had been talking to the man who mows the grass, who owns the land, Mr. Bland. And that she was a little girl, and she remembers him telling her dad that this was going to be parklands, that he was going to give it his park. And she literally was crying, saying, "I just wish that man had done that." And we're looking at each other with our laptops up, and we're like, "Hey, look at the deed." And literally in that room with 5 other people, we pulled the deed. There's only 6 of them. We're like, found the restriction. From that point on, I just became whatever Pamela needed me to become. I went to lawyer meetings, I made flyers for her, walked and knocked on doors to make sure her entire neighborhood had everything in Spanish and in English, and we're always the first ones to know. And that's just kind of how I got involved with everything. We just keep taking the next right step, and it just keeps brewing. So
City officials maintain that the 1999 parking language carries no legal force. Second, apologies for pronouncing names. The deed carried a note about the land being held in trust for future parking use. Characterize that note as intent rather than a binding restriction. Telling Newsweek this note was not a deed restriction. And that seems like one of those really messed up things to say after somebody has already passed away. But the person who did this passed away in 2017. I would read that rather than assume, hey, you can go back and ask that guy, would you have given us this 70 or 80 or 90 acres of land for $10 if you knew that we were going to use it to build a data center that's going to probably have a bunch of methane generators right next to where people live? And like when we use common sense there, that is one of those ways to weasel out of something where like you may technically be legally correct while simultaneously being a complete asshole.
absolutely.
Oh, awesome. Hopefully, very cool.
I don't know if you know this guy, but he's a right to repair advocate. I'm curious, like, wait, what's the, technology, like, you've been fixing about, if you want me to, all right.
I already get enough shit for being a horrible camera person. I can't give them any more actual ammunition because they're technically right. I am a garbage camera person. But
I come here a lot. I'm on the board commission and I'm a local community organizer.
yeah, one of the things I found most interesting about this is I'm not necessarily anti-data centers. I think it's doing it wrong. Like you don't have to take all the water. You have to close the loop and open the system. I'm not against you powering it. I'm against you powering it with a bunch of methane generators right next to where people live. And I think people would be less anti-data center if they weren't always done in the worst possible way. This one is interesting to me because this is just comic book villain level of either evil suit or just stupidity, like just deal with it. So where you have somebody who had means decide I want to do the right thing. Instead of taking this money and just live out the last 5 or 10 years of my life because I'm going to do the right thing by my community. I'm going to let them all have this land $10 use the farm. Use the park. And right after he dies, they say we're going to sell LJK. We're going to sell this from a data center. It's going to pollute the crap out of your air. That's one of the best ways to turn the public against data centers.
I mean, agreed to hell of a drug, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, they can have that conversation with a lawyer about what the legality of this is in front of all the people in the city council hearing, and they're doing that behind closed doors where I can't bring my microphone. And I find that very interesting.
So I've got a lot of empathy for the folks that are serving us on city council. I think we all need to understand kind of what they're up against here. The folks here in Taylor on the city council are local citizens, just average folks like anybody off the street with a little bit more extra time and interest to like serve, right? And they're confronted with a lot of challenges as like a rural town outside of Boston. And when big money walks in the door, it can be hard to understand what the risks associated with that are, especially since they show up a lot more prepared than you really ever can be. We also kind of agree that we're not really anti-data center. We want to see the city prepare to grow in a way that's responsible and sustainable. We don't want to boom and bust cycle here, and we certainly don't want a situation where we run out of water. That's a town killer. We don't walk away from that. We can walk away from bankruptcy. We can't walk away from all our water not being useful. So the city council, I think, wants to do the right thing here. Earlier, you brought up that over the barrel issue that they're in with, that they sold this thing under the DDC, and they may be under some liability of selling something that wasn't really theirs under the deed. I don't know that that's an easy place for the city council to operate from, but they've got to have some courage here to try to do the right thing, even if it ends up hurting us in the short term. And I think that's the like tension that they're under, right?
I think the worst possible thing that could happen is reputationally speaking. If I spend $10 million on real estate and then the town said actually you can't use it, you just want to pay for it, I would tell all my friends that happens. So I think the worst thing for Taylor reputationally is they tell all their data center friends, hey, don't buy land in Taylor for a data center because they're not going to let you build it. And that's a reputational hit that I might just take in the short term.
I think they're prepared to do that. And I'd like to point out again that the city council here is only like one part of a multi-system failure that occurred in this situation. Right?
And there are many people in the city council that likely were not really interested in politics when this comedy of errors, whether intentional or not, was occurring. So I appreciate you bringing up that point.
Yeah, and I think more to the point, the EDC, the Economic Development Commission of Austin, Taylor is really responsible for this deal. They're the one who put it on the table.
And from what I was reading, I was trying to not be rude while she was speaking, but I just wanted to look things up to make sure I asked these questions. Is that several of these people that are responsible for this are no longer employed. So these are made by employees who no longer work for the city. And now they're dealing with decisions that were made. Like people are showing up mad because of what other people did that they weren't even made aware of. And one of the things I'll show in my comments a lot is why did you say something or do something at this point. Like one example for me is I had a warrant on my company, my business, and I knew about it because they sent a lien and a warrant PO box in Berwick, Maine. And the people were like, why didn't you sell this years ago? And I said, well, how many people do they have a warrant on them when they wake up in the morning? I think I still really like my cabin and I check how many people are waking up to see, hey, this random farmer that died 5 years ago, leave land to the city, we check his property.
I mean, absolutely. And I think more to the point about where all this goes next, because this isn't a Taylor issue, this is a national issue. Virginia's been through this. Lots of states are going to be going through it just as much as Texas right now. And we all have to learn from each other about this because they're way more prepared to come in and buy the land cheap and find the water cheap than we are to notice that they're coming, to detect that they are in the area looking for properties that they've acquired properties. Many of these properties that we see in this area were acquired quite some time ago. And there's no way to learn that a data center is what's planned for that property until very late in the game. City governments have to do a little bit more to catch up to where the business market is on data centers and development. And that's the reason that we're in the situation right now. I think that there's probably some nefarious stuff. People who aren't in this situation anymore that have long gone, but the rest of us are here to hold the bag for some bad decisions that were done maybe 5 years ago.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for the time you're talking. Really appreciate it.
You said like one thing pointed out like the deed. They're like we don't really recognize the legality of the deed because they can't. Right? All right.
You'll see the comments I'm making.
Yeah, well, again, so that's the issue. I think that the city council dealing with is that the legal have to say that it's illegal. The deed isn't binding. Because what else can they say? If they said that the deed was binding,
then it has to be a question of why you allow this.
And then who's liable? So here's what I do know about Texas is that Texas is long for all the wrong reasons established that the deeds have supremacy. Like they are the first thing to be considered in arbitration or litigation on property. First thing, and that was mostly because of redlining and a way to preserve whiteness in neighborhoods. Now, I think it's a little ironic in a good way that that's being turned around in this case. But I think we're all aware of the potential hypocrisy of honoring deeds and making deeds sacrosanct in ways that don't benefit black and brown people. And then when it doesn't benefit white people, we turn it around. And that's I think the other thing that's happening. I know a lot of the other speakers have like alluded to all the redlining that has caused that property to be so undervalued. It's such a cheap buy and such a promising area for a data center. It's that massive investment and the like very clear redlining and now not honoring a deed, which in Texas is kind of crazy. It's really you won't find many deed cases that were not successfully argued that the deed had to be honored in Texas. It just doesn't happen.
Well, let's say that was not in the deed. Does the city council have the discretion to be able to say we're not going to allow this land to be zoned for data?
I think that's unclear. I think what the city council representatives have the right to vote against is something they've already voted for, and that's unfortunate. Whether or not the city council will grant further variances, further entitlements, and make development there as easy as developers want, I think is a good question. But the city council already kind of sold us out on this one. Much of this council already voted, I think, a little bit at legal gunpoint that they really didn't have an alternative position to take. The city sold land under a certain set of assumptions and conditions that cannot be honored if the deed has to be honored. So are they more worried about getting sued by the community of Taylor? Or are they more worried about getting sued by a developer? And they have told us in their votes that they're more concerned about getting sued by the developer
because they would have more money and more time to try it out.
I think that's part of it. But also there's no downside to getting sued by the community, and there's lots of downside to getting sued by the developer.
They also have $10 million to pay
From the development. So like they were sued and they still have a data center go in, right? It's a data center that can plug and play because it's next to a substation. It's got lines across it. So the citizens aren't having to pay for more infrastructure, and the city doesn't have to pay for more infrastructure. They can get that data center online, get more tax revenue, and so they can still make out in the end, even if those residents end up in poverty because their taxes go up, their values go down, and they health-wise are 500 feet from a data center. Nobody wants to buy a house there. You can't sell and end up in another community. So you lose that historically. So the city wins no matter what by allowing that data center to go in. And they've admitted that somebody's on the council now who said they were on the ADC for 13 years and they couldn't give that land away to a room full of people who golfed out loud and said, we don't have a gas station on our side of town, we don't have a childcare center or a grocery store or anything. You could put anything on that piece of land. So you just put a data center and cause people to live in poverty. Like, that's the bottom line. But they wouldn't get mine.
But again, that city council that did vote for that. It made none of the decisions that put them in a place to have to vote for or against the data center.
Yeah, it's a shitty position to be in.
It's a shitty position to be in.
It's like a Harry Truman thing about that. It is though, right? You're the one that gets to make difficult decisions, and there's a lot of really crappy decisions to make. Sometimes it's like there are decisions that are easy and easy to live with. And I've noticed that throughout my life, what easy to do is very different than what easy to live
Absolutely. So, I think if my guess is, and I don't know what they're having to deal with, but I know they're having to deal with lawyers that are telling them that they're under a lot of legal risk for doing the right thing. So I don't blame them. I empathize with them, but I think they're making the wrong decision.
I've always noticed that when there's a decision that has a lot of risk attached, doing the right thing for the right reason, that people tend to, like, the world just manages to find a way to defend people against you. Like, 2016 when Apple told me take down these videos that have schematic in it. My lawyer told me that's right. It says on the bottom right of the video, it says confidential proprietary property of Apple Inc. Trade secret, do not distribute at all. And here I am displaying it on the screen while giving the company the finger. And my lawyer says, oh, that's nicely. It's pretty easy to take it down. I said, no. What do you mean no? I said, yeah, well, I want to say when they filed the claim on the right at 58 seconds, Lewis is showing you what refuses, and we don't want you to know what refuses in your product. Now, I mean, they may have debt to rights legally, but morally and everything else, they didn't. And my videos are still up. I haven't been sued to the ground. They still exist as a company. If the world finds a way, then somehow the defender will come around the people that are doing the right thing. And I know the city council likely feels like they're in a corner, and they probably resent the fact that they're into a corner by incompetent people or malicious people. I'm not going to assume one or the other until I know who can for them. But if they have to believe that they do the right thing now, that the community and people will come together and make it take care.
But you asked us before, like, why we're here today, why we show these things. I mean, we have not agreed with everything the city council has done over many years now, but we've always been there to support them when they're making the right decision. And I don't really care what they voted on, or all of us will come together to support them through a really hard decision like this. If we're $10 million in debt or worse because of whatever we get sued on, this community will suffer through it, and we'll do it, I think, in a lot better and more united sense than we will if we got a data center looking at us over the tracks every day.
And honestly, our community has been polarized so much in the last couple of years. The fact that people are coming out from all sides of the political spectrum, left, right, center, all of it, and we're no longer going left or right and fighting each other about different cultural things. We actually consider that a luxury. We're like, hey, we're here because we want clean water and we want air and we want the right to have our land, and we are craving. We come into this city hall and we are hungry for people that will advocate for people. It's only going to get more expensive to do the right thing. It's only going to get more treacherous. But if they would rise up and represent the people, which is their job, not to explain how corporations are going to make our city better, to actually represent the people, we would parade them through the streets. We would catch them on that free fall, and we're trying to tell them that we're all in here shouting for you. But time and time again, we come to this hall hungry for leadership and advocacy, and we leave starving, and we're really waiting for them to take that moment to say, like, oh, this is the right path, and we will just champion them for that.
Thank you so much for taking the time to answer all my questions and come out and give a shit. Thank you, sir. Pleasure meeting you. That's it today. As always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Oh, crash. Well, ja, pas voor mannen. Ik vraag pause. Whether I stop. This shit right here. I didn't enable it. So let me. Oh shit, this server doesn't work. Never works. Second closest. And should be there. Just sluggish, but still works. Yeah, it doesn't. Somehow it doesn't. Let me. Let's try.
Microsoft just gave Windows 10 another 1 year to live, extending free security updates all the way until October 2027. Pretty unexpected considering that Microsoft is also the one that's holding the pillow over the 9 operating systems for real face. I'm Sebastian, this is TechLink, and the reason for all this is simple math. Roughly 1/4 of all Windows users are still on Windows 10 and in no hurry to leave. That is just plain too many people cut off. So the company quietly caved, not making an announcement, just by adding a one-line editor's note that was slipped into an old blog post caught by Windows latest. The most interesting part, those security patches are only free in one free way. If you back up all the data to your Microsoft account, pay $30, just $3, or cash in 1,000 Microsoft reward points, a currency that you can slowly earn by running your searches through Bing. Which means that every joyless Bing search that you've ever suffered through was secretly a savings plan for this very moment. Well done. IBM, meanwhile, says they built the world's first sub-1 nanometer chip. I'm talking 100 billion transistors crammed onto a sliver the size of your fingernail. It's the kind of announcement that makes investors clap, and then Technofiles asks, hold on a second, how did you do that? And the answer's pretty cool. IBM's new Nanostack design stacks transistors upward in 3D, which they claim is going to give up to a 50% performance boost or 70% better energy efficiency compared to their 2 nanometer design. Which, okay, hold on a second, what does that actually mean? 2 nanometer, 1 nanometer, are we even calling nanometers? I thought we were just building up. Well, here's the thing, those nanometer numbers stopped being real measurements years ago, like many years ago. These days, they're pretty much just shorthand for how much performance and how much efficiency you get out of a particular manufacturing node. Things have actually been drinking for a while due to unfortunate laws of quantum physics, which is why this is pretty exciting. Of course, though, it is still a lab demo, and IBM says that production could be 5+ years out, which in industry terms means probably a recession and 2 more bubbles from now. Apple is reportedly skipping high-end versions of their M6 matches, fast tracking instead, an AI-focused M7 generation that landed early as 2027. Kind of feels like a gentle way for Apple to say, hey, just buy the M5 Max and stop asking questions. According to Bloomberg, the base M6 will still ship this year. The Pro, Max, and Ultra tiers are just going to be leapfrogging straight to M7, making M6 the first Apple silicon generation to be released without any feature siblings. While Apple hasn't officially stated the reason, industry-wide memory shortage has reportedly forced the company to reevaluate product roadmaps, which is corporate for we're kind of realizing everybody bear with us. The M7 is designed primarily around on-device AI, and Apple is currently targeting a whopping 240 GB per second memory bandwidth, up from just 153 on the base M5. And okay, so what? Apple's fix for memory shortage is a chip that's even hungrier for memory bandwidth? Seems crazy, but hey, nobody else has got it figured out, just like nobody can figure out. Humans only use 10% of their brains, which is exactly why these 5 delectable morsels are designed for exactly that 10%. Riot is finally letting players switch off Vanguard's always-on anti-cheat, meaning it will load only when you're in game. Unfortunately, to do this, your Windows 11 PC needs to have the full security stack, so it has to be the 25 half 2 edition Windows 11. You have TPM 2.0 and also a bunch of other acronyms that you probably never heard of. But anyway, at least you can finally stop the kernel babysitter from watching you all day, as long as you're trading into lockdown work laptop. Valve, meanwhile, has quietly edited the Steam Machine's store page, downgrading its bold 4K gaming and 60 FPS bonus to a much higher up to 4K. The change came after reviews showed that the console performs around the level of PS5 and cannot always hold that frame rate in demanding games. So the most convenient way to fix this is not to make the Steam Machine faster, but just to drop the number, because now even a 4K slideshow technically counts as long as you don't think about it too much. Speaking of not thinking, YouTube is overhauling the shorts player with a clear screen mode that hides every button for distraction-free brain rot, plus 2x playback, so you can power through twice the content in the same amount of time. Wow, they also killed the one tap dislike button, so now telling the algorithm no thanks means you have to dig into a menu right at the feed fills the AI slot. Don't worry, at least you got a new icon. OpenAI is staggering its ChatGPT 5.6 launch launched limiting early access exclusively to government-approved customers due to cybersecurity concerns. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick even phone Sam Altman personally to demand compliance. In a leaked internal memo, Altman told staff that it is not OpenAI's preferred long-term model. I feel bad for Sam here. He let the Duke so thoroughly, so enthusiastic for so long, yet the Duke showed zero loyalty to him. I wonder if somebody who's seen this. And U.S. regulators want to drop the rule that self-driving cars need a brake pedal, but only for vehicles that are built with no human controls at all. That's like Cybercab or Amazon's Zoox robotaxi. The car still has to be able to stop on a dime. You just won't have a pedal that a human can press. So next time your passenger instinct screams, hey, foot stomps to the floor. There'll be nothing there but carpet and faith. Just like I have faith. You'll come back Monday for more tech news. As for me, I'll be in the lab trying to access the other 90% of my brain. So far, I'm not the third nostril. Really cheese sounds.
Justin, you wanted to play the Night Trap. Yeah, I was talking about this game in the video, and I thought it was pretty cool.
It's not very good. I'm gonna crank up the volume. This isn't the right remote. Eric. Alright, Eric,
Got a louder. Push that bad now. Got a louder.
Put this one first.
I just went I fell for the Night Trap.
Fell.
He was 8 p.m.
Just gotta have Rick kill everything back. Stop. Later. There were lyrics, I didn't even notice. Yes.
Justin, you wanted to play the Night Trap. Yeah, I was talking about this game in the video that I was editing, and I thought it was pretty cool.
It's not very good. Why don't we crank up the volume?
Yeah.
This isn't the right remote. Eric.
Eric, go find the right remote, buddy.
Yo, Eric.
Wait, what?
Remote, buddy.
Yo, Eric.
Meh.
Alright, Eric, sit back down.
Got a louder. Actually, not that bad now. Actually, got a louder.
I guess we'll have the rope. I fell for the Night Trap.
fell.
He was 8 p.m. Not even early.
So, the goal of this game is to stop the vampire burglars from coming into the house. Ooh. And only we can do it.
Oh shit, they're already going in.
How do you
do so?
I forget, man. I forget.
Press any button. You want to trap them.
Oh, you know what? Somebody look up, guy. There's a color of like a security code that we have to be on to enable the trap.
You want to switch the code one trap after you get the third and second code, and immediately after the fourth code.
Yeah, what do
What do you mean?
Just stop playing.
Just have fun. Hold on.
Just have fun.
I love that. Yeah, we are less than 1 second. Immediately completely bottlenecked this far into like I don't know how or what to do. Keep stuck yourself on this game.
I think when the green goes red.
Yeah.
Got his ass.
Yeah. You only got one of them though.
I might have missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back. Crap.
Yeah. All right, now we're playing a game. We have 6 possible sets. So there's one vampire. That's not a bad roll.
I don't think of vampires and burglars. I think that Venn diagram is just a damn circle.
Wasn't that one of the critiques of this game? Like the actual like scenes and stuff you can actually watch because we're just trapping crap guys.
Vampire thing.
Oh, go for the stairwell. Go for the stairwell. Go down the stairs. Yeah. Got
Double. Simple. Clean.
Where do all these vampires go? Oh,
Wait. I think it can change. I think the fucking code changed. I don't know. I thought that was a red thing.
No, that just means another vampire.
Never mind. Yeah, there's another vampire. Don't worry. I'm cleaning this shit up.
That's
I'm eating this shit like in Rice Krispies.
Losing. Yeah. Yo, you got the one with the weapons. Oh yeah.
I'm eating this shit up like in Honey Nut Cheerios.
You're eating all the cereal.
Hi, Eddie.
Oh, yo, Eddie's here?
Oh, let us know when you want to die, Eddie.
What the hell? Yo, we beating the shot at Eddie.
Easy.
You're
You feel like 20 mini weeks.
No, so like every time he misses one, it just perpetually stays in there.
Oh, I thought this, okay.
But I don't think they actually do anything until it's plot relevant.
Uh-oh.
Did it mix? Do I have to code? Guys, I might need to go on the guide. Go, what would the next code be? The fucking code changed. The fucking code changed.
Just hit another button. How do you possibly know?
Yeah, so at some point in one of the clips here, they went up to you and go, the code is now this.
Yes, this access code indicates when characters will play the color of the access code.
What is it? What's the fucking second code?
So you have to watch the vampires and the
House is
people.
littered with the vampire now.
Yes, man.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, give him one. Give him one guy.
It is not blue, Dom. It is not blue.
Change code. I mean, maybe it's random.
Oh, this game sucks ass.
No, this game's actually pretty. I like it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Go back on it.
Alright, I just missed like one.
I was hoping to be like sulfuric acid and they just like rot.
Dude, I'm cleaning up vampires like in Honey Smacks.
Who tells you? 8:59, put it back on.
They don't like how many augers made it real.
The scat team's talking.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, your name rhymes with
I'm not really lying.
There's a stretch of rhyme.
Eric time.
Eric, let me tell you. Here's the camera.
Top left. Hit triangle when it hits red. Get his ass. There is one more.
In the living room, right there.
You see him? Give him the trap. What do you mean,
Got it, do it, Eric.
Living room. Living room. Living room.
Use a night trap.
Oh, Eric, they're in the house. They're in the house now. It's like ants in the house.
Where's the both
The
worlds?
bedroom. Eric, you need to close the window.
The flies are getting in.
You're not eating any cereal.
Go to the
right now.
bathroom. Go to the bathroom. Good, Eric. I like this. Oh, good.
He's actually dead. Eat these guys like some toast crunch.
Really bad.
Done. This cereal gets soggy, man.
Loaded milk.
Is anybody a cereal after milk kind of guy?
I want to add more cereal to my milk for but that's crazy to start it off here.
Crazy. I
Insane.
definitely agree. Don't worry, Dom. Me and you are on the same page here. Much like how Eric on the same page just. But that's just the dad and he got locked
knocked out, so he's kind of weird. Yeah, that was all that was. That was all that was.
Laundry
clean.
day.
Yeah, all laundry day. I gotta wear my ski mask.
Ski mask, my vampire suit.
Let's put it on your neck to suck the blood out, because they don't, because it's the ski masks on. The fangs are a little hard to, access.
Victor and I have to make a visit to the augers tonight.
Oh, so they're saying augers, and it's like to everybody else, it's like, oh, that's just somebody's last name. Like, in reality, it's vampires.
I want you to go downstairs and change the trap access code from blue to green.
Green. Get his ass. Shoulder buns there. Shoulder. Yes.
He doesn't work every zombie. Yeah, we're trying to speed run. Let him figure it out. I'm trying to get to the end.
Don't baby him.
The end, I think it's a long game.
It's a 30-minute game.
Oh, fun and everything, don't you?
Yeah, I'm all about practicality.
They're gonna say something crazy right here. Something about a code change.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
No, I mean, no. He has to get them. He has to get purple. Purple.
It's all blue.
Just call that one up. That's a wash.
Now purple.
Yeah,
Now
now
purple.
Yeah, try it. Yes, boom, it is purple.
What? It's like I missed something.
Yeah, the driveway. Go to the driveway. You missed those, now we're on the hall.
He's gonna die.
All 1 and 11:30.
That guy's hooked.
Hope we weren't planning to see more of him.
That could be minute shoes.
Maybe she's not looking at a mirror. Maybe she's looking at a security camera.
37, that's what happened. Oh,
Wait a second.
who are you?
You're not a soap bar. Use your gun. Why
That doesn't look like I saved her.
don't they just suck each other's blood? There's like 100 of these fucking guys.
Incredible.
Only 10, 39 of them.
Why can't vampires just suck on their own fucking
I
blood?
like blood, you like blood. You got blood, I got blood.
What are we doing here?
What?
1337 entryway. That's why they're giving you a code.
Eric.
He's right.
Okay. What are we doing? Eric. Code.
1450, we're going to change the access code again.
Again? What? We just changed it.
I feel better if we switch the code again to purple.
Yeah, you can tell they 80 yard again.
I wish they smacked each other's ass.
Good game, bro.
Just leave now.
Uh-oh. 15, go to entryway.
Oh my god.
You got the ray gun out the mystery box. Yeah, I don't think I really care how many you miss.
Holy
I think
shit.
it's just which- I think it's just which ones you miss.
43 living room.
Really? There's 2 of them right
Guys,
here?
They're harmless.
Oh, no,
Get him, get him,
I never tell which ones are harmless. It's like bees and wasps.
59 hall. Go 59 hall.
Wasps code change.
1713, bedroom, must save Ashley.
They couldn't just use the door now? Oh, they can move that fast?
The bathroom!
Oh, no.
And you have to get people in the bedroom, go to the bathroom.
But it said I had to save her.
You just gotta watch this.
Uh-oh.
Jesus.
Red.
Maybe they can't arrest vampires.
Call the National Guard.
They just can't arrest vampires. They gotta rap.
Yeah.
At night, might.
Yeah, I smacked up his ass, and then I step on the steering handle, and then you just bam.
All right, hall 1, must save main. Wait for the second
I
red.
haven't saved her
How
yet.
did that work?
Hall 1, 1909. You wait for the second red indicator. Do not trap on the first red indicator. No, just wait for it. No.
How the hell?
They wouldn't stand in my way, would you?
Get him. Damn.
16 living room.
Sergeant Wright wasn't wearing his auger uniform.
That allows code change.
Dominic?
Get a little land.
We done? There's actually no more code changes.
What's those guys are bad?
I'm getting some bad vibes. Shoot him in the head.
The kitchen.
I'm trying to get more.
54 hall 2.
I have so many questions. There's so little time to listen.
Yeah.
No time for Lord Eric. There's augers to bust.
2211 bedroom.
I'm busting all tonight.
Anybody want to help me bust some og? That girl in all white, she's a freak. She is a creepy fucking vampire.
eyes, yeah.
And she is going to be the last one we kill.
oh,
I
yeah.
guarantee she's the final boss. She's like the first one that you see.
Yeah, so like right away you see green eyes, like the first second.
I missed that. Oh, no, no.
Too many of them are alive.
Would you like to be honest?
They're going to trap us.
No.
Oh.
They did. Oh my god, they did.
Fucking vampires. We saved so many people.
Was it because there were too many missed?
I don't know.
Probably at that point, huh?
If I hit retry, is it going to send us back to 13?
Yeah, I think 1351 is our checkpoint.
The only checkpoint?
Yeah, because it ends at 2538.
The son of a bee.
Ah, Jesus.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing pushing that on me?
So it's kind of neat. Whatever code you're on, it shows on the controller.
That is you.
That's you.
Oh, that is very cool.
I think Justin doesn't really want to play Minecraft.
We better hurry because we got
I think he said yellow code.
Nah, make it blue.
I want to see red.
Yellow's the code.
I like the color blue.
Dude,
the
red.
All right, 41 hole 2.
Triangle.
Go Justin. Go Justin. Hell yeah. Look at you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, night trap. 1530 hole
You
1.
just night trap those guys.
All one stop
Do
left.
not trap Eddie. Wait for 58 trap. That's the guy that want me to trap? Yeah, leave him. Okay. Isn't he a bad guy?
He will die.
Yeah, him eventually. Don't worry about him right now.
Yeah.
Don't trap. 1558 you'll trap.
Big.
Free kill. Free kill.
I think that's the only confirmed kill. Isn't it interesting they want to use ray guns because they want to make it kid friendly? But I would say a ray gun is more dangerous than a gun.
It evaporates the guy. It evaporates the driveway. That's way worse than shooting me in the
Yeah,
head.
if a kid gets a hold of a ray gun, I'd be so much more scared than if he had a pistol.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Crap.
Come up like Applejacks.
You left me. You no.
Gosh.
What happened? You left me in the bedroom.
Now you're gonna have to watch her
Yeah,
get her
now,
fucking
this
neck
is the second time she's going to get her neck sucked.
I had no idea. I was on the right side.
I'm so upset by this, I can take a shit.
Dude, Eric, I'm gonna get it done while you're in there. Come back.
We see ads every day. Hell, we get groomed by ads in buses, subways, any blank space left in articles. I probably see more ads than I do my parents, and that's concerning. Most ads I see are through YouTube, and goddamn!
We had a good thing, you stupid son of a bitch. We had
Banner ads.
We had a lab. We had everything we needed. It all ran like clockwork.
I mean, those ads, chef's kiss. If I could go back in time, I'd go back to 2019 to experience those ads again, because they used to be something special instead of just porn. No, it is not a me problem, because I have my personalized ads off. For example, the old Grammarly ads. I swear, I can recite the entire thing. Good grammar and spelling is important. Like, I don't know what it is about it. I know nothing about marketing, but that ad just sticks with me. Whenever I used to get
What? Just in case. Yup. Well, fuck. My VPN is ass. It doesn't work anymore. let me.
I downloaded Grammarly because of that, and I used it until it went to shit. Compare that to AI slop Goonerbait that litters my screen. I'm reasonably pissed off. I mean, look at this shit. Okay, I just had a few examples, but because YouTube's AI is fucking retarded, they'll probably just age restrict my videos. And the amount of ads I see is a problem as well. Now, before I rant off, this might seem really parasocial, but I actually don't mind ads on YouTubers I watch because I want them to receive money. Like, I want them to be financially free and not have to worry about money and make content. Is that weird? I don't know. Anyways, holy shit, the pure amount of ads YouTube is pushing is absolutely ridiculous. It used to be one unskippable ad you could skip by exiting and re-entering, and if they had mid-rolls on, a few skippable ones depending on the length of the video, but now it's a combo of unskippable and skippable ads before the video starts with no way to bypass it. The going in and out trick doesn't work. I've tried it numerous times, and then you just keep getting those combos, but even if you skip them in the video itself, a new one appears that I have to dismiss. But not only that, dare pause the video, you get another fucking ad covering more than half the screen. Earlier, I did say I didn't mind that since it pays the creator. I lied. I do mind because there's so much I can deal with with a few skippable ads, but goddamn, the new ones just piss me off. And these ads aren't just in creators' videos, but they're in clips, in music, which, by the way, what the fuck? Why do I need to sit through 20 seconds of ads for a 30-second video? Imagine having to watch a 5-second ad before watching a short. This is exactly that. And on the topic of shorts, if you're listening to YouTube, fix it! Whenever I'm watching one, it just stops halfway through the video, and it's completely uninteractable. So I have to go down to the next one, go up again, go down again, and then go up, only for it to not have a red bar in the bottom, so I have to watch the entire thing again. But what am I gonna do? Say no? So I watch it again since I'm curious about the topic, because conveniently, it cuts off right before it reaches the climax. And I've noticed this for the past few years, and there's no fucking way that this isn't intentional. So YouTube, please, your ads, turn it down a notch, fix your shorts, and get rid of your goddamn AI, because if it restricts one more of my videos, I'm going to blow up my fucking brain.
Yep. No shame in blocking them out. It's a bunch of scam crap. It's just not even gonna click anyway.
Você sabe que a indústria de apostas, as bets, o dinheiro, esses joguinhos todos, realmente colocam na sua mão. Não é diversão, não é dinheiro fácil, é outra coisa. Exatamente algo que está adoecendo o corpo e a mente de muita gente. Talvez você esteja pensando, ainda bem que isso não é comigo. Pode não ser, mas talvez seja sua irmã, seu filho. No começo, parece que a pessoa está no controle. Parece estratégia, parece que vai dar certo. Mas depois, sem perceber, vem com uma onda gigante e engole seus sonhos. Hoje, eu vou te mostrar o que uma aposta faz com o seu corpo, com o seu dinheiro, com sua família e quem lucra com a sua ruína. Até o fim, você vai entender porque a aposta com responsabilidade é uma das mentiras mais cruéis que existem. Mas antes de continuar, já curta o vídeo, se inscreve no canal, ativa o sininho e compartilha se alguém apareceu na sua cabeça agora. Esse vídeo pode mudar a vida dela. E me conta, você já entrou em alguma bet e se arrependeu? Ou ganhou dinheiro? Para o Brasil, todo mundo escreve embaixo. Vamos lá, deixa eu começar uma coisa que muita gente já sentiu. Quando você perde, a pessoa não quer parar, quer recuperar. Perdeu 20, coloca mais 20. Perdeu 100, tenta trazer o dinheiro de volta. Perdeu de novo e pensa, agora eu não posso mais perder. Olha isso aí. Em quase tudo na vida, quando uma coisa machuca, a gente se afasta. Encostou a mão no bolso, tira. Comeu algo que fez mal, evita. Tomou prejuízo do amigo, corta a relação. A aposta acontece o contrário. Quanto mais machuca, mais perto você chega. Porque chega uma hora que a pessoa não está mais apostando pra ganhar. Ela está apostando pra aliviar a dor de ter perdido. E isso muda tudo. E aí que a armadilha começa a aparecer. Nas bets esportivas, a armadilha vem vestida de inteligência. Ainda mais no Brasil, o país do futebol. O cara conhece futebol a fundo. Desde criancinha sabe tudo. Acompanha todos os campeonatos. Sabe quem está machucado, quem está jogando bem, quem joga em casa, quem vende 3 vitórias, quem está pressionado, quem precisa do risco. Então ele não pensa, vou tentar a sorte. Ele pensa, eu não estou apostando. Eu estou usando o que sei. E claro que eu vou ganhar. Parece uma frase inocente. Mas tem uma armadilha inteira escondida nela. Porque quando você acha que está usando conhecimento, você sente que tem controle. E quando você sente que tem controle, o que acontece? Você baixa a guarda. O tigrinho, e nesses joguinhos de tela, a conversa é outra. Ali, ele não vende inteligência. Ele vende proximidade, quase. Agora vai. A máquina está pagando. Mais um. Bateu na trave. Um vende inteligência, o outro vende sorte. Mas os dois compram exatamente a mesma coisa de você. A sua esperança. Porque a coisa mais perigosa não é só a aposta ou perder dinheiro. É a esperança que elas sequestram. As bets não querem que você só perca. Porque se você só perdesse, você pularia fora. Não. Elas querem que você entre no barco. Ganhe. Claro, não demais. Aquele acerto que mudou o seu dia. Que fez você pagar a cerveja pros amigos. Ela quer que você ganhe bastante pra acreditar que a próxima também vem. Um gostinho de vitória, um cheirinho de dinheiro. Uma sensação que agora eu entendi como o jogo funciona. Só o suficiente pra você voltar. Pra você se amarrar no barco. Porque a aposta nunca vendeu dinheiro. Ela vende a promessa da vida que você queria ter. O endividado tem certeza que vai quitar as dívidas do cartão. O pai tem certeza que se acertar o suficiente vai dar uma vida melhor. O jovem enxerga a versão dele rico antes dos 30. O trabalhador cansado se vê escapando daquela vida apertada e degradante. Ele vai sair da favela, vai comprar uma casa própria num bairro legal, trocar de carro. Mas apostas o dinheiro que você imagina ganhar é apenas um meio. O verdadeiro produto é o sonho de fuga. A plataforma de aposta é a embalagem bonita dessa esperança. Ela promete uma saída, mas na prática ela só entrega prejuízo e prende quem já está vulnerável. Agora deixa eu contar uma história. Décadas atrás, muito antes de existir internet, muito antes de existir cassino online, cientistas fizeram uma experiência aparentemente simples. Eles colocaram um rato dentro de uma caixa. Na parede havia uma alavanca. Quando ele apertava, caía comida. No começo era previsível. Apertava, comia. E embora, aquela história. Então, os pesquisadores mudaram apenas uma regra. Agora, quando o ratinho apertava a alavanca, às vezes caía comida. Às vezes não. Nada mais mudou. Só isso. E aconteceu uma coisa impressionante. O rato passou a pecar aquela alavanca muito mais vezes, muito mais. Porque ele nunca sabia quando a próxima recompensa viria. Foi aí que os cientistas descobriram um dos mecanismos mais poderosos do comportamento humano. A recompensa imprevisível. Você não continua tentando porque ganhou. Você continua tentando porque acha que está perto de ganhar. Existe um neurotransmissor no seu cérebro chamado dopamina. Muita gente acha que dopamina só dá prazer, só alegria de ganhar. Não é isso. A dopamina participa muito da expectativa, do tá vindo, do quase, da possibilidade de recompensa. Quando a pessoa nunca sabe quando vem, o comportamento muda. Ela aperta mais, insiste mais, para menos. Não é só comida que prende. Não é só saber quando ela vem. Isso é chamado de reforço intermitente. Percebe que o aplicativo de aposta é uma dessas caixas, só que muito mais sofisticado, claro. Seu dedo na tela que ela alavanca. Aquele saldo que sobe às vezes é a comida. Aquele quase prêmio, aquele jogo que bateu na trave. Você falou que seria 3-2 e foi 3-1. Aquela aposta que perdeu por um cartão no finalzinho. Aquilo não é detalhe, é parte da engrenagem. Quando você perde, sua cabeça não pensa simplesmente, pô, ela pensa, foi quase. E o quase é o combustível. O cérebro não ficou preso só ao dinheiro. Ficou preso a sensação que a próxima vez vai vir. Tenho certeza que virá. E por isso você dobra. Não é burrice. É química lá dentro do seu cérebro trabalhando contra você. Aí acontece uma coisa. Com o tempo, o cérebro vai precisar de apostas mais frequentes, mais altas ou mais arriscadas para sentir a mesma excitação. Isso se parece com um mecanismo conhecido nas dependências de droga. Isso se chama tolerância. A alavanca que parecia diversão vai virando corrente. No fim, é isso que a aposta rouba primeiro. Não é o dinheiro, é a capacidade de decidir quando parar. E eu sei qual é a defesa automática, mas eu controlo. Então responde só pra você. Pega uma caneta e um papel. São 7 perguntinhas simples. 1. Você já mentiu sobre quanto apostou? Pra sua esposa, seu marido, sua família, um amigo, ou até pra você mesmo dizendo que foi menos do que foi. 2. Já usou dinheiro que não podia faltar, dinheiro da luz, do mercado, do aluguel, do remédio, da mensalidade da escola do seu filho. 3. Já prometeu que era a última, mas voltou meio-dia no dia seguinte. 4. Já escondeu o celular quando alguém chegou perto, ou apagou conversa, extrato, aplicativo. 5. Já ficou irritado na defensiva quando alguém tocou no assunto. 6. Já tentou recuperar o que perdeu apostando mais do que tinha planejado. E 7. A última, hein? Já deixou de sentir prazer em coisas que antes te faziam bem. Um filme, uma conversa, um domingo com quem você ama. Porque a cabeça estava em outro lugar. Agora olha para suas respostas. Se você respondeu sim pra 0, ótimo, ufa. 1 ou 2, fica de olho. Porque eu vou te mostrar que coisa pouca hoje pode virar um pesadelo amanhã. Se respondeu sim pra 3 ou 4, isso já não é mais diversão. É sinal de alerta, conversa com alguém. Quebra o silêncio. Se respondeu sim pra 5 ou mais, então eu não estou te dando diagnóstico, mas eu estou te pedindo, procure ajuda. Isso pode ser transtorno do jogo. Uma doença que tem tratamento. Porque quando a esperança vira doença, quem paga a conta é o corpo inteiro. Em prestações. primeiras nem chegam no banco, sai de dentro de você. Primeira parcela é o sono, 3 da manhã, todo mundo dormindo, e você ali com a tela iluminada, conferindo o resultado, olhando o saldo, esperando virar, esperando cair, esperando recuperar. O cérebro a mil, na hora que deveria desligar. Dormir mal assim por semanas, por meses, está associado a mais risco de pressão alta, diabetes, ganho de peso, pior humor, pior controle de impulso. Isso mesmo. Quanto pior você dorme, mais impulsivo você fica no dia seguinte e mais vulnerável você fica pra postar de novo. Uma medida simples hoje, celular fora do quarto, carregue ele lá na sala. Segunda parcela, o estômago, que embrulho quando você abre o aplicativo, quando o jogo aperta, quando falta pouco pro resultado sair, quando você aposta nesse estado de tensão, o corpo pode entrar em modo de estresse, adrenalina, suor, coração acelerado, respiração curta, e para algumas pessoas a alteração do cortisol. A digestão muda, o estômago pesa, a acidez pode piorar, o intestino pode travar ou soltar. É o corpo tentando lidar com uma ameaça que não existe no mundo real, mas que para o seu sistema nervoso parece real. Você está sentado no sofá, mas o corpo está em guerra. Terceira parcela, o coração. Quando você corre, o coração acelera, mas faz sentido. O músculo está trabalhando, o corpo está se mexendo, o sangue tem para onde ir. Agora, olha a aposta. Você está sentado no sofá parado, mas o coração dispara 90, 100, 110 batimentos por minuto, às vezes mais. A mão sua, o peito aperta, a respiração muda, e você continua imóvel, parado, olhando para a tela. É como pisar no acelerador, o freio de mão puxar, o motor grita, o carro não anda. Não é que uma aposta isolada causa um infarto, isso não funciona assim. O problema é viver nesse ciclo todos os dias, adrenalina, noite mal dormida, dívida, culpa, vergonha, tentativa de recuperar. A pessoa sobe, pode desencadear arritmia, mede sua pressão. Se você não tinha hipertensão e desde que você entrou nas bets, sua pressão nunca mais normalizou. Ligue os pontos, não esconda, não minimize. E agora vai aparecer a mais cara de todas, a que não aparece em exame de sangue nenhum. A mente. Quanto você perdeu no último mês? Eu não estou falando de dinheiro, estou falando das brigas em casa, das mentiras que você teve que contar, da vergonha de olhar para alguém que confia em você, da sensação de que tudo está desmoronando. Porque os sonhos te venderam, você sente dívida com dinheiro, com família em paz, com filho orgulhoso. Quanto mais você persegue e não alcança, mais a cabeça afunda. O transtorno do jogo é reconhecido pela medicina, é uma dependência comportamental. Ela vai perdendo o controle, aumentando o risco, sofrendo, destruindo relações e muitas vezes continuando mesmo depois de perceber o tamanho do estrago. O sistema de recompensa que antes disparava, quase ganhei, vai ficando gasto. Que sobra ansiedade, é culpa, é vazio, é desespero. Por isso o vício em jogo está fortemente associado a mais ansiedade, mais depressão e mais risco de suicídio. Aqui eu preciso falar com muito cuidado. Um grande estudo populacional publicado na Lancet descobriu que pessoas com transtorno do jogo tinham um risco de suicídio cerca de 5 vezes maior que a população geral. 5 vezes. E naquele estudo, entre as pessoas com transtorno do jogo que morreram, o suicídio foi a principal causa de morte. Se você chegou nesse ponto que tá tudo desmoronando, porque você acreditou que essa é a bets dos brasileiros e perdeu tudo, ou conhece alguém que chegou lá, escuta com carinho. Isso não é frescura, não é fraqueza, não é falta de vergonha na cara, tem saída. Liga 188, é o número do CVV. É de graça, funciona 24 horas e é sigiloso. E se o risco for imediato, chama alguém agora, sai de perto, qualquer coisa possa te ferir, ou vai para uma emergência. Você não precisa vencer essa noite sozinho. Agora, olha esses números. Segundo o Banco Central, empresas de apostas receberam via Pix dezenas de bilhões de reais por mês em 2024. Em agosto daquele ano, foram mais de 20 bilhões de reais. 20 bilhões em um mês. E sabe onde a promessa das bets entra com mais força? Ela entra em quem já está vulnerável, em quem está endividado, em quem mal fecha o mês, em quem vê numa aposta a chance de respirar. O levantamento do TCU de janeiro de 2025 mostrou que as pessoas do Bolsa Família transferiram bilhões de reais para casa de apostas. Onde chegou com força justamente onde a margem de perder é menor. O sonho mais caro está sendo vendido para quem tem menos gordura para queimar. Isso não fica só na conta da pessoa. Quando a cabeça adoece, quem que trata? Quando a pressão sobe, quem trata? O SUS. A sociedade inteira. A conta da doença sobra para todo mundo. O dinheiro só para eles. A minha pergunta é a seguinte: quem foi que liberou isso no Brasil? Como deixar a semente tão cruel crescer por aqui? Aposte com responsabilidade. É a mesma coisa que fume com prudência. Ah, fume com cautela. É brincadeira. Eles reduzem o atrito. Mandam bônus, mandam notificação, colocam promoção, giro, ódio, colocam urgência, colocam quase, colocam alavanca na sua mão e aposte com responsabilidade na telinha. Não é conselho, é álibi. Você, a vítima, com essa simples frase, se tornou culpado. Você que sabia tudo de futebol, tinha certeza que a Alemanha ia ganhar fácil o Equador e perdeu por 2-1. Aquele dinheiro era o mercado no mês, era a faculdade do filho, era a base de uma família inteira. Um aperto, às vezes saída. E ela não começa com um discurso bonito, começa com um atrito. Quanto mais difícil você deixa o acesso, mais tempo o cérebro ganha pra razão voltar. Primeiro, autoexclusão. Existe uma plataforma de autoexclusão do governo em que você pode bloquear o seu acesso às casas de apostas autorizadas de uma vez só. É pelo CPF. O link oficial eu vou deixar fixado no primeiro comentário. Entra, faz olho. Você está se blindando. Segundo, desativa os aplicativos todos. Tira a alavanca da sua mão. Terceiro, bloqueia os sites. Quarto, corta o caminho do dinheiro. Tira o cartão do aplicativo. Diminui o limite do cartão. O piloto que vê na sua frente, no seu radar, que tem nuvens perigosas, não precisa fingir que tá tudo bem. Ele precisa corrigir a rota para chegar no lugar que tinha planejado. Pode demorar um pouco mais, mas ele vai chegar. Uma aposta é igual. Se você saiu do trajeto, não transforma a vergonha em queda livre. Corrija a sua rota. Quinto, quebra o segredo. Conta para uma pessoa hoje. Quando você fala em voz alta, a armadilha perde a força. Sexto, procura ajuda profissional. Existe CAPS no SUS, existe psicólogo, psiquiatra, existem grupos como jogadores anônimos que são parecidos ao AA. E existe o 188, como falei. Use as armas certas a seu favor. E lembra aquela versão de você que eles tentaram te vender? Ela existe. Só que ela nunca esteve dentro de um aplicativo. Ela está do lado de fora, no trabalho, no recomeço. Olhar pro seu olho, no espelho e dizer: eu dei o meu melhor hoje, amanhã eu vou fazer o mesmo. Você reconheceu alguém nesse vídeo? Não precisa dizer quem é. Escreva só: reconheci. Eu tenho um amigo que perdeu a esposa, um cara do bem. E o pessoal da minha equipe diz que 70% das pessoas que assistem ao nosso canal não está inscrito. Então se inscreva agora, curta o vídeo. Quanto mais pessoas curtem, para mais pessoas vai chegar esse vídeo. Esse vídeo é um alerta. E lembra do ratinho na caixa? A diferença entre você e ele é uma só. Você acabou de ver a caixa por dentro, acabou de ver a armadilha que te colocaram. O rato nunca soube que estava preso. Você sabe. E você tem o poder da escolha. Como o Viktor Frankl, psiquiatra, que sobreviveu aos campos de concentração nazistas, escreveu seu livro Em Busca do Sentido. Podem roubar tudo de um homem, exceto uma coisa: a última das liberdades humanas, a escolha da atitude pessoal. Ele mostrou que mesmo quando tudo parece perdido, ainda podemos decidir quem somos. E claro, se uma pessoa vem na sua cabeça enquanto eu falar, manda esse vídeo pra ela agora. E tem mais, uma última coisa que pode salvar a sua vida, porque tudo que a gente falou também desemboca no coração. Tem gente que infarta e acha que foi gás, cansaço, má digestão. Nesse vídeo aqui eu mostro os sinais de um infarto silencioso que ele existe e mata sem bater na porta. Clica agora, eu te lá. Meu nome é Devan, cardiologista. Esse é o cardiodf.com.br. Lembre-se de se inscrever. Até o próximo vídeo. Muito obrigado.
Oh my god. Oh, touch my gun!
Yes. call. I'm gonna. Yeah, okay. Okay.
What's happening right now in the gaming space is just not normal. And I think most people understand that, but I also realize we're now in year 6 of this generation. So all the people who come in this generation specifically buying maybe their system for the first time on their own, all they know is that the systems keep getting more expensive. And it's kind of a shame because even going back to the PS4 or the Xbox One generation, we were seeing price decreases, but certainly in the previous generation, we saw a ton of them. So what I'm going to do today is something I've done before where I'm able to go through and find, and trust me, it's pretty difficult to find some of these, but find different circulars, moments, or snapshots in time of how things used to be. And it's fun, it's nostalgic, somewhat depressing as well, just with the current climate in gaming. But I thought we'd have some fun here over the weekend and take a look at a time forever ago, which was actually like 2012. I guess that's technically almost 14 years ago. It's crazy to think that, but that's what we'll do here today. So if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I do want to take a quick moment though. All right, so check this out. GameStop Holiday 2012. All right, this would have been Black Friday, so right at the end of November. And I thought a bit about, okay, what was the year before the Xbox One or the PS4 showed up, right? Because, I mean, people are speculating that Holiday 2027, we could be talking about new systems with the PS6 and whatever comes out of this Project Helix thing. Sounds disastrous right now with the market of maybe $1,000 plus consoles hitting the store shelves, but we'll see. Here, though, you can kind of line it up then, right? In that case, 2012, just before the PS4 and the Xbox One were at least starting to be talked about. The PS4 initially had its first real kind of reveal February, I believe, 2013, so this would have been like 3 or 4 months before that. But like right away, I mean, you have an Xbox 360 Slim, 250 gigabytes with 3 games. That's Forza Motorsport 4, Black Ops 2, and then a download code of Skyrim. By the way, at this time, downloading a full game was still relatively new. I think it had been maybe 2 years of that when the download code was dropped in, so even that was kind of weird, but also seemed kind of premium a bit. It's like, oh wow, yeah, 250 gigabyte hard drive. I could download all of Skyrim. It's crazy. Again, it was different times. But then the PS3 on the other side, a 250 gigabyte Blu-ray equipped PlayStation 3, $200 with 5 games. Okay, well, one of the games was the Uncharted like double pack that they had there with 1 and 2, and then there was the Infamous collection, and then they had like PlayStation Plus thrown in there. That was also like, somewhat new then, right? But I mean, you can see compared to where things started with even the 360, while that was a $400 system when it released in 2005, it was nowhere near on the quality level of the Slim that also had Wi-Fi built in and HDMI port. $250 though, significantly larger, like 10 times the size in terms of hard drive capacity, launch versus here. And then the PS3, I mean, $200 obviously versus $600. Yes, the PS3 also more reliable than the Slim. So let me move up here and we have some games that for example, we have some guys here, and then I'm going to Pokemon Black and White 2, and we $30 each. Man, what the world that we go back in time and just stop. I'm sure now we're just an entire shopping cart with these different games because like the Game Boy Advance was still kind of floating around for GameStop at that time. So I think I'm sure people are crazy there. But the 3DS wasn't exactly old as Wayne, it was probably 2012. They still had a couple games coming with $170. You can pick Nintendo. Or you can get 3DS for $170 brand new. The 3DS scene is something else right now. And then finally the Wii U, it's kind of like a couple things in. $300 for the 3 GB model, $400 for the 8 GB model. This has been right when the Wii U came out. This is the Black Friday sale. There were no Black Friday sales all over the Wii U. Even the Wii U as it went along, eventually all three parts. At least at launch, you had Nintendo fans there who were interested in the system and not more to sell through. Microsoft was kind of pushing the mostly different bundles, like the Star Wars bundle. The system was cool. It was the RGB 1, 8, RGB noise, everything. Fortunately, the game, $350 though, was $350 instead of $380. I think most of it were some more like party games like Sports Song, Adventure, Dance Central. Those were I think big time games for next. Those were the ones I used to remember. And I guess it was also Eternal Light was in where they kind of like all over the room. For some reason that was something. Oh, that's how Kinect tracks you. That's how a lot of learned that was the case. So I'm going to go to the 360 here, 40 GB model, $200, and like you still play a lot of games off of this. Like we were installing a lot of games to our hard drives back then. It's like all of that in 8 years prior. And that's I remember doing that for as many games as I could. I did have 200 GB Slim, so that's most of my games. And then Halo War, and compared to what now, Halo War, compared to what we're coming off of, it wasn't a great time still. I mean, visually speaking, it looked good. I was doing that. Like Black Flag, that's PS3 page here. The PS3 Super Slim system, sliding top. It's a 270, 250 GB hard drive. Uncharted Game of the Year bundles. They have Uncharted 3, DualShock 3 wireless controller, the AC power, AV cable. People tend to forget. Even in 2012, you got AV cable with PlayStation 3 also. You get us. So you know, there's that maximum in like $20. That's the game that I do wish had. I feel like a remaster. I don't know PC better, but I think if it's compatible with the Xbox Series, but I don't think there's no boost like no. So I think it'd be really cool if we did get some kind of remaster or just new release from Maximum. We'll get the page and it's Assassin's Creed Revelation, which is fine, but we'll like be there $200 for a game. Right now, it's obviously I'll buy that brand new at $200. Back then, it still just didn't really move the needle in the market. It's such a shame that because this is the last generation that's going to handle. And I like that those rumors came out. We'll get a handheld from Sony. Sure, next year. But I think that at least makes sense for people who want a portable handheld. Yeah, right, expensive, but at least it feels in. I think that niche in the market that could only help Sony because they have a home console. It would be nice to have a handheld that's not relying on like home or you know, or have there. But yeah, no, probably. It's all at $200. Not too bad. Look, they have the gold DualShock 3 PlayStation 3 controller there. $40. This is one day to get some premium stuff you can buy. So you can Xbox 360 for as low as $120. A Wii at $80. PlayStation 3 at $200. Sure, the PS3 was always valuable more because of the Blu-ray around the time. But they got how we have PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series systems that are used. They follow the pricing right now with the new one. So they really haven't gotten that much cheaper on one. Certainly not certainly not GameStop. And I also think GameStop right now, I think their used Wii is more expensive than this one. In fact, it was I would say first, it was at least somewhat viable in like the current marketplace at this point in 2012. When they got $40, then you can much cheaper than that. And DSi XL, $80 each. I was never a huge fan of the DSi XL mostly because the screen, which is like the resolution of the DSi was just stretched. I know people who maybe have a hard time with smaller screen on the DSi back then. People like the DSi, but I actually see pixels I feel like with the DSi. So I really look back on this time period a lot of fun. But also I think that is just how it became more virtual as the generation went on. Because now I'm a little concerned that the market becomes kind of used to the idea of game systems getting more expensive as you go. One, of course, a massive rush was the first one. But two, there are people all just getting in the industry. Most are staying away from. Basically, it's supposed to be really exciting as these time games come out, as technology systems are refined more to get a system out that's half the price of what was at launch. At this time, I would take any kind of cheap system versus what we had in 2020 for the PS5 or the Xbox Series. That's why I'm going to be reality time. And I'm going to impact for $1,000 system next year. Price like this, remind you, that's not necessarily how. Let's go back to the old days of 2012. We had some pretty good deals going throughout the year, especially Black Friday and this year. The deal is going to be finding a system, I think, MSRP. So yeah, crazy 5 MSI. When you guys got this one download in the computer, the Xbox 360 and the generation, and we're just taking advantage of these deals as those systems came down from their original starting price in 2005 and 2006. And don't forget to check out 100.
Games novos e nostálgicos são na loja Nova Era, link na descrição.
Beleza, eu sou o Velberan e os amantes de mídia física estão tomando o tiro de misericórdia da indústria. Pois é, a gente teve uma notícia triste recentemente que o jogo mais aguardado da década, GTA 6, vai ser lançado sem mídia física. Vai ser lançado numa caixinha vazia com um código dentro, simples assim. A razão disso é uma desculpa estapafúrdia. Eu vou explicar nesse vídeo pra vocês por que é estapafúrdia. Finalmente estão dizendo que não vai ser bem assim. Depois vai ter sim mídia física do GTA 6. Também vou explicar isso pra vocês. Mas a questão nem é isso daí. E sim, que se o maior jogo da década, com o maior orçamento, a maior procura e maior quantidade de fãs iria querer ter a mídia física dele pra guardar, está lançando o jogo com uma caixinha vazia, com um código dentro, o que dirá dos outros jogos? A indústria tá tentando matar a mídia física pelo menos desde 2009, 17 anos atrás, quando lançou o PSP Go, o primeiro videogame sem entrada para mídia física depois do Zibo. Apesar do PSP normal ser um sucesso absoluto,
luto. Eu vejo o PSP Go como um grande experimento da Sony para diversas coisas, inclusive para essa história de lançar um console todo digital. Na época teve protesto dos lojistas falando por que eu vou vender esse videogame aí se depois quem comprar ele não vai vir pra minha loja pra comprar os jogos, já que não tem leitor de mídia física. A Sony teve que negociar questões de gift cards, essas coisas com os lojistas lá dos Estados Unidos, né, pra eles aceitarem vender o PSP Go. E ele foi lançado numa época em que a venda da mídia digital estava avançando consideravelmente. Nessa época, PlayStation 3 e Xbox 360 eram os videogames não mais populares, mas os videogames grandes, né, que tinha na época lá, eles já estavam vendendo todos os jogos que saíam em mídia física, também tinha em mídia digital. E olha só como as coisas são. Por isso eu falo, gente, a gente tem que conhecer a história das coisas. Só assim a gente vai entender o que tá acontecendo no presente e ter uma ideia do que virá no futuro. Os jogadores naquela época reclamavam muito de que os jogos que eram vendidos em mídia digital tinham o mesmo preço da mídia física. Por que isso? Já que a mídia física tem muito mais gasto, né, no produto do que a mídia digital. Tem que confeccionar o produto todo, caixinha, manual, o disco, lá, fazer toda a logística. Os caminhões levam pra loja, o lucro das lojas também. As peças acabam depreciando, quebrando, estragando, não dá pra vender. Sempre acontece isso aí com coisas físicas, né, que são vendidas dessa forma. E vendendo no digital não tem nenhum caso desses, porque era o mesmo preço. Aí os caras vieram falar que tinha o mesmo preço pra não gerar concorrência desleal com as lojas. E hoje a gente tem alguns jogos sendo vendidos mais caros na mídia física. Alguns jogos do Switch 2, né, como o Fire Emblem, Fortune's Within, vai sair digital $70 e físico $80, $10 mais caro. Mas isso aqui não é para todos os jogos do Switch 2 não, tá? São alguns. Fire Emblem é um deles, né? Mas mesmo assim a gente fica, os caras não faziam a mídia física e a mídia digital no mesmo preço pra ficar paralelo lá com os lojistas, e agora os lojistas ficam mais caros que a mídia física. Não é que a mídia física é mais barata, no lojista ficou mais caro, entendeu? E a gente ainda tem que aguentar as desculpas do pessoal falando, não, mas a gente tem que confeccionar o cartão, mandar nas lojas, daí tem o lucro das lojas e tudo mais. Mas a triste realidade é que quando a mídia física perdeu, é isso aí, já é considerado um consumidor de nicho. Isso a gente pode ver nos últimos levantamentos que foram liderados pra gente, né? A Sony reportou que no último resultado financeiro deles, né, que 85% dos jogos de PlayStation foram vendidos digitalmente. Um aspas aqui nessa parte, que a loja digital, né, a PSN, tem muitos jogos indie, e muitos jogos indies não tem mídia física. Pelo simples fato de indie, muitos deles não tem grana pra fazer mídia física, né? Então só lança digital mesmo. Quando consegue, né, ou se é um pouquinho mais de sucesso e tal, eles pegam uma limited run ou uma outra empresa, né, que faz coisa bem, uma tiragem bem baixa pra lançar, tipo esse aqui, né? O Softstar, um jogo de navinha brasileiro, né, que recebeu mídia física, os desenvolvedores me deram um evento muito legal, deu digital, daí o disco eu guardei lá nada, tá? Mas enfim, a maioria desses indies aí é tudo digital mesmo, e acaba dando uma engrossada nesse caldo aí, nesses 85% de mídias digitais são vendidos do PlayStation, certo? Só que aí vem o da Capcom, que não é bem assim, todos os jogos deles, eu só não sei se é o Nitsugami, que é o jogo estratégico, que eles lançaram, teve mídia física também, que era um jogo um pouco menor, né? Mas enfim, aqui no reporte do Resident Evil Requiem, do início das vendas dele, pelo menos, 93% dos jogadores compraram na mídia digital. Mas aí também vem uma questão, isso é do mês de lançamento do jogo, né? O reporte saiu um pouco depois, e mostra também uma tendência, que o pessoal que comprar no lançamento, eles querem jogar na hora de lança, tipo, liberou o jogo, já tá abrindo lá pra jogar, né? Hoje tem muito essa necessidade, a mídia digital permite para os jogadores, mídia física não, você tem que ir na loja, você tem que comprar pra casa com o jogo, colocar, instalar e então começar a jogar. Isso sim você tem disponibilidade, né? Numa loja que a gente no Brasil, por exemplo, às vezes a mídia física demora um pouco a chegar, né? Nas lojas a gente recebe ainda, tem que comprar pelo correio. Então esse pessoal do lançamento é mais movido pela pressa, pela ansiedade, pelo cômodo que por preferência ao digital. Pelo menos eu vejo assim, tá? Se você tem uma visão diferente, se você faz diferentemente aí pra gente, eu quero saber. E daí quem compra o jogo depois do lançamento, aí ele já vai mais calmo, mais tranquilo e pode pegar, né, uma mídia física, uma promoção, sempre promoção de mídia física bem mais barata e digital, e aí dá uma alterada nessa porcentagem, né? Colocando mais vendas pra mídia física. E aí o interessante aqui é a dona Nintendo, que reportou que apenas 50,4% das suas vendas são digitais. Detalhe, né? Aquele negócio indie que eu falei, a Nintendo vende muito indie mesmo. Eu falei recentemente em um vídeo aqui, para chegar um jogo que é minha publisher, muitos games, lançou recentemente para Xbox, PlayStation, Switch vendeu mais assim de lavada em comparação aos outros consoles. Tudo digital, só pra gente ter uma mostragem. Eu também sei quando eu comprar um jogo Switch, eu dou preferência pra mídia física, né? Um deles, Diablo 3, eu fiz questão de comprar em mídia física porque eu acho que é o único jogo de Diablo que foi completo numa mídia assim, né? Física mesmo, que assim não dá pra jogar separado, se tivesse conectado, mas o render era no aqui. Então peguei aqui só pra, não foi só pra guardar, não jogar também, tá? Mas o Switch gera alguma coisa nos jogadores, ou então é por causa da filosofia da Nintendo, ou então é por causa do formato, né? Da mídia, que é bonitinho, cartãozinho e pá, né? Que atrai mais os colecionadores e as pessoas vão comprar a mídia física mesmo. E aparece pouco as vendas de mídia física agora, 20, 7% dentro dos casos aí. Mas saiu um artigo do Magic Piscatella, que aí o meu colega de Paulo de Sosso, você gosta dele, representa, né? Representatividade importa. Ele falou aqui que, apesar desses números, o mercado de mídia física ainda representa 1,5 bilhões de dólares, pelo menos aí, o que arrecadou, né? A estimativa em 2025. E não é mais uma coisa só de tiozão, né? Que pessoal que ainda não se conforma com a mídia digital, quer ter as físicas, pegando poeira, coisa toda. Não, tem muitas pessoas aí da geração Z que estão abraçando o físico analógico também, né? Pegando vinil, ou que recentemente estão pegando cassete pra ouvir música, pegando livro digital mesmo, filme DVD, essas coisas todas, né? E jogo também em mídia física. O público tá dando uma renovada, mas ainda não é o suficiente. E o que a gente tá vendo no mercado é que eles estão pressionando cada vez mais para a mídia física acabar de vez, ou então ser o que eu acredito que vai ser, né? Um mercado assim super de nicho, que a venda principal vai ser no digital mesmo, e as vendas físicas, se eles fizerem, isso é uma coisa assim posterior, só que vai querer colecionar mesmo. E é mais ou menos o que vamos fazer com o GTA, tá? O GTA 6, pelo que a gente tá vendo aí, aqui nas informações do site da Rockstar, a gente tá vendo que o GTA 6 ia sair sem o disco, só com a machinha, certo? Só não falou a razão, tá? E eu vi muita gente comentando, especulando que a razão era pra não ter spoilers do jogo no lançamento. Antes do lançamento, uma coisa que acontece, né? Lançam a mídia física, daí algumas lojas acabam entregando antes, ou um funcionário da loja pega um disco lá, né, que chegou antes pra entregar e já começa a jogar e dá spoilers, mas normalmente joga spoiler do jogo na internet, antes do lançamento, não é esse só que pega o disco antes, não vai jornalistas. Jornalistas e youtubers, não são todos os jogos que youtubers recebem antes também, mas material, às vezes recebem jornalistas, mas enfim, eles só recebem antes, fazer matérias dos jogos, reviews, dar notas, mas a gente precisa, a gente gosta de ver antes do lançamento, ou na hora do lançamento, pra ver se você vai comprar o jogo ou não, né? O pessoal adora ver Metacritic, a nota, que deu nota alta, que deu nota baixa, essas coisas é por causa disso. Eles recebem antes pra jogar, que a maioria faz tudo sério, né? Direitinho, mas se não tivesse a confiança dos estúdios, eles não mandavam chave antes, mas entre esses, sempre tem. Pega o jogo, joga e vai comprar na internet e soltando spoilers. Você pode ver quem solta spoiler aí de jogo na internet, é sempre conta anônimo, essas coisas aí. E é sempre, tem data antes de começar a sair lá as imagens do pessoal que pegou o disco antes. Ou seja, não vai adiantar nada eles fazerem a mídia física sem o disco, se eles mandarem chave antecipada para os jornalistas. Vai ter spoiler da coisa do mesmo jeito, mas eles não precisavam ter feito isso, não precisavam ter tirado o disco da caixinha e colocado o código. Isso aí é uma desculpa absurda, é ridículo. Se quer pensar numa coisa dessa, a Rockstar não falou que era por causa disso, a especulação da internet, mas só pensar nisso aí é um troço que, assim, fala sério, tá? Não tem sentido nenhum. Por quê? Porque tem tecnologia, tem método pra coibir quem recebe o disco antes de jogar ele antes da data. E quem fez isso foi o Crimson Desert, que saiu agora em 2026 ainda, né? E ele precisava de um patch de dia 1 pra iniciar o disco. Sem esse patch você não conseguia jogar ele. Ou seja, teve gente que pegou o disco antes, foi todo eles iam lá jogar e pá, deu cara pra janela e não tinha como. Ia precisar esperar o dia do lançamento pra baixar o patch e conseguir jogar. Na verdade, isso é bem ruim, tá? É bem ruim. O Crimson Desert foi criticado por causa disso, já que não tem a questão da preservação do jogo, né? Ou seja, se cair a internet do mundo inteiro, a pessoa tem um disco, se não tiver instalado lá, ele não vai conseguir instalar o jogo e jogar porque não vai baixar esse patch do dia 1, certo? A ideia da preservação do jogo é você coloca o disco no videogame, desligado da internet e consegue jogar. Qualquer coisa que te impede de jogar, desligado da internet, já não conta pra preservação. Então o Crimson Desert não conta pra preservação. Ainda assim, é muito melhor esse lance do patch de dia 1 do que não ter disco nenhum na caixinha. Vocês não concordam comigo? Mas aparentemente a caixinha vai vir sem disco apenas no lançamento. Olha, o site PBE polonês fez aqui um artigo falando dessa questão da, né, não vai ter disco na caixinha. Inclusive a especulação que isso aí é por causa de vazamentos antes do lançamento. Só que isso é uma atualização que o usuário, né, pra lá as fontes direitinho, né? Isso aqui foi um usuário pedir
disse que mandou um e-mail pra Rockstar e a Rockstar respondeu assim: por favor, note que essa versão somente digital é para a versão pré-order. Você estava um pouco confuso com alguma vírgula, tá? Então, um pouco confuso de informação, mas eu entendi isso aqui. Você vai poder adquirir uma cópia física durante os próximos meses. Ou seja, no lançamento é só o códigozinho só digital, mas meses seguintes, um pouco depois do lançamento, eles vão vender a versão com disco. Então o negócio é assim: galera vai comprar no lançamento o digital, o desespero pra jogar logo, e depois, se quiser mídia física, vai comprar de novo, mídia física. Isso se eles não meterem louquinho e cobrar mais caro na versão física do que na versão digital. Pra mim, isso tudo mostra o quê? Vender mídia física nos dias de hoje virou cachorro sem dono. Pode até vir aí uma comidinha, mas vai ser aquele osso ruído ou alguma sobra, porque ninguém dá muito bola pra cachorro abandonado. Ainda o mercado lucrativo, a gente viu aí 1,5 bilhões de dólares anual. Olha, tem bi. Galera não ignora. A indústria aí faz tudo mesmo. Mas não é mais prioridade deles. Simplesmente não é mais prioridade. É o que sobra. Quem procura esses produtos que se vire pra achar. Vai pegar mais caro, vai pegar atrasado, né? Lançamento atrasado. Acho que o recorde de todos vai ser o do GTA 6 que eles estão falando. Produtos sem muitos atrativos, né? Antes a gente comprava uma mídia física, né? Vinha aqui, uma caixinha toda bonitinha, vinha manual, que além de ensinar a jogar o jogo, a gente tinha várias instruções, várias artes, bem legal. Aí eles tiraram isso aqui falando que era porque já tinha, né? As instruções no tutorial do jogo não precisava do manual, né? Imagina, se não era eles economizarem imprimindo o manual. Agora a gente compra um jogo bem assim, ó. Só foram tirando, não sei nem como vai ser na próxima geração, porque já tá normalizado o console sem entrada de disco, sem entrada de mídia física, né? Os modelos aí de PlayStation 5 que não tem entrada de mídia física, tem muito mais do que a entrada até o PlayStation 5 Pro, velho.
No point.
Luxo, não tem entrada de mídia física.
Consoles.
Lá o Xbox tem um valor aí pra mídia física,
Besides exclusive bullshit.
mídia física do Xbox, né? O Switch tá também, né?
But as well
A gente
just
viu lá, né? 50% dos
don't
jogos
be serious,
a venda ainda é física, né? Aí eles se interessam
The
mais.
only-
É isso aí, gente.
one
Cada vez
reason
cada vez melhor, cada vez
to play on
tudo
console
gente, um
is
serviço
to
melhor,
get
vai
physical
perdemos.
copies.
Deixa eu pegar pra o que vocês acham sobre isso, se tá ruim, se pra vocês é só digital mesmo, né?
Because you're so illiterate to use a computer. Other than that,
community issues. And I'll get comments if I can't we just play the game instead of worrying about that topic. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is frustrating. It's one that misunderstands all the work I've done on this channel already. What's frustrating part is that anyone who thinks this way probably isn't going to stick around long enough to video, like explain it's wrong. But I'm gonna do my best to keep it short.
reasons to buy a console. One, you're computer illiterate. You cannot use a fucking computer with Windows. Second reason, Windows or maybe Linux if you try hard enough are to just convenience sake, I guess. God damn it. Yeah, and then exclusive crap. No, my exclusive games. I mean, fair enough, but still, if you had the choice.
Sometimes I'll cover a topic related to community issues, and I'll get comments to the effect of, can't we just play the game instead of worrying about that topic? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is frustrating. It's one that misunderstands all the work I've done on this channel already. The most frustrating part is that anyone who thinks this way probably isn't going to stick around long enough to video to let me explain it's wrong, but I'm going to do my best to keep it short and put it out there anyway, just in case someone gives it a chance. The underlying assumption of, can't we just play the game, is that what I'm talking about is unrelated to the game, and that has never been true. This YouTube channel is and has always been about the game of Splatoon. Every topic I've ever covered in a short or a main channel video came up specifically because of the game. Maybe it wasn't the mechanics of how rushes work or the overtime rules or Rainmaker, but if not, then it might have been someone's in-game mindset or some external force that's impacting the way we play the game of Splatoon. Yes, it's, quote, also dating advice, unquote. But the reason I talk about dating advice in the first place was that on a coordinated team, you're not going to play your best with teammates you aren't compatible with or that you don't have a good rapport with. If you build good, emotionally stable relationships with other people, it makes you better at the game of Splatoon. So since this channel's about getting better at Splatoon, I talk about squid bagging, because while yes, it does actually tactically make you worse at the game, you're wasting time to do something to get a better position on the map, game for special or something, but it also makes us worse at the video game for having a corrosive effect on the community. People don't want to play with people who squid bag them in an unsportsmanlike way. So what we do is we silently and invisibly lose people who would otherwise enjoy playing with us. If we hook them now, even if it takes
closest
time
can
to
have
them, even if we
sex
have to
to
coddle them, they can go
someone
on to
in the
commit more and invest more and develop a thicker skin. A squid
It's
bagger
just
would
in
tell
the
them it's their
lobby.
fault for not having. If they leave because they saw that this is how competitive players treat each other, that won't happen. I value gender diversity in our community because gender diversity makes us better at the game of Splatoon. The best backliner in North America right now is a woman. That's not something you can say about a lot of spaces because women are often harassed or creeped out of spaces they'd otherwise be happy to occupy. That's why I talk with Rose about the experience of growing up as a girl playing video games, because it makes us better at the video game when more women and girls feel comfortable continuing to play the game with us. They go on to become our teammates, our rivals, our coaches, top players to VOD review for their unusually sophisticated sniper positioning. All of that makes us better at the game of Splatoon. I talk about trans rights because we are better at the game of Splatoon for having trans people in our community. There are top players who are trans. Trans people have been my teammates. A trans person taught me how to paint better with a bunch of different weapons. A trans person made a trailer that inspired my editing. There are trans people in all levels of tournament organization and production, without which we would have less and poorer practice at the game of Splatoon. Having an inclusive community doesn't matter because your second grade teacher told you it does. It matters because the more people you have, the more talent you have access to, and the more cool things get done. Splatoon being more inclusive makes us better at the game of Splatoon. There are some people that just don't want to be confronted with others. They think that being in community with those around them means ignoring points of conflict and maintaining the status quo so a conversation never gets heated. Now yes, there are more tactful ways to approach controversies in conversation, but avoiding them entirely is putting your head in the sand. It is a fundamentally childish way to see the world. In the adult world, you are not insulated as much as children are from people who want to hurt you, systems that don't work as intended, and the spread of harmful ideas. You have a lot of power. The power to vote, the power to spread information, or otherwise. That's exciting to kids to have that power. But the reason kids don't get it is that even if you yourself aren't the one out in the streets attacking people or in offices of power cutting off people's access to things they need, you can absolutely hurt people if the things you think about, the controversial topics you'd rather avoid, are poorly thought out. Most people don't want to have conversations about them, but they do anyway because they're important. A person with a mature adult mindset realizes that there are some controversies that have major impacts on the lives of people around them, and so it is grossly irresponsible not to take them seriously and think them through. They recognize that the harm they can do by being poorly informed is much worse than the discomfort they experience by having their ideas challenged. Yes, even in the competitive Splatoon community. No matter how cartoony and ridiculous the game is that we're organized around, we are still a real-life community of people. We are charged with protecting each other at events and online, with keeping our culture positive and our people happy, just the way any other organization of people is. Because among other things, doing that makes us better at the game of Splatoon. I'm not trying to make videos about politics. I don't cover elections. I'm not a pundit. I'm not going to try and convince you of what the Federal Reserve should do about interest rates, or argue about a two-state solution in Palestine, or talk on and on about the algae content of the reflecting wool in DC. But everything we want to do that matters or means something is going to be influenced by politics. Splatoon is no exception. So where it becomes relevant, I'm going to discuss which decisions are conducive to people becoming better at the game of Splatoon, whether those are deemed controversial or not.
There's a way to add customizable widgets to your Discord profile where you can put in absolute nonsense like this. I know, I'm not funny. Here's a collection of other things I've seen while editing this video. Wow, you want this. So while I was figuring out how to make this, I actually started a scam investigation. Now, I want to start off by talking about the scam first as a public service announcement to make you aware. It's also funny to me, but if you don't care about this, use YouTube chapters before. But if you heard these custom Discord widgets before, you might stumble across a website that promises to do all the hard work for you. And while I was evaluating if this website was safe or not, I joined their Discord server and I found out the owner is someone named Casa. In the second I heard that name, PTSD war memories entered my brain. My first experience of Discord degenerate gangsters flooded my brain and I got excited. Because backstory, 3 years ago I talked about a Discord scam. It was the most basic scam on planet Earth. It was a fake login page. I was stealing your Discord account. But in that video, for a whole 3 seconds, it's literally this long. I showed a screenshot of the Discord scam I got. It says, congratulations, you have won a nitro. It is a scam that's so old that I could probably drink and drive. But after I made this video 3 years ago, someone named username Casa, he reached out to me and started confronting me like a Discord Shadow Forces member of the mafia or something. Who authorized you to make a video on my bot? And he even got seriously distressed. He also copyright rules that he did with that because publicly that my bot is a scam and the community uses it every day. If I ain't I will have your video removed. And considering this guy has a tumor instead of a brain, this was the perfect guy for me to talk about. So I actually made a whole entire video talking about this guy's Discord activities. He would make a Discord server that would track that Casa key person would use Discord's join server for your permission to make you join his Discord server. Which considering this guy is clearly a Discord degenerate, this comes as no surprise. But it was an e-girl Discord server. Every single Discord e-girl was repulsed by Casa key's presence. They would try to run away from him. So Casa key made a whole entire system to force those e-princesses back right into the Cherries e-girl server. And 3 years later, this is still a problem. This joint service we're using. Let's adapt a little bit because now there's marketplaces where you can buy and sell Discord members where people have used this permission to make you join random servers. And this information was written provided to me by someone named Casa key, but the same person. Okay? They basically explained the scam that they did years ago. And coincidentally, when you go to this widget website, right, you sign into Discord. Oh my god, it's right on my screen right there. Join servers for you. If you thought that was bad, no, you can see that. Because as I was looking into the website, it turned out it asks for your Discord client secret and your bot token, which allows them to control your Discord bot, getting flashbacks to the fake Nitro bot DM. Also, it's worse by the way, because when you go through the whole tutorial, I'm going to show you a part of it, you do need to authorize your own bot, and the bot has permissions to send and receive messages from Discord, so we can send messages through your accounts through this bot, which is controlled by the website from the ex-scammer. So instead of thinking a weird casino bot that's sending a free Nitro scam, it could be your account. This should be an advertising thing on the website. This is an extra bonus feature. Anyways, throughout this whole miniature scam expose, someone confronted Casa about his website being the shadiest thing on the planet. And 3 years later, he takes the same approach of being Discord internet. I have avoided you for spreading misinformation. I'm not going to I'm going to like you want to play with me, you can ban you from Discord admin. You want that? I have 100% accounts on Discord admin. You want to play? And for the people that don't know, Discord admin is just an official Discord server for people with big servers. It does nothing. You don't get any special powers. For normal people, it's just like saying my dad works at Microsoft as a customer support agent, but you can't even big global. You want to mess with me. So wrap this bad boy up. What I'm trying to say is that 3 years ago, this guy was a scamming Discord loser.
No text to speech. He's my big friend.
3 years later, he's still a loser, and I'm worried the website is going to scam him. So do not use this website. And the best part about this all is that Casa key is going to be DMing me angrily for the next 5 months. All right, so for the people that just skip ahead and want to see the tutorial, you missed some peak Discord loser shit. But a massive thank you to someone called Chloe Sanders who made a write-up explaining how to do this all. I'm going to show you this in video form because it is really confusing. My first said this took me way longer than it should, but this will be linked in the description because you do need to visit it to use some of the commands we're going to go through. So open up this blog post, and the first thing you should see is this link here. Go to the Discord developer portal. When you open that bad boy up, what we're going to do is we're going to go to applications, click on new application, and you're going to create a new app. I want to point out the name of this application is important. The name of the app will show up in your widgets. So keep that in mind. You can change it later, it's not a big deal. But I'm going to call this a custom widget. Keep my C now brain aligned and organized. Keep in mind, don't name it like some shit that would get you banned. Actually, this is super duper important. Do not name your app something like Discord or Steam because I saw on Reddit someone got their account disabled for doing that. So whenever you have this as do like Steam stats or something, just say stats. Don't try to impersonate Steam because Discord's AI moderation is being garbage and Discord deals never work anyways. So after you create your application, you need to go to sidebar, games, social SDK. And Discord will tell you to fill out a form. You can fill out by just putting in A for everything. It genuinely doesn't matter what you fill. So just make sure to click on it. By selecting I consent, it just automatically approves Discord's not going to go through all the stuff. Once you do that, go back to the Chloe Sanders tutorial thing. And the first chunk of code here, we're going to copy it. You can select it or you can just click on the convenient copy button. You want to go back to your Discord developer portal and press Control Shift and I and show up on your console. You may need to click on the console tab if you've used the browser tool thing before. Now what we're going to do is you're going to paste in this code. And for some people who've never done this before, I might give you a warning saying type in allow pasting. You need to type that in and press enter. Once you do that, you should be able to paste in this code here. Now just turning on find by props and turning on the experiment widget config editor. Usually also good practice to like figure out what you're pasting in. It doesn't say token log or anywhere. Okay, we press enter. When you press enter, it's going to say undefined, so you can close this bad boy. And really all you need to do is just click back on applications, go back to your this is a custom widget. You should see underneath the games tab you have a new widget you can click on. All right, so this point is where the fun customization stuff is. So you're going to be going crazy on this bad boy. So when you open the widget, you're going to see that you have this whole entire screen that might be a little bit overwhelming. But basically at the top left you have different forms of the widget that you need to fill out. So starting with widget top, you select layout of hero or contain. And basically hero will have like your photo be kind of in the background fading in, whereas contain will have an open container. Again, this is all preference on what you want. And you can customize it later. But when you click on all these options, it will take you to the content tab. And this is where you start filling out parts of the widget. So you can see that the image and the title is required, so just click on it. It should pop up this menu on the right. Now this is the nerdy shit, and this is why this tutorial is important because putting an image on a custom widget, you need to go down and select application asset. It's going to ask you to enter an asset key, and this shit is confusing. But thankfully Discord has a big button that you just click on, and this will allow you to select images that you upload to your bot. You can see there's nothing because you just created your application, but you click on add asset, it will ask you to upload a file. And you may be tempted to upload random images that you want, but just keep in mind we're on Discord. You have to follow the rules, and you can also report people's widgets. Type PG-13. I'm going to add some e-gangster stuff. Click on upload asset, and then you click on the image that you uploaded. You'll notice Discord and give you some big warning saying asset must be public before publishing for image. So click on the button make public. It will publish the image. Now we try adding a title. Don't ask what presentation type you want. Just click on text, and for value type you will always have to pick custom string. Custom string will let you put in whatever the heck you want, and it'll show up on the other. If you do user data, this does allow you to modify it dynamically if you want to set that up, but generally for most of you guys, custom string is probably what you're going to use. So enter whatever the heck you want, and you can add more subtitles and different things. Again, text, custom string. You can put in a whole bunch of stuff. You also have the option of putting in a label, which again you can just put more text. Like, there's a lot of crap you can put in here. And if you scroll down, you can also put in an icon. Again, application asset. You go to the media browser, put in a GIF because yes, GIFs do work. Well, left, you have your label, your text in the middle, your icon on your right. You do that for up to 3 lines, or you can also just copy it into other slots and go from there. Now you customize the top part of your widget. You have to customize the bottom. In fact, Discord will give you this layer telling you that you need to figure out. Open the widget bottom, you can do a stats grid, which allows you to add different stats like text. You can do a progress bar, which I'm going to primarily focus on, or you can do a collection, which allows you to add images and text next to it. With the stats grid and the collection, it's the same sort of interface that we've seen before. It's just adding an image or doing custom string and putting in whatever you want. If someone wants to add a progress bar, it does get a little bit different. For your objective, you put in an image, normal application asset, you put in the name of custom string, everything's all good. You can add a description if you want. But to do the progress bar part, you'll notice that you cannot change from user data to custom text. So I'm glad you asked. Just kidding. You can. So under user data, you can name the data builder. I'm going to make it simple by just saying progress bar. Once you do that, click on the pencil. In the bottom, you'll see the sample data. This is where you enter in the progress part of the bar. So if I enter in 1, you'll notice that's 100%. That's because the progress bar is based on 0 to 1, so you want 67% for some reason. I hate myself. You should do 0.67. You can also add in a max value. So you progress. Max. Click on the pencil. In this case, I'm going to put the progress number to be 10. And you'll notice now that you have sort of a counter. Now, as a reminder, I totally forgot I had to come back to this. Make sure to click on make public for every single time you put an image. Or at this point, if you're done, you're not done yet because you need to add in a widget preview. This is just required and it's super easy to do. Just click on widget preview. It doesn't matter. This is just going to be the thing that you click on when you set up the widget. So literally just put in whatever. But if you want on your profile, when someone clicks on it to have this little thing down here, then in your widget maker, you need to go to mini profile and set it up. Whether it be a hero stat, again, you have like the photo bleeding into the background or contain one. So you customize all your stuff. Everything should be good. If you go to the validation tab, it should say no validation errors. You have that, you can click on save changes, and you've done all the fun stuff. Now it's back to the techie nerdy shit that we gotta do. So click on this back button to go back to your developer world. Then click on the OAuth 2 tab. I make it sound so crazy. It's not. Scroll down to redirect. You just want to put in a redirect. I'll just put it this way. It can be whatever. You just need to have a redirect. Click on save changes. Then if you scroll all the way down, you have this URL generator. You need to turn on OpenID, SDK social layer. And then scroll down and you want to select the Discord URI redirect. Now this, you can copy this URL. Go to a new tab. You want to paste in the link that you copied. Now before you press enter, you need to change part of the URL. You can see this response type equals code. You want to change code to token. Why do you do that? Because the guide told me to. It doesn't work if you don't do it. So once you put token URL, if you press enter, it should show up with the normal Discord thing saying this is a custom widget. You want to scroll down and click on authorize. And it should just redirect you to Discord or whatever website you put in. If you did that, you don't get it. Now we gotta go back to the guide. You want to scroll down to display the widget on your profile. There's gonna be a link to the Discord preview server. You'll need to join the server. You can always leave after. Then you want to click on the link underneath that leads you to the thread that has the code that we need. And once you're on the thread, you want to click on the jump to top arrow. You need to copy this code. Press Control Shift and I. Of course, you need to paste it in. In this case, we need to change this application ID to the ID of your application. So you'll want to go back to your Discord developer portal where you have this link. Go to general information. And you should have your application ID down here. Click on copy. Go back to Discord and replace application ID with the bot's ID. Again, I'm trying to drill in good practices into you. Make sure you read the code is doing. This is doing find by props. Why am I explaining this shit? You guys don't care. Just make sure you're not putting in malware. Okay, it should look pretty similar to what I'm putting in on the video. When you press enter, nothing happens because your Discord account has You should go to your Discord user settings, profiles, and when you add a widget, you should scroll down and see your custom widget right there. We've done it. Just kidding. We haven't done everything yet because when you add this widget and you click on save, you're going to see this very annoying thing here. Your game stats are still syncing. And you might notice that parts of your widgets don't work. Like my progress bar is not 9 out of 11. And that's unacceptable because I never forget to do this to make it work. But to fix this, game stats are still syncing. This is probably the most annoying part. Just fair warning. But going back to the Quote Center tutorial thing, you want to go to application identities. Now you're going to scroll down until you see this code here. You'll notice this code is invoke rest method. This is what we're looking for. You want to copy this code and open up your text browser editor of choice. Real menus notepad. When you paste this in, you will have to modify this whole entire command to work properly with your widget. And the first thing you need to change is this Discord application ID. This is the same application ID that we copied from earlier. Select all that and replace it. Then you need to add in your own Discord user ID. This is the ID of your Discord account. So if you go to Discord and click on your profile and you scroll down, there is a copy user ID button. Now, if you don't see this, then you need to go to your user settings, scroll down to developer, and turn on developer mode. We're doing that all so that you can have this copy user ID. Copy that user ID, go back to Notepad because only real people use it, and replace Discord user ID with your Discord user ID. I'm just going to go back and forth for a second. Make sure to remove those curly braces. If you don't remove the curly braces, it will not work. I'm saying that because when I first tried this, I messed it up. That was really confused. The next thing you need to change is this bot token here. We need to get the token of your Discord bot. If I find your Discord bot token, you want to go back to the developer world, go to bot, scroll down, and you need to click on reset token. Click on yes, and of course, I guess I like torturing myself. I got to do two-factor authentication. Once you do that, you should be able to copy your token. This bot token. Do not share it with anyone. I have changed this after I recorded this video. If I don't, someone can ban my Discord account, and I will never get unbanned. So anyways, go back to the code here and replace bot token with your bot token. Remember, the curly braces, they disappear. Now, there's one more thing we have to do. That's replacing this JSON string here. So what we want to do is go back to games, go to widget. It should be back to this editor, and you want to go to sample data and click on generate JSON. Now, if you can't click on the generate JSON button, I'm just going to make it simple for you to do the tutorial easy for you guys. Just click on add field and just put in a key as A and 1 or whatever. It really doesn't matter. But once you do that, click on generate JSON. Now, you want to click on copy. Open up your console again, so Control Shift and I, and you want to type in the commands JSON in all caps dot stringify. Then you want to put in two parentheses like the closing round boys, and in between these closing round boys, you want to paste in what you copied and press enter. And that should turn your whole entire command into just a single line. Now, this is extremely important because if you don't do this, you're going to mess up what I just did, and you have to re-record it. It's very confusing. By the way, somebody listening. What you want to do is you want to right click this and click copy string contents. Do not go like this. You want to right click copy string contents. You don't do it with that in there. I'm warning you. Now you got a copy. You should go to the JSON string and replace that bad boy with curly braces and paste it in. So again, curly braces, paste that bad boy and replace it. Now, congratulations, we have more stuff in the word. But you want to go to your taskbar and type in PowerShell. I'm gonna have so much fun making sure nothing got leaked in my folders while typing that bad boy. You want to open up PowerShell. Now, before we do anything with PowerShell, we do not want to run random commands that random ass people on the internet are telling us to put into PowerShell. Just make sure it looks like what I'm showing you because someone might be giving you this tutorial and telling you to put in some random code that could hack your Discord account or your whole entire computer. Now that out of the way, Control A, select everything, copy that bad boy with Control C if you don't know these shortcuts, you're really doing yourself a service. And then once you paste it in PowerShell, now PowerShell command prompt is weird. You have to right click the paste, and it should paste all in one. If it's saying that it's going to run multiple commands, you can follow the JSON stringify thing I was talking about. But when you press enter, it should do nothing. Now, after you run that command, refresh your Discord because just in case there's some weird caching issues, of course. Then when you go to your Discord profile, your program starts to work. That little game syncing, whatever, it's gone. Your widget is officially complete. Plus, this is called engagement bait, by the way. If you actually have a good idea on what to use these for, put them in the comments because you can tell by my widgets I am neither funny nor creative. As a fun fact, throughout this whole entire recording, I've been holding a fart. I'm pretty sure if I let go, I'm gonna shit myself. So I think that's everything. You guys have a fantastic weekend, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is. Let me see her. Bye bye. Yeah, I just shit myself.
Okay, so my wife, she is not happy with what she's saying. He's like, bro, you gotta get that haircut. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. I was having my father-in-law. He's a banker, and I kid you not, this is the story so good. I went to go have like lunch or dinner with him somewhere. I was at a golf club having lunch or dinner with him. I remember what he was. And something like, what do you do for work? That was his first question to me. I was just like, oh, I work on the internet. He's like, oh, I thought you were a musician. I thought you were doing something weird. Like, what do you just work on the internet? Like, what, you sure you're not out there like a band or something? I was like, that's why I am these days.
I've had a lot of passions throughout my life. It's the reason I make these videos, because I love to share the wide array of things that have impacted me. Some passions have fizzled out quickly, such as my interest in playing video games. Others have stood the test of time, like I love making these videos. For most of my life, I had been fascinated by space. In fact, some might argue that it was a large part of my personality, but it wasn't something that stuck around. When I wrote down the idea for this video 3 years ago, I had lost almost all interest in space, and so I wanted to explore why. What caused me to lose such a defining passion? Was it something that I would ever get back? I wanted to try to answer this question with a reflection on human behavior. I've always been rather optimistic about humanity. It's something that's been taken advantage of many times throughout my life, but for some reason, I still believe in the best of us. That said, there are certain topics that challenge my optimism, nothing more so than the idea of weapons. They can be used to protect our communities, but more often than not, they're used to tear them apart. For as long as humans have existed, we have justified the need for weapons. The first one was probably caveman with a rock, but as time went on, we kept evolving, kept creating better and more violent ways to hurt each other. These tools have fractured our planet into artificial lines in a strange attempt to separate where our communities start and end. There's an old, probably made up story I heard when I was a kid. It says that the English rejected the crossbow when it was first invented, considering it a form of cheating. After all, people didn't care to have such advantage in combat. A handful of skilled archers would now be opposing hundreds of unskilled soldiers equipped with a crossbow. The advantage was volume. Of course, archaeologists have found use of the crossbow in ancient China, which I'm pretty sure came before England. But the idea of the narrative is interesting. It implies a sort of fairness and etiquette in warfare. It's an optimism in humanity, even if it's wildly misplaced. This need to offer tools didn't play by these artificial rules, though. Humanity didn't stop the crossbow, and we would go on to create a wide variety of weapons that would test the boundaries of the word unfair. During the Second World War, Nazi Germany created one of these weapons. This is a V2. The first ballistic missile that was able to hit targets 200 miles away. It was a culmination of the work of thousands of scientists and engineers, and was forged in the name of expanding the borders and an attempt to rule the world. Because of their unmatched range, Nazis were able to launch more than 3,000 of these missiles between Belgium and England uncontested. This line of missiles is over 5 miles long, by the way. Anyone that found themselves in the path of one of these missiles could do nothing to stop it. A large part of that was because they were targeted at innocent civilians. The Nazis were terror bombing. 15,000 people died as a result of the V2 missile, both from the targets that were launched at and from people who were forced to make them in concentration camps. At the same time, the United States had also been working on their own version of an unfair weapon. This is the atomic bomb. Similar to the V2 missile, it was also created by thousands of the brightest minds in the country. On July 16, 1945, this weapon would be tested in New Mexico desert for the very first time. 2 days later, without any knowledge of what the Americans had been working on, Japan tried to negotiate for an end to the war, as it was clear they could not stop the U.S.'s atomic advance through the Pacific. The United States President Harry S. Truman refused to negotiate with the Japanese, instead demanding unconditional surrender. His true goal, however, was to reveal the atomic bomb to the world and opted for what he called strategic bombing. He wanted to liberate morale of the citizens of Japan. In my opinion, this was an act of terrorism. Only 3 weeks later, the little boy bomb would be dropped on Hiroshima, a city largely unaffected by the war. It was detonated above a hospital and a school, instantly vaporizing patients, doctors, and children below. In the blink of an eye, the entire city was leveled. 3 days later, another atomic bomb, Batman, was dropped on Nagasaki. In total, just 2 bombs killed over 250,000 people, most of which were Japanese civilians. That is 20 times more than what 3,000 V2 missiles did. Just 2 bombs. The Emperor of Japan presented his surrender in a radio broadcast where he said this: the enemy has begun to employ a new and cruel bomb, causing immense and indiscriminate destruction, the extent of which is beyond all imagination. Should we continue to fight, not only would it result in the political collapse and obliteration of the Japanese nation, but it would also lead to the total extinction of human civilization. After the war, over 1,000 Nazi scientists and engineers fled to the United States to work on a series of sequels to the V2 missile. The United States Army knew they weren't the only ones who wanted this new weapon, and with the power of the atomic bomb atop of a ballistic missile of their own, well, they would be unstoppable. So, in return for this new super weapon, the Army gave these Nazi scientists amnesty despite their horrific war crimes. The Soviet Union would quickly showcase their intense interest in making their own ballistic missiles. They would showcase their capabilities by putting the first man-made object in orbit around the planet. For the first time ever, when you looked up at the night sky, something else looked back. It was called Sputnik. Satellite that only emitted a radio signal, but it represented something much more disturbing. It was a demonstration of mankind could weaponize the vast space, unlocking a new depth of terror. The United States continued pumping billions of dollars into the development of their own long-range weapon, and soon both countries proved that they could each create an arsenal of nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missiles that could strike anywhere on Earth, otherwise known as ICBMs. They would each work on their own efforts to these missiles, but it was one in particular the Americans had been working on that really highlighted how far things had advanced in just a few short years. This is the Titan II. It's a 2-stage missile that was meant to be the most advanced ICBM of the time, and was made with extraordinary destructive capabilities. It was equipped with a 9 megaton nuclear warhead, which was 450 times more destructive than the atomic bombs used at the end of the Second World War. And remember, just 2 of those bombs killed 20 times more people than the V2 rocket inspired this very missile. The burning of the long-range capabilities of the V2 and the intense power of the atomic bomb created something so horrible that the goal was to never actually use it. The people that worked in the bunkers of the Titan II silos were told that if one of these was ever launched, the project would be deemed a failure. They called it peace through deterrence, but it's much more commonly referred to as mutually assured destruction. Last year, I actually got to see one of these missiles in person. There's only one remaining on Earth, and it's been preserved at the Titan Museum just south of Tucson, Arizona. Don't worry, it's not a functional rocket, as every Titan II was retired in 1987 in an effort to modernize the U.S. nuclear stockpile. If you're finding yourself in the area, I highly recommend going. The tour guide really gives the entire thing the proper gravity that this conversation requires. A tour guide was someone who actually worked in the silo when he sent for arm. He was one of the guys that had to be ready to push the button, and he really did an amazing job of showcasing how heavy the entire program was. There were so many systems in place to make sure that it could never be pushed by mistake, but he truly believed that if that all ever came through, he would push it. Fear of nuclear war was incredibly intense in this era, and anxiety surrounding it shook people to the core. At the peak, there were 54 Titan II missiles deployed throughout the United States, all of which were ready to launch at the request of a single man. Of course, there were more than 54 of these missiles created, but the Army wasn't really able to launch any of them. Some of them were contracted out to other agencies for other uses. 12 of them were signed for use by a relatively new government organization, the National Aeronautics Administration, better known as NASA, where they would be modified for manned spaceflight in the Gemini program. This program was designed to test and perfect the docking of 2 stations. This might not have seemed very important, but the Apollo program would need to learn to dock to the front of the command service module. So the Gemini missions were a critical step in understanding how that could be done. Throughout human history, there have been barriers that make teaming impossible to overcome. Right up until something does. It has been known throughout human history that all above us is a vastness that none of us can comprehend. A vastness that cannot be conquered by man. But yet there we were, learning things we never thought possible and voyaging places we thought unreachable. And weirdly enough, all along weapons of mass destruction that were repurposed for science and exploration. The technologies that were being developed by NASA weren't just being used for the benefit of space research. They were being used to help people all over the globe. Despite all these innovations that
the time of the Gemini program, there were still an enormous number of unknowns about the universe we live in. For instance, we didn't know if they were planets orbiting other stars, otherwise known as exoplanets. With all the tools we had at the time, we only knew about planets in our little solar system. Heck, the reason we even know how to find planets today is because of a fun trick within our own solar system. Every now and again, Venus will pass in front of the sun. Sort of like a solar eclipse, but at a much smaller scale. This event is called the transit of Venus, and it allows you to do some pretty interesting math. If you and a few of your science friends around Europe record positions as across the path of the sun, you can use a parallax of those measurements to calculate the distance from the Earth to the sun, which helps us map out the scale of the solar system. Though, there's one really weird quirk with the transit of Venus. It will happen twice within a year window, and then it won't happen again for over 100 years. The very first recording of this transit was on its second pair in 1639, almost 400 years ago. Titan, the hazy moon of Saturn, would be observed for the very first time before the next pair in 1761 and 1769. Each of these were first used to do the parallax calculation. In 1874, the first first photos were taken of the event and once again in 1882. Then time marched on to the next transit, and boy howdy was it a busy window of time. We would see world-changing inventions like the car, airplane, radio, television. There would be times of great economic prosperity, and there would also be multiple great economic collapses. There would be multiple world wars, the creation and launching of 3,000 future missiles, and dropping 2 atomic bombs. We would see the creation of a transcontinental country called the Soviet Union. They're launching the first man-made satellite that became so concerning to the United States that they would deploy the Titan II missile in fear. We would also see the fall of that very same transcontinental country that was created. There would be incredible advances in science and engineering. We could people on the moon somewhere there. And we also started landing robotic probes on other planets. We discovered the existence of Pluto, created a rocket, and sent a probe just to take pictures of it. The first detection and the first confirmed exoplanets occurred in this window, as did the invention of the internet and the World Wide Web, the rise and fall of Netscape, the creation of Facebook, Google, Palantir, eBay, Amazon, Twitter, and so much more, all happened before the next transit of Venus in the year 2004. And what's incredible is that this transit wouldn't even be the one that helped us getting better at the exoplanets. That one wouldn't occur until the second transit in 2012. I was in high school during the 2012 transit of Venus, and I was lucky enough to be in an astronomy class at the same time. Our teacher encouraged us to go to the local observatory and have a look ourselves, and so I went there for a telescope pointed at the sun with some fancy filters on it. I saw a black dot on a flaming ball that hangs above our heads every day. I could see the scale of these incredible flames emerging from the surface of the sun. I mean, there was a planet right in front of it. It gave some sort of sense of scale for the first time in my life. These flames were the size of multiple planets. It was wild to think about. However, I wasn't there doing science. I was just some dorky high school kid looking up in awe. The real scientists were doing some incredible research, which led us to understanding how to better find exoplanets. And as a result of that, we now have discovered over 6,000 planets outside our solar system. It's something I feel happens so often now that it's kind of boring when anyone discovered. If you told the scientists from the first viewing of the transit that this would help us discover over 6,000 planets outside our solar system, they'd probably say, oh, because that was 400 years ago, and we probably don't speak the same language, and also because I was born in a country that didn't exist at the time. The next transit of Venus won't occur until 2117. Who knows what will occur between now and then? I consider myself very lucky to have seen such an incredibly rare event. There have only been 7 observed transits throughout all human history, and I got to see one of them. I saw a lot of really cool things about observatory over the years. One of the things that never ceased to amaze me are the rings and moons of Saturn. When I was a kid, my grandparents had this book called Our Universe. There were incredibly good illustrations of all planets, and one of my favorites to look at was Saturn. This book was printed in 1980, so there were no close-up photos of it. Though a few years before this book was printed, there were a set of probes that were probably on their way to the ring planet to take photos of the very sights to see. There are 2 major points of interest when it comes to Saturn. The ring, of course, and then one of its moons, Titan. Looking back at this book, it says the following about Titan.
Titan probably revolves the same face always towards Saturn.
It's really common in our solar system to see moons that have the same side facing planet, a phenomenon called tidal lock. Our own moon is tidal lock. We only ever see one side. But with Titan, we had no way of knowing. The atmosphere of a small moon is so thick it is impossible to see the surface from Earth. Just as this book was printed, Voyager 1 and 2 transmitted the first close-up photos of Titan and Saturn. But even this wasn't enough to tell us it was tidal lock. The data we got back from Titan only gave us enough information to better understand the atmosphere. The atmosphere itself was still far too thick to see through. The goal of Voyager 1 and 2 was to just fly by all these celestial bodies, a grand tour as it were. So the data was always going to be rather limited. However, the photos and data we got back wouldn't fire a dedicated mission to visit Saturn and its moons. This is a Titan IV rocket, the U.S. Army's successor to the Titan II missile. On a cool October night in 1997, it would be used for only non-military launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of a complete spacecraft on a 30-mile trek to Saturn. The program is in. Roll program is in. We have cleared the tower. And resume spacecraft is on its way to Saturn. T plus 20 seconds. All systems are go.
System from Opal-Venus, the Cassini spacecraft arrived at Saturn in 2004. It was a culmination of thousands of scientists and engineers who all wanted to show the world how beautiful the solar system truly is. For the first time ever, we got to see in incredible detail the rings that gave Saturn its alluring look in the sky. The thin bands showcased an incredible precision and balance of the tiny objects that made them up, and the gravity of the gas giant. When Cassini looked back at Earth,
no need to use OBS for
there
that.
were no artificial lines to identify, just a little glowing circle that hosted everyone and everything humanity has ever known. Cassini was also equipped with special cameras that could see through the thick atmosphere of Titan, which meant we could actually see the surface for the first time. It turns out Titan is also tidally locked. Cassini also served another purpose, to communicate with its lander companion. The Phoenix probe was made to land on Titan, giving us a whole new view of the alluring moon. I have links in the description of all the actual images and even video of the descent of the probe to the surface. You should definitely check it out. It's incredible to me that we, as humans, have landed probes all the way out there, back up in space. Cassini would go on to showcase how beautiful Saturn is, and in my opinion, it's by far the most beautiful mission NASA has ever done. In 2019, I went on a tour of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California, where they have a half-size model of the Cassini probe, as well as a variety of other model probes they sent around the solar system. That was the highlight of the tour, though. While we were there, Perseverance rover was sitting there, waiting to be put into a rocket that was sent to Mars. And even though I was staring at the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, something I would have dreamed of seeing when I was a kid, I was empty. A few years before, I had been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. Throughout those years, I had been on and off many medications, interacted with dozens of doctors, and after a long enough period of feeling crazy most of the time, I had just lost hope that I would ever feel normal again. This feeling really hit peak while I was standing there, looking at a robot that was about to go to a whole other planet. It was the first time in my life where I had lost hope and given into despair. I was completely numb to all the things I loved. After returning home, I checked myself into the hospital for taken care. It was my fourth hospitalization, so I kind of knew the ropes at this point. The staff there were honestly incredibly helpful, and they helped give me some hope again. But the passion for space things had seemingly diminished. Part of that was due to focus on self-care, but part of it was also that things had seemingly changed with the industry of spaceflight. Corporations had stepped in. When I would see rocket launches, I wouldn't see the NASA logo, an icon that had shown the world the beauty and excitement of what the universe had to offer, as well as what we could do to help our own planet. Instead, I would see a logo for a whole corporate brand, and then when that brand had enough to press, another one would pop up. Each of these corporations had been tied to countless workplace abuses, sketchy shortcuts, and an infinite wallet to bribe our elected officials in order to bypass regulations put in place to protect all of us. It really felt like space had truly lost its spark from it. The passion was gone, as extraordinarily rich continent had come to plaster the names across the sky, replacing the organizations that had represented a hope for all humanity. All I could see was the rich lifting up the rich, while the rest of us were left behind in a careless abuse of humanity and the Earth itself. The brand horizon set a big stupid rocket with a NASA logo on it. It was made for a mission that brought together people from multiple countries, showing their lines don't have to divide us. If the rocket was about to go back to the moon for the first time in a very long time, aboard the spectacular spacecraft were astronauts. I'm not talking about some rich jerks who claim they're astronauts. I'm talking real, hardworking, kind, intelligent, and best of all, inspiring astronauts. The kinds of people I look up to. To me, optimism isn't about blindly ignoring bad things. It's about learning from the bad things and trying to make something better moving forward. If hope, the current state of our world is full of terrible things, and it's really easy to give into despair. It paralyzes people, which gives power to people doing terrible things. You can't stop them if you believe you can't, but I believe in the best of us. That's what I love about this mission. It shows that despair is a choice we put on ourselves, just like the artificial lines that cover our planet. We can choose the path of despair and send rockets into hospitals, or we can choose the path of hope and send rockets to explore the stars to better all of humanity. As I'm writing the script, the crew of Artemis 2 has just flashed down from the flyby of the moon. It's a mission that had a lot of firsts, but what's most important to me is that they gave me hope again. They did something I really thought was impossible. They reignited my passion and love for space. I hope this will be proof that they did.
Oh, I'm not sure if they're going to the moon. It's a bad idea. Is it really a good idea, really? Yeah, okay, Artemis Lob aside. Yeah, okay, fine.
Sir, the engine rate is nearing completion, but there's a slight complication.
Always with the complications. Go on, out with it.
Well, sir, it appears that the project convenience is on its way.
Keep working on the enshrification, Ray. Admiral Zelinski. I will handle the intruder.
You got it.
Look at what you've become. Your obsession has gotten the best of you, John. John is dead. I want remains. I see. Then I must stop your reckless rampage. You will try.
Sir.
What?
The enshrification rate is asking us to agree to the new terms and conditions before we can use it.
We do not have time for this. Do it.
Sir, it's like 50 pages long. We haven't read them. Maybe we should like go over it together. I find less. Those texts are really tiny.
I refuse to comply with such ludicrous tasks. Agree to the terms at once.
Okay, all right.
What's happening? It's over, dark convenience. Unlike you, I actually read those terms and conditions. Had you read them, you would have known that the laser is now a subscription service, and it won't expire until you pay them a monthly fee. What? We can't afford that. We spent all the money on the hardware. They can't alter the deal. That's not fair.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, he's perfect. Oh my god, he's perfect. He's this. Everything that is missing in my life. He completes me. She completes me. She's my other half. He's my other half. Why are you so desperate for another half? You only have a person. You're looking for your other half because you're not a whole human. When you're not a whole human, you become incredibly vulnerable to finding your other half. And then there becomes a problem because when I engage in a relationship with that person, they cannot live up to the projection of my mind. If I find a woman that I don't have to worry about cheating, I don't have to worry about this, it's gonna feel a certain way. And then, oh my god, this becomes just hey, my friends are having a bachelor party next. And then what do I say to her? I say that's stupid. Because now she's shattering the image. She could be out there because I'm insecure. I can't have her being approached by other men. No, she needs to stay home. She needs to know her place. She needs to do these things that feel a certain way. I need her to handle the work of two. If she's doing my feeling and she's doing her feeling, I'm gonna do the work of two, and she's gonna do the work of two. I'm gonna handle all the external support. My career's gonna be so good I don't need her. It's not just do my work. It's gonna be reversed. It's a life thing and a differentiation. That's why we look for this part. Who fulfills us because we can't get at ourselves.
construction crew was digging the accidentally solved a kidnapping. The notorious fugitive was caught because he had car problems on the wrong road. The killer stayed hidden for 17 years until an
incident at Walmart changed everything. These are impossible cold cases solved by accident. Legal guys is 2.5 described by 2026 and it's crazy, so we need the world. If you subscribe, I promise to do my very best for you, best video as possibly can. I'll do that for you. The wrong word that caused her freedom. When police first looked into this case, they thought they were wasting their time because crime didn't look like a crime. It looked like a normal family tragedy. And someone accidentally said the wrong word. Suddenly, police realized they might be hunting a serial killer. The story began with a husband and wife. The wife's name is Stacy. Her husband was named Michael. The couple had 2 daughters, but behind closed doors, the marriage was falling apart. Michael struggled with substances and alcohol. No matter how hard he tried, he could not stop. Over time, the relationship grew cold and distant. They barely spent time together. Eventually, they decided to get divorced. But before the separation became official, tragedy struck. Michael suddenly passed away. He was only 38. Stacy claimed she found him lifeless inside her home. His body was taken to a hospital where a doctor determined that Michael passed away from a heart attack. The idea of a healthy 38-year-old man having a heart attack didn't make sense to his friends and family, especially Michael's sister Rosie. Rosie wanted an autopsy done on her late brother's body, but Stacy refused.
Stacy, you're gonna have an autopsy. She looked at me and she says, Rosie, you know, he didn't like being cut up in surgery and everything like that. She says, no.
Stacy worked hard to stop the autopsy, and in the end, she got her way. No autopsy was performed. At the time, the police had no reason to suspect foul play, so there was no criminal investigation. Soon after, Stacy collected a $55,000 payout from Michael's life insurance policy. Then she moved on to life. But another tragedy was already made around the corner. About a year later, Stacy met a man named David Castro. The two got married in August 2003, but the family had problems from the start. Remember, Stacy had 2 daughters from her previous marriage. David did not want to be a father figure to Stacy's kids.
He said, you don't want to be a father, you don't want to be a father. You already had his kids, you didn't want more.
Obviously, Stacy didn't like that. 2 years into their marriage, another tragedy occurred. In August 2005, Stacy called 911 in panic. She told them her husband David had locked himself inside her bedroom and refused to come out.
I'm just gonna look at her watching this at 5 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, we locked me out of the bedroom.
Police arrived soon after. They forced the bedroom door open. Inside, they found David lifeless. Investigators noticed something strange under the bed. It was a bottle of antifreeze.
There was a bottle of antifreeze that was outside with the top off.
Antifreeze is a toxic chemical normally used in vehicles. Police also found 2 glasses on the nightstand. One contained a juice and the other glass had antifreeze. The medical examiner later confirmed that David had antifreeze in his system. It was pretty obvious what happened. But police still questioned Stacy about the glasses. Stacy explained that she poured David a glass of cranberry juice before he locked himself inside. That accounted for 1 glass. She claimed she had nothing to do with the antifreeze in the bedroom. Based on her story, it seemed like David did it to himself. At the time, investigators could not prove otherwise. Once again, Stacy inherited everything from her deceased husband. The case looked close. The detective couldn't shake the feeling that something wrong. His name was Detective Spinelli. He had doubts about Stacy's story.
Like I was telling me that there's something wrong with this. Just right.
Spinelli pulled up the file on Stacy's first husband, Michael. He compared it with David's case. He noticed disturbing similarities. Both men passed away suddenly. Both were buried side by side in the same cemetery. Spinelli suspected that Michael passed away from the same chemical as David. There's only one way to know for sure.
Let's pick him up to exhume the body. This would be hugely controversial.
Michael's remains were dug up and tested. Investigators found traces of antifreeze in his system, just like David. Still, there's only proof that both men drank chemical. They didn't prove Stacy gave it to them. The detective needed concrete proof, so he brought Stacy in for questioning. During the interview, he showed her a picture of the 2 glasses on the nightstand. They asked, "Do you remember which glass it was? You poured the cranberry juice in." Stacy looked at the photo, and then she made a mistake. She said, "Well, I poured it the antifreeze. I mean, the cranberry juice." She tried to correct herself immediately, but it was too late. That one accidental word changed everything.
But we're watching an interview like, oh my god, that was 40 slip that she couldn't control.
Stacy insisted it was just a slip of the tongue. She accused the detective of trying to frame her and stop the interview. At that point, the pressure was closing in. Stacy was desperate to prove her innocence, so she made one final desperate move. Stacy decided to blame everything on her own daughter, Ashley. A few days later, she slipped sleeping pills into Ashley's drink. The pills were meant to end her life. After Ashley passed out, Stacy placed a typed confession letter beside her.
In the letter, Ashley confesses to the murders of David Castor and Michael Wallace, her own father, giving intricate details as to how she went about poisoning them.
And Stacy called 911. She told police she found her daughter unconscious. She also said Ashley left a note confessing to both crimes, but Stacy's plan failed. Ashley survived, and she told police that she never wrote that letter confessing to the crimes. The letter was typed. Investigators checked Stacy's computer and they found drafts of the confession letter. Timestamps showed the letter was written while Ashley was away at school. The evidence was overwhelming. Stacy was arrested. In 2009, she was found guilty of murdering both husbands and attempting to end her daughter. She was sentenced to over 51 years in prison. The criminal in her next chapter wrote his secret on a piece of paper, and then the wrong person read it. The man who talked himself into jail. When Jonelle Matthews was kidnapped, the case became national news. The president mentioned it in a speech.
5 days before Christmas, Jonelle disappeared from her home.
But all that publicity did not solve the case. For 35 years, no one knew where Jonelle was. The construction crew made a random discovery that unraveled the mystery. Jonelle Matthews vanished in 1984. She was only 12. She lived with her family in Greeley, Colorado. One night, her father came home and found the house empty.
Did it occur to you that she had run away?
No, because I know my daughter well enough.
He called police. Officers searched the house, but they found no signs of a struggle. But they found a clue outside of the snow.
The only physical evidence were those footprints in the fresh snow.
Whoever did it tried to break their footprints.
Someone walked around the house and used the recorded blade to hide their tracks. Police kept the rape detail a secret. They hoped to use it to identify the person responsible later. Meanwhile, Jonelle's photo was printed on milk cartons across the country, leading with national attention. Investigators still had no leads. The case went cold. And one man claimed he might know something. His name was Steve Hankey.
A month after Jonelle's disappearance, Hankey suddenly inserted himself directly into the middle of this case.
The more Hankey talked, the stranger his story became. Instead of looking helpful, he started looking suspicious. Around the time Jonelle disappeared, Steve Hankey lived just a few miles from home. He reportedly reached out to investigators.
I contacted the Fort Collins FBI office and volunteered some information about Jonelle's disappearance.
But his reason for coming forward was strange. Hankey said he worried someone might try to frame him.
He shared the information with the FBI because he feared that somehow someone might be trying to implicate him in Jonelle's murder.
He claimed his father-in-law was a groundskeeper at a cemetery. According to Hankey, his father-in-law told him something disturbing.
He told me that a cop had contacted him and said that he had a body he wanted to be buried.
But the story led it nowhere. Years passed, and still nobody knew where Jonelle was. In 1994, 10 years after she disappeared, Jonelle was officially declared deceased. 10 years later, in July 2019, an oil crew was digging a pipeline in a remote field. Their equipment struck human remains buried in the ground. Tests later confirmed that the remains belonged to Jonelle Matthews, and the discovery happened completely by accident.
That edge a little higher, a half foot deeper. No one would ever see it. Is it divine intervention? That's all.
But now investigators had a new question. Who was responsible? Detectives reopened the old case files. They reviewed witness statements and rebuilt their list of suspects. One name stood out: Steve Hankey. After Jonelle's remains were found, detectives interviewed Steve Hankey's ex-wife. She told them that Hankey acted strangely after Jonelle disappeared. According to her, Hankey forced their family to leave town 2 days after the kidnapping. During the drive, he made her scan radio stations for news about the missing girl. He also stopped to buy newspapers so he could follow the case. Then she remembered something even stranger. Years earlier, she found a piece of paper Hankey wrote. It was in the trash.
And one of the things notated in his handwriting on this piece of legal paper was snow outside the Matthews house was range.
Police were stunned. How did Hankey know the kidnapper raped the snow to cover his footprints?
Prosecutors say only the Matthews family, investigators, and presumably the killer knew about them. But apparently Hankey knew.
Then the ex-wife shared one more disturbing memory. Years after Jonelle vanished, Hankey's own son passed away. At the funeral, she claimed that Hankey made a shocking comment. I hope God didn't allow this to happen because of Jonelle Matthews. That sounded like someone with a guilty conscience. The police had enough evidence. Hankey was arrested after a long trial. He was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. The criminal in our next chapter escaped for 17 years and then threw his freedom away because of a text message. The case of the Walmart ghost. A man committed a crime and escaped justice for years. Police had nothing on it. They didn't even know he was connected to the case. For 17 years, he lived a quiet life. And one day, he walked into a police station and confessed. He did it because he accidentally received a message from personnel. The crime happened in Bullhead City, Arizona. In 1997, a 38-year-old woman went missing. 5 days later, her body was found near the Colorado River. It was clear someone ended her life. Investigators questioned people in the area. They found very little evidence. After months with no real leads, the case went cold. Meanwhile, a man named Matthew Gibson quietly left Arizona. Matthew moved to North Carolina. There, he stayed out of trouble. He never even got a parking ticket. For 17 years, police had no idea he was connected to the case. And Matthew accidentally put the spotlight on himself. In early 2014, Matthew started receiving strange messages on his phone. They were from his local Walmart. Each message said the same thing. Walmart had a prescription ready for a woman named Anita Townshend. Matthew didn't know anyone named Anita Townshend. At first, it seemed like a simple mistake, but they searched the name online. We found terrifying.
He had found on the internet that Anita Townshend had been murdered.
He wondered why he was receiving text messages meant for a murder victim. Walmart messages kept coming, each one telling Anita Townshend to pick up her prescription. Matthew never responded. Soon, Walmart started sending voicemails about the prescription. Matthew became paranoid. There was one reason the messages scared him so much. Matthew was the killer. When Matthew committed the crime in 1997, he didn't know the name of the woman he had. So when he saw the name Anita Townshend, he convinced himself she must have been the victim. Then something even stranger happened. Matthew received a Walmart advertisement in his mail. 21 it looked like Jumpman. With Matthew, it felt connected. The text messages were from Walmart. The voicemails were from Walmart. And now the mail was from Walmart too. His paranoia led him to the conclusion that someone knew about the 17-year-old murder and was playing mind games with him.
He thought someone that was out to put it on was in the parking lot. He was that paranoid.
The fear completely took over. So Matthew decided to solve the problem once and for all. In June 2015, Matthew barged into
a police station. Then he started confessing before anyone even questioned him.
Hello. Murder. Many years ago. It happened in Bullhead City.
Detective listened carefully. Then she contacted Bullhead City Police. She needed to know if Matthew's story matched any unsolved case from 1997. It did. Police questioned Matthew again. This time he gave them more details. He said he met the woman on the night of the crime. He brought her back to his home. Then the two got into an argument. They turned violent.
I wanted her to leave. Her name I did not know. So I was going to knock her off. I'm sorry. Okay.
Matthew also told police about the strange messages he was getting from Walmart. He believed the woman he ended was named Anita Townshend. That was an officer told him the truth. Anita Townshend was not Matthew's victim. In fact, Anita had nothing to do with the case. Police weren't even sure if Anita was a real person.
We don't know if Anita Townshend ever existed. We looked. We weren't able to find anyone by that name.
So what was her name in the Walmart messages? According to one report, it was just a mix-up. The description alerts were meant for someone else. Police arrested Matthew. He pleaded guilty. After 17 years of freedom, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison. The man in the next chapter got away with murder, and the thing that finally exposed him had absolutely nothing to do with the case. The cop hunter. The criminal who attacks a police officer gets hunted down by crack leading the whole police force. But one man took a police officer's life and escaped. He hid for years, and then he was exposed by the one person he felt safe around. The crime happened in Atlanta in 1971. 27-year-old police officer James Green was working the night shift. He was at a gas station when two men jumped. The men didn't know James personally. They were members of a group with radical beliefs. Some members of that group believed in using violence against the police. The two men attacked the officer, stole his badge and weapon, and ran. Officer Green didn't survive. When other police officers heard what happened, they were furious. Dozens of officers hit the street searching for the attackers. During search, they found a younger member of the same group named Samuel Cooper. Samuel admitted he knew the attackers. He gave police their names, Wyman Myers and Freddie Hilton. Detectives were making their case, but they were too late. Before the two attackers could be arrested, they left Atlanta. But the police didn't give up. They were determined to find the man who murdered their colleague, no matter how long. The two fugitives, Wyman and Freddie, tried to keep a low profile. But like other rebels, after a few years, Wyman slipped up and he lost his life during a shootout with police. The second man, Freddie Hilton, disappeared. He moved to New York and changed his name to Mount. And for the next 3 years, investigators had no idea where he was. Freddie built a new life under his fake name. He got a steady job at a phone company. Later, he got a girlfriend. Then he moved in with her and her daughter. But they weren't one big happy family. Freddie secretly acted inappropriately with the daughter. Eventually, the girl told her mother what was happening. The mom immediately sought help.
In 2001, a woman and her daughter entered the 69th precinct in Brooklyn, New York, looking to talk to a cop.
The woman reported Freddie to the officer. He was arrested. However, Freddie was using the fake name Mount. So investigators ran a background check on that name. The computer showed no criminal history. In fact, he appeared to be an upstanding citizen. But during the arrest, officers found an illegal weapon on him. Investigators interrogated him about the weapon. And during questioning, he finally admitted the truth.
Told me that his real name is Freddie Hilton.
The moment he said that name, the case changed completely. Detectives typed the name of Freddie Hilton into the national database. Miller popped up. He was wanted by the Atlanta Police Department for the attack on Officer James. New York officers informed Atlanta that he was in custody. But 30 years passed since the crime. So Atlanta detectives set out to find more evidence to put Freddie behind bars.
My goals were to find Black Liberation Army members and interview them, see if I could recall and back up some story that I had about Freddie Hilton.
He tracked down 3 of Freddie's old group members. All 3 confirmed that Freddie was the attacker.
But the LA statements are consistent and detailed enough to support a charge of.
After decades on the run, Freddie was sent back to Atlanta. In 2003, he was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison. The woman in the next chapter hid a secret for 25 years until her own family accidentally exposed her. The DNA test that solved the cold case. In 2024, a 23-year-old woman revealed a family secret on TikTok.
Get back with me when I tell you about how Ancestry DNA kit is playing right now in prison.
Her grandma was connected to a cold case in Michigan for 25 years. Police had no idea who committed the crime. Then a random DNA test accidentally gave police the answer. Mystery began in summer of 1997. The Michigan workers at the Garnett Lake campground were cleaning an outdoor toilet. As they pumped out waste, their suction machine suddenly stopped working. Something inside that was blocking the workers opened the toilet to see what was stuck inside. They realized it was the remains of a newborn. Police rushed to the campground. This was a serious crime, but officers had no leads. Nobody knew who the baby was or who left her. The local community was devastated, so people came together to honor the baby.
The close community surrounding the campground named the baby Garnett. They gave her a proper burial at the local cemetery.
After the burial, the baby was known as Baby Garnett. People hoped the memorial would make someone come forward. Nobody admitted anything. No suspect was identified. And as years passed, the case slowly went cold. 20 years passed. Around 2022, a new sheriff decided to take another look at the case. This time, police had access to advanced DNA technology, so they sent Baby Garnett's DNA to a forensic lab. The goal was to build a family tree from the baby's DNA, and then connect that DNA to a living relative. They worked. The lab found a match. The baby was related to a young woman named Jenna Jartowski. Jenna's DNA was consistent because she took an ancestry test.
It's literally you spit, don't be swap around, you send it in, and they give you your ancestry results.
One African American Michigan detective called Jenna's phone.
And he was like, I just want to let you know that we opened a cold case from like 25 years ago. And he was like, your DNA is a direct match to the victim of this case.
She asked the detective what case he was talking about.
I was like, what case? And he was like, you heard the Baby Garnett case, right? And I was like,
The detective explained they were trying to find out who ended the baby. And it was probably someone related to Jenna. Police did a DNA test on Jenna's mom. Results narrowed the search even more.
and ended up finding out that it's not a distant relative to my mom, but a direct relative.
Eventually, police cracked the case. They discovered that Baby Garnett's mother was Jenna's grandmother, Nancy. She was the one who abandoned the child at the campground over 20 years ago. In July 2022, police arrested 60-year-old Nancy. After questioning her, investigators pieced together what happened that night. They believe Nancy gave birth at home, and the baby was alive after birth. However, there were complications.
Prosecutors believe she was born at home and died of asphyxiation, but could have been saved with medical intervention.
Detectives believe the baby could have survived if Nancy called for emergency help, but for some reason she never did. Instead, Nancy drove 20 miles out of town and left the baby at the campground. The Nancy defense team disagreed with that version of events. The lawyers claimed the baby didn't survive the delivery. They also explained why Nancy never called for help.
The defense argues that Nancy didn't have access to a telephone to call 911.
Both sides told very different stories in court, but they agreed on one key fact. Nancy left Baby Garnett at the campground, and that was a crime. Nancy's case is still in court. If found guilty, she could spend the rest of her life behind bars. 2 years after the arrest, Jenna decided to share her family secret on TikTok. The video got over 15 million views. This next chapter is about a cold case that sat unsolved for 18 years until a random neighborhood complaint accidentally exposed the killer. The case of the Peeping Tom. In August 1986, a senseless tragedy occurred in Edmond, Oklahoma. One night, Gary Larson was at home with his girlfriend. Suddenly, he heard strange noises coming from one room. Gary got out of bed to investigate. He realized that someone cut through a window screen.
The screen cut in an L shape from top to bottom, not a big opening.
The torn window wasn't the real problem. The intruder was still in the house. Before Gary reacted, the intruder had jumped in. Gary's fiancée saw it all happen. She was also harmed, but survived. After the intruder left, she called the cops. The help arrived too late. Gary didn't survive. Police searched the house for clues. They found something, a footprint.
You can see the toe here, and the next toes, falling toes right here, and then this way would be the backside of the foot.
The intruder was barefoot during the attack. They had no way of knowing who that footprint belonged to. After 4 years of investigating, they found nothing. It became a cold case. And the photo of the footprint just sat in the file for 18 years. In 2004, there was another crime a short distance from the house where Gary lost his life. The boy was in the bathroom when he saw someone staring through the window. He screamed and ran out and told his dad.
So my son, after taking a shower, looked up through this window and said he saw a man.
The father was determined to catch the Peeping Tom, so he set up a motion detector outside the bathroom window. If anyone came near the window again, the alarm would go off. 4 weeks later, it did. The father ran outside, and there, hiding near the bathroom window, was a barefoot man.
There's a 6'2", 250-pound, 38-year-old man standing back here in the bushes looking in the bathroom window.
He grabbed the man and held him until police arrived. The Peeping Tom was named Jonathan Grant. At first, police thought he was just a local nuisance who liked looking through windows. But soon they realized Jonathan was far more dangerous. One of the officers involved in the Peeping Tom case wanted to see exactly where Jonathan was hiding to look through the window. So he went to the house and walked through the yard. As soon as he looked around, he realized that he was in the same neighborhood where Gary lost his life.
Well, flashes back to a crime scene 18 years old. A suspected Peeping Tom, according to me, barefoot foot section, blood.
Realized this Peeping Tom Jonathan was also barefoot. The details started lining up. Could Jonathan be the same barefoot intruder that ended Gary 18 years ago? There was one way to find out. Police took questions of Jonathan's bare feet and compared it to the footprint from Gary's house.
I was able to locate enough unique identifiers that I could say that this late impression was made by the same source.
The prints matched.
This is what so many people looked for 18 years.
In 2005, Jonathan pleaded guilty to several crimes, including the one against Gary Larson. The judge sentenced him to life in prison. This next chapter is about a fugitive who escaped for 28 years, but was caught because of a routine traffic stop. The expired license plate. Fugitives on the FBI's most wanted list are usually the hardest to find. The one that was caught in the simplest way possible. There was no FBI raid undercover operation. This fugitive was caught because he broke down the wrong road. The fugitive we're talking about was named Mohammed. He was just a teenager. He ended his life. His victim wasn't a stranger. It was Mohammed's close friend and Jaffer Tucker. The crime happened at a train station in Atlanta. Mohammed and Jaffer were standing together on the platform. And for reasons they're still unclear, Mohammed attacked him. After the crime, Mohammed ran. He fled Georgia and moved to South Carolina. There he started a new life under a fake name. Ray second. For years, the FBI had no idea where he was hiding. They circulated his photo and offered a reward for information, leading to his arrest. But the tips never came. 1 year passed to 10, 20, eventually 28 years went by. And the FBI was no closer to catching Mohammed. And after nearly 3 decades on the run, he ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time. On August 16, 2022, a deputy Georgia was monitoring traffic for expired license plates. As cars passed by, her scanner automatically checked each registration, and one vehicle triggered an alert. The registration was expired, so the deputy pulled the driver over. The entire stop was recorded on the officer's body cam. The driver handed over his identification. The name on the ID was Ray second. When the deputy checked his records, she found more problems. His license was suspended. His car also had no insurance, and then she had to arrest him. The driver begged her to let him go. He claimed he had a family emergency.
So I did not have children. I was at and household.
The deputy followed procedure. She placed him in handcuffs, and the jail officer began the normal booking process. They scanned his fingerprints. That scan revealed his real identity.
A fingerprint check at the jail identified Seckham as Mohammed bin Amin, wanted for the fatal shooting of 18-year-old Jaffer Tucker.
The officers were stunned. What started as a routine traffic stop turned into the arrest of an FBI fugitive. The next day, the headlines read, man wanted for nearly 28 years in Atlanta. Murder finally captured during routine traffic stop. Once officers realized who he was, Mohammed was sent back to Atlanta to face charges. He's currently awaiting trial as of this video. These criminals spent decades looking over their shoulder, waiting for the moment they all fell apart. They built their own prison before they even got caught. So my friends, make sure you build a life that you don't have time for. Visual lecture. Wait for you, I have a video about missing children who turned up alive years later. We talked about a girl who hid for 5 years while a man faced prison for murder. A woman who was at a party in Woke up in Mexico, and a kidnapped boy held captive just for 1 hour.
This house, click here. Watch it, let me beast. What are you gonna make here? What are you gonna make here? That. Look at me double. Adam West. He had some moves.
You
can pry Windows 10 from my cold, dead hands is probably what a lot of people say, despite Microsoft ending support for Windows 10 back in October 2025. But Microsoft has further extended the last official way to still get security updates for Windows 10 so you can keep using it and stay secure on it. They originally did this for 1 year. They called it extended security updates, and they said basically that you can still keep using it. Technically, there was a price to it, but you could also get it for free if you just logged in with a Microsoft account, so it was effectively free, and then you could keep getting security updates and not have to worry about exploits and stuff like that. And they just recently announced that they're going to extend that for another year, so at least until the end of September 2027. Now, I kind of suspected that they would do this because they're already making the extended security updates for 3 years. They do that at the end of life of every major version of the operating system. They did it for Windows 7, they're doing it for Windows 10, and originally it was just for businesses. I talked about this in the past, where businesses tend to be a lot slower to transition. They kind of drag their feet, so they charge a fee to keep doing extended security updates, and businesses can pay to get them for up to 3 years. The price increases every year to pressure them to upgrade to the next version, and because there were so many people still using Windows 10, they decided, well, we'll give it to regular consumers basically for free. And they only did it for 1 year though, and I believe that was probably not going to be only for 1 year forever, because I think if they had just come out of the gate and said, yeah, we'll give it 3 more years for free, then people just never thought of upgrading Windows 11. But ultimately, they still want people to upgrade, so I figured what they might do is say, well, it's only for a year, and then as they got closer to the end of that year, they would extend it another year. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it yet another time, and then after 3 years, they probably wouldn't, because that's when they would stop doing it for businesses as well. And really, they're having to lose by just offering these extended security updates to consumers that are doing it for businesses, but they're not going to do it beyond it. Now, if you are still using Windows 10, I really hope that you're already enrolled in these extended security updates. Again, it is effectively free. People say, oh, there's $30 it's really not. You can log in with Microsoft account, enable the updates, and log right back out again, even if you are not already logging in Microsoft account for log. And I hope you're talking about how to do this, I can put the link pop out, but you probably already know about this if you're still using Windows 10. And you might be wondering just how many people are still using Windows 10. And the latest statistics show a pretty decent chunk. It's around 26% based on the stat counter stats. It really dropped off starting around December, but then since then it kind of has leveled off. It's not really dropping off. I wouldn't be surprised that's kind of why they decided to just announce they're extending it again, because especially in the day of computers getting more expensive, then they're probably expecting not so many people are going to upgrade, because people who could without needing a hardware upgrade probably already did, and that just leaves the rest of the people who can't, even if they get to October and it's only down 20%, and that's still, it's sort of like a perfect storm of reasons not to upgrade. Some people, you got hardware requirements, a lot of people, even if they want to, they can't. And so the question for a lot of people is, okay, well, do I buy another computer or just using Windows 10? And with the price of RAM and SSDs skyrocketing, it makes way less sense to buy a computer just to be able to use Windows 11, especially when they have these extended security updates and they just extend it. I think probably Windows 10 is going to hang on for a while longer. I am actually a little bit surprised that they announced this early, that they were going to be extending the extended security updates for another year. I would probably just wait until the deadline.
Extend it to 2030.
We keep waiting until the last minute to announce it, then at one time we finally release it, deadline, so then people kind of will have to rush for it to be secure. So if they announce it in June, those times they're going to do it again next year. Then that way people think the final time
after 2030, reasonable to just discontinue. Until then, just
not likely, almost certainly not. I did talk about this in a previous video about why exactly Microsoft implemented these hardware restrictions on Windows 11, where they put it in previous versions, and there is a reason for it. It's not arbitrary, and it's actually because Windows 11 was so bad that previous versions had security features built in the computer as opposed to just having it wired like a version of Windows 10, and it would have been complicated that people wouldn't use. I'll have to link that video, but there is a reason why Windows 11 has hardware restrictions. It's not a cash grab, but many people are saying, but that also means that you shouldn't really expect them to remove these hardware requirements. If you don't want to know the actual reason Windows 11 has hardware requirements, I'll put a link to that video. Now, a lot of people talk about this, so of course, if you want to be helpful, sure, thumbs up, really does help. I'll also put a link to the video about how to enroll in extended
Updates if you haven't already. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah. It's over. Sound so we don't have a link.
Video essays were once YouTube's bread and butter. Now they're more like YouTube's laughingstock of... Video essays were once YouTube's bread and butter. Now they're more like YouTube's laughingstock of lazy slog. But did these 10 to 700 minute videos really change, or was it us that changed? I've noticed that video essays are raking in less views but more criticism than ever before. We're calling them too similar, too repetitive, too boring, yet too experimental. All of these things beg the question, are video essays a thing of the past? Today I want to go over why video essays suck so hard now, and then we're going to try to predict where the future of YouTube is headed. To understand the current landscape of video essays, we have to go back to the beginning. The color TV was invented in shut the fuck up dork. We are not doing that shit here. The first issue with video essays is all the goddamn fluff, and we all know why they do this. Longer videos means more ads means more money means more Johnny Test merchandise you can buy. I understand that sometimes you gotta provide some background for the topic you're talking about. When I'm talking about Toontown, I should explain I'm talking about the game made by Disney that had you goofing around cream pieing business robots until it was shut down in 2013. But that doesn't mean I have to sit here and tell you that Disney company was founded by Walt Disney, whose head may or may not be frozen. I know who Walt Disney is. I've seen his frozen head before. Another thing that makes me just so giddy and happy when I'm watching a YouTube video is when they pause the video every 12 seconds to insert a slightly relevant news clip or like meme react clip.
It's called the devious lip challenge.
Extra bonus boner points if the volume is just completely fucked. Like they narrate it at this nice talking volume, but then every clip they throw in is so loud it has your necktie blowing behind you like that old cassette ad. Again, sometimes you do have to paint a picture by providing some background or throwing in some relevant clips from other sources, but let's not pretend this isn't done to compensate for something else half the time. People can tell when you're padding out your video, and personally I don't understand why you guys need to pad out your videos. I need the opposite of padding. I'm constantly having to cut shit out of these fucking works of art to keep them slim. You know what makes flipping your videos so easy though? A little thing called AI, which oh my god is so prevalent in the video essay community right now. From idea generation to scripting to narrating to B-roll to eventually editing and uploading, some channels have no issue using AI for everything. At that point it makes you wonder, what are you living for? I get you want to make a passive income with one simple click, but if you can't even be bothered to write a video essay, one of the easiest forms of self-expression, then what are your interests in life? Do you have thoughts? Are you human? When you get all that hypothetical money in your bank account, what do you use it for? Also, AI should go somewhere. There's sites that show you a visual of this. As a viewer of content, I can also use AI to not view content. We truly are living in virtual insanity, aren't we? I can get everything summarized so I don't have to sit through 18 minutes of One Direction fanfiction, but I had so many other things I wanted to get done today, like summarize this 24-minute video about the most referenced paintings. Now here's where I tell you, just don't use the AI summary if you don't want to, and you go, okay, thanks, I won't. And then I tell you it's because there's a better way to not watch YouTube videos with YouTube Premium's new auto speed feature. This cool new feature speeds past those pesky intros and title cards some dumbass animator spent hours creating and any boring fluff that isn't market stimulation. Then this is the part where we hit. That's enough bad talk about AI. Let's talk about the good side of AI, like how YouTube uses AI to understand what your video is about to present it only to people interested in said subject rather than a generalized audience of random people who don't give two squirts about it. Oh wait, it doesn't do that. Does not do that. Student loans, giant snakes, online safety. These are just some of the scariest things I can think of off the top of my head. But here's the thing, I have a solution for one of those fears. Today's partner I talk about a lot of things on the channel. I understand that not everything I talk about is interesting to everyone, but it still blows my mind how badly the recommended system sucks eggs. If we're using AI to scrub my content to the point where the AI knows everything about the video, then why is it showing 50-year-old moms videos only a 20-year-old attractive young man would be interested in? Like, by the way, I'm not just complaining because it means my videos underperform, not to mention a bunch of much bigger channels I've talked to are also dealing with this issue, but I'm complaining because I never get anything relevant in my recommended feed. I never get anything good in there. I have to fight for that shit through hundreds and hundreds of stupid memes I pulled YouTube countless times I'm not interested in. I don't want to see this. Get this off of my feed. I think a proper recommended system is crucial because it helps more niche videos reach the audiences they deserve. And that is super important for video essays because that shit can get niche, like scary niche. Like maybe we're running out of ideas niche. When everyone can upload to YouTube, but it's mostly just dudes in their 20s making video essays, original ideas can run a little dry. I personally don't subscribe to this belief, but I know that a lot of people think that every YouTube video essay is the same thing and that all the good ideas are gone. Yes, a lot of ideas are repeated, but that's just how art works. I feel like I'm gonna get Mangione for calling video essays art. When you see video number 242 about why modern gaming sucks, it's easy to assume, oh my god, I've seen this 242 times before. You grew up and you don't have a bunch of free time to play video games anymore. And you might be right. A lot of the times the video is just that. But I would argue that the majority of the time it isn't just that. Video essays are popular because they are so versatile. 100 people can tackle the same subject and not only provide new information, but take completely different angles. Maybe Tony over here hates modern gaming because he doesn't like microtransactions. Meanwhile, I think modern gaming sucks because there aren't enough thick Russians anymore. These kinds of thick Russians. I don't want to dismiss your feelings about video essays though. They are valid. I don't know how many videos I've watched that are just 90% reading Wikipedia articles or regurgitating opinions I've heard a million times before. Being relatable and saying predictable things is fine when you're using it to lay the foundation for your thesis. You can't build a Minecraft house without first building a big L on the ground. But dude, when the majority of your video is just things that people already think or believe, you're not adding anything. The best video essays start with something familiar and then dive deeper into it to provide a completely new and interesting perspective. People see someone else do something and think I could do that, and honestly you can, but the truth is you're not going to get those numbers that those people got. The harsh reality is that's not really something you can prevent when you're starting out. Sure, we might all think this video sucks, but it might be a necessary step the pondering light bulb here needs to take to eventually get to creating beautiful, incredible art. What's making all this worse is the meta of YouTube. You can't fight it as a small guy. I'm not even small, dude. I'm hitting 38 this year, standing tall at 6'5", and I'm still struggling with it. 245 pounds of lean muscle at it. And so are huge channels that are much bigger than mine. You might be tired of thumbnails like this or titles like that, but guess what, dude? It fucking works. It works better than anything else. I'm gonna give you guys a little inside scoop here. When you see a creator's thumbnail that you just absolutely hate, we also hate it. YouTube lets you test both thumbnails and titles. Whichever gets the most view time wins and becomes the final thumbnail. So next time you think, oh my god, bro, stop changing your thumbnail, know that we aren't doing it. YouTube is. If you hate the final one that gets chosen, just know that you're part of the reason why it's there. It's literally the one you prefer. I'm telling you, no one on YouTube is not using these features. Everything you see is literally the best performing version of what they made. Whether it's ugly and sucks does not matter. It is working, and you're not gonna choose a thumbnail that isn't working. Why would you do that? Why would you actively shoot yourself in the foot? There's nothing on modern YouTube that isn't done without data to back it. I believe this is actively killing video essays. Every single one has to be presented in the same cookie cutter way to see any ounce of success. No matter how deep you dive into the topic, no matter how original your content is, no matter how much effort you put into writing and editing and whatever the hell else, if people are not clicking your video, none of that work gets rewarded. Creators are suffering because of this. I know so many people who feel trapped in the same cycle because every time they experiment, they are punished for it. Every time they deviate from this rancid thumbnail format, they are punished for it. Every time they go into the West Coast without checking in with me first, they are punished for it. And wow, little YouTubers are crying about stupid little things that affect their pricey little livelihoods, but it also affects YouTube. You're stuck getting the same shit on your feed over and over and over. And admit it, you want to be famous on here. We all do. We all claim to miss the old YouTube when people were just making shit for fun and getting rewarded for it. And so many creative people are doing so many creative ideas. And don't get me wrong, there are still so many incredible creative people on here. The issue is now that people are recognizing the video essay meta, the whole genre is being blended into one gentrified mess of mustaches, mullets, and hyperboles. I honestly did not know I had a mullet until I got hundreds of comments letting me know I have a gay-looking mullet and I look like a mullet. I'm aware of these things now, guys. Don't worry. Loud and clear. I thought a mullet looked like this. Apparently it looks like this. I promise you, we all have different things to say, even if it looks like we are talking about the same thing. Every video takes a completely different take. YouTube lets you be creative and do anything, except it doesn't, because we only engage with things that we instantly understand. Myself included, dude. I'm part of the problem. It incentivizes you to make the most wide appeal video and then sneakily sprinkle in creativity once you get people hooked. But it's obvious that video essays are dying. If I want to be a YouTuber and still put food on the table, then I need to adapt to the changing times. I think it's time I pivot into a different style of video.
It's just hours and hours long.
I'm literally outside of Target where I have to survive the next 7 minutes inside of, or I have to quit joking forever. Okay, let's go. I have to survive 7 minutes inside this Target or I will have to quit joking forever. I'm literally gonna get water. Target water's literally so fire. Yo, why do you have so much lotion, bro? Sus. I'm genuinely gonna need this if I want to survive 7 more minutes inside Target. Let's see if they have the best chocolate in the world. We're gonna want to stock up on this for nutrients. This is literally the best chocolate in the world. We need to vacuum this small port. This stuff is literally so fire. This stuff is literally so fire. I'm literally starting so bad right now, guys. I don't know if I can make it. It's like timer. It's time for an ad break. I'm literally so bored. And no Mr. Beast video is complete without a giveaway. So today we will be giving, kind of expensive, so I'm gonna be giving away a whole Mr. Feastables bar. I literally actually can't read this shit. Do you mind reading this thing? I'm doing like a vlog. You just have to read it off. It's just for like 2 seconds. No, it's literally for 2 seconds. Okay, whatever. Make sure you rip off my thumbnails. This is when things got real. Oh my god, I actually literally love these things. Whoa, that was close. This literally looks just like me. I can't believe it. Down to the eyes. Oh, yo. There's literally poop in here. I can make it to the bathroom in time. It's fine. I admit it. Guys, I'm going a little crazy here. We've been here for, I don't even know how long it's been. It feels like forever. I'm hungry. I'm sweaty. I haven't showered in 4 days. I know the time's 7 minutes and 4 days to shower. And I actually feel like we might need to call it quits and just tell the crew that I don't know. That's my idea. What if we did $1 dog versus $1,000 dog? This literally looks like me as a baby. I literally thought it was over. What the hell? This literally looks like me as a baby. Bro, this looks like me as a baby. I'm not even kidding. Zoom in on that. What the hell? Bro, that actually looks like me as a baby. Bro, what? That looks like me as a baby. This is when things got real. I literally thought it was over here. I literally thought it was over here. We finally made it to 7 minutes. I'm literally so relieved. I thought I was gonna pass away. I was literally so genuinely relieved here. Oh, the freedom literally feels so good. And we're here. We're ready to give away our Mr. Feastables Feastable Caramel Feastable Bar. Let's find our first victim. Recipient. It's AI over that. Hi. Hi. So we're just doing giveaways for the Mr. Feastables new caramel flavor. And maybe one. Thank you. Thank you. That was Loki Fire, and they said they loved the bar.
This video is made possible thanks to our patrons and viewers like you. We need your money.
The fuck? Oh yeah, okay. For porn.
I've got a fast connection so I don't have to wait.
For porn.
There's always some new site.
For porn.
I browse all day and night.
For porn.
It's like I'm surfing at the speed of light.
For porn. The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn.
What are you doing?
Why you think the net was born? Porn.
Trekkie.
Oh, hello, Kid Monster.
You are ruining my song.
Oh, sorry, me no mean to.
Well, if you wouldn't mind please being quiet for a minute so I can finish.
Okie dokie.
Good. I'm glad we have this new technology.
For porn.
Which gives us untold opportunity.
For porn. Oh, sorry.
From your own desktop.
For.
You can research, browse, and shop until you've had enough and you're ready to stop.
For porn. The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn. Me up all night plugging me porn to porn.
That's gross. You're a pervert.
Sticks and stones, Kid Monster.
No, really, you're a pervert. Normal people don't sit at home and look at porn on the internet.
Oh?
What?
You have no idea. Ready, normal people? Ready.
Ready?
Let me hear it.
Internet is for porn. Sorry, Kate. Internet is for porn. I masturbate.
All these guys unzip their flies for porn.
The internet is not for porn. Hold on a second.
Wow.
Now, I happen to know for a fact that you, Rod, check your portfolio and trade stocks online.
That's correct.
And Brian, you buy things on Amazon.com.
Sure.
And Gary, you keep selling your possessions on eBay.
Yes, I do.
And Princeton, you sent me that sweet online birthday card.
True. Oh, but Kate, what you think you do after?
Yeah.
The internet is for porn. The internet is for porn.
I hate porn.
Grab your dick and double click for porn.
I hate the internet. I hate the internet.
The internet is for internet is for porn. Ah.
Yes.
Hello, and thank you, dear viewers, and of course, special thanks to our dearest patrons. This video definitely will get demonetized for copyright, so every contribution from you, our dear audience, is welcome. And on that note, I would also like to thank you, my dear audience, for without you, this channel probably wouldn't have existed for 20 years. That's right. This video, as well as every video I will be posting at least once a month till the end of the year, is an old project that has been sitting on the shelf, almost completed, but for one reason or another, I just couldn't finish it. Well, this year, we celebrate the road it took us to get here by finishing up some old videos and polishing them up a smidge. How old? Think 10 or more years old. That's how old. This channel is ancient. Since the dawn of YouTube, there was just too much work put into them and just letting them gather dust for eternity. So what better way to celebrate the 20th anniversary of this channel than to look back and post videos that should have been posted a long ass time ago. I'm also working on a very special video this year. It's different from the normal, but let's just say I think it's very important, as I really did feel I undervalued previous channel anniversaries. And I really want to have a look back at how this channel, along with myself, evolved. Once again, we are very thankful for your support.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the permanent AI underclass. GPT 5.6 is being restricted by the US government, much like Fable is restricted by the US government. Although we believe that's going to be available fairly soon, although we'll probably have...
Let me pause.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the permanent AI underclass. GPT 5.6 is being restricted by the US government, much like Fable is restricted by the US government. Although we believe that's going to be available fairly soon, although we'll probably have more stringent safeguards attached to it. So what is happening? The massive TLDR here is basically this. I told you so, but I don't think that's really takes a genius perspective to have worked that out. It was obvious the US government were going down this path. The moment they restricted access to Mythos and restricted access to Fable, it is simply them saying, look, we are not going to allow frontier models out into the public anymore. So me and you will never ever have access to these models when they become available. They will go out to select partners. They will get the advantage from these models. Now, this opens an entire debate into whether what's going on with the US AI economy, what's happening with China with its open weight source models, is that going to start eating away the US monopoly of frontier models? Do you need the super duper frontier models that work unless they've got insane capability, which is pushing the boundaries forward? It's a very complex question because you've got to remember, Anthropic and OpenAI, they rely on dollars to build data centers, to build these models out. So they need customers. So the US government is effectively restricting customer base. It doesn't matter if you're based in the US and, like, as we know, the US government said, look, we only want US citizens to have access to Fable. We still don't know whether that's going to be the case going forward when it's released again. But really, that's not great either because that's saying like your market is restricted. It seems smaller, and a lot of these AI companies, all evaluations, you know, it's based on their massive total addressable markets of the world in selling AI, which it looks like they'll be able to. Got some currency guys. Also, I haven't got some glasses on, like I'm still going indoors to do it's because of my glasses. I don't know. I think I've got them somewhere. I need to go and drive and get them. But anyway, I need my prescription and these prescriptions. Okay, so here's the post from OpenAI, and they say we believe in broad access to GPT 5.6 Sol, Terra, and Luna generally available in the coming weeks. But now, with the request of the US government, we're starting with a limited preview among small groups of partners in Codex and the API. So again, we've seen rumors of Fable being used by the US government, and NSA using it and been attacking everyone with it, and now it's like once they've got the grips with it, they're defending against it, then they can make sort of reduced versions that are available to people. All this kind of madness going on, but that's true or not, we don't know. But this is a statement straight from OpenAI. The government is holding the trigger launch. So we've got a lot of Sam Altman content, and this post, it pisses me off because it's like, no, okay, I'm terrible at selling, my grammar's terrible and everything, but you think if you were making a post about something of this magnitude, you would like, look at it, I don't know. Or maybe he has the AI model generated to make it a lot more human to add errors. Anyway, good news first, always good news. And the solid smart efficient snippets forward is the same price as GPT 5.5, also launching the GPT 5 family, Terra 5.5 performance of, right? We know that the price is a big issue, right? I'll show you some open route and mobile track, how many tokens get generated by various models. Well, the latest AI models, the latest models, very expensive, and companies and people are increasingly moving the open source models, which is bad news for these guys. And this is bad news. The request of the US government is launching today in limited preview instead of the open access launch. Hang on, we're with the government to get general availability as fast as we can. I think it's quite reasonable to roll out models, especially as they reach significant new level of capability. In this way, if it's a long-haul strategy, deployment, but this isn't quite the process of something. So he likes it, he doesn't like it. But I've got to say this, I do think it's a watershed moment of this level of AI model on the frontier that is quote-unquote too powerful, so it's never going to be available to the public. And so that goes without saying that the next model is not going to be available. And the next model, and this is where people start talking about, permanent AI underclass. If you don't have access to these models and they end up doing essential work at a speed and a quality that is required, then you're going to fall behind. And we've in previous videos I've spoken about when you look at Europe, you look at the lack of sovereign AI capability in Europe. And if you go to a dystopian future of Europe, every single European country is relying on US AI models, and the US goes, yeah, you can't have a latest one. We're going to keep a latest one for a few months before we give it to you, so we get the benefit of it. You're always going to be behind them. They can keep you behind. Now, on a geopolitical sort of government's like scale, and you say that's in some ways quite a clever thing to do. You can make everybody rely on you. You can restrict access to them. You can keep yourself in front. This is what empires have done all throughout history, right? The empire, the home country of the empire, uses all of its colonies to enrich itself. And in a lot of ways, this is becoming the American AI empire. Now, of course, there is kickback against this. You've got the Chinese open models, and you've got maybe Europe sorting its own working its own AI project. I think we're way beyond now just moaning at AI and saying it's garbage. This is what we don't want. It's here. It's now. It's doing work. I know it's direct price to consumer electronics. I hate what it's game and all this stuff, but it's here and we've got to deal with it. And the US are running and in charge of the top-end models. Although again, there is debate whether the Chinese models are that far behind. And I don't know, it's just crazy. It's crazy world we're living. We'll talk ever about that. Anyway, it goes to say now we will the government do exactly what we were working to the government to attempt to get a transparent, reliable process of early access and to ensure that as long as our safeguards we can release widely, we want to be a reliable dependable partner that works with all stakeholders. And we also want to buy a mission anything will be managed. Of course, this isn't really happening. It's anything the US government. Again, I've got to say, these companies, and I've got to really stress this point, OpenAI and Anthropic, they depend on a massive addressable market to make money. And if they are being told they can only service the US market, weeks after their models launch, that's really cutting down on the global market because people are going to want that models and they will pay for it. The US government is saying, hold on a minute, you can't do that. So this is really going to curtail their revenue generation. And again, that's all based on their stock market valuation. And obviously, the stock market itself, several companies invested in AI. But these companies, OpenAI and Anthropic, are going under. But what's going to happen to the economy? It's going to get absolutely wrecked. So it seems like a totally insane position to restrict these models. Anyway, he says, I believe the government shares most of our goals and that they are overall doing a good job in a very difficult situation. Again, you guys remember back the whole Department of War, Anthropic got thrown out the same day, OpenAI walk in, and they're like, yes, Mr. Government, we'll do whatever you say. Although Anthropic since had their issues like allowing their model to use in various scenarios, and one view, the list just goes on and on. This is not simple. This is it's a very good mess, basically. It's just all works. You can get the model in your hands, and we hope you will love it. So then he's directly asked by users. He says, I'll take question, ask me question. So this user says, do we think we will get the model worldwide or only US? Working hard for worldwide. I think this is basically no, you're not going to get it worldwide. You're just going to get it in the US. Like I said, if you're a US citizen, the data centers being built in your country, these are US companies. Shouldn't you be benefiting from them? But I don't think that's true because these companies are investing around the world in them. Again, any customers from around the world generate enough revenue to justify their crazy expenditure. So I think it's crazy. And also, this just isn't American. I don't know electric on being American. But it seems to me that the land of the free is not very free when it comes to AI models. Yet China is, and China definitely isn't the land of the free. That is the land of the authoritarian government. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? So look at Anthropic again. She's spending a lot of time on Twitter, but I still refuse to buy Twitter Premium as well. I'm still salty when they put my original verified up because I was a content creator. I did just pay $10 now. Bloody blue tick. Anyway, Anthropic tweeted this, right? This is like only a few hours ago. And they say, since June 12th, we've been working closely with the US government to restore access to Mythos 5 and Fable 5 today. The government notified us that Mythos 5, a strongly cybersecurity model, can be redeployed to a set of US organizations to operate and implement. So again, this is treating AI like a weapon and giving it only to critical US companies to give them the advantage. We're restoring access to these organizations quickly, and we're continuing to work with the government to expand access to Mythos 5 and make Fable 5 available to general use again. Now, possibly it's going to be available to general use again. It is. It's probably going to have massive guardrails to it. But again, this is the whole thing of when we are going into a world where the latest AI models will not be available. I'm not saying we will need the latest AI models where the work is being done. They will not be available on these systems. Right? That is the future we are going into. It's all going to be controlled by the US government. So what they got, Sam Altman and Dario Amodei, is a dollar value problem. They need their models to be out there in the public. Fastest models is the standing point. They're racing each other to get them out. This model's fastest, you weeks later. Our model's fast, bang, 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 bang. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to release highly specialized, fast, more efficient. They are more expensive models. Models can get the job done, whatever that job may be, whether it's coding or whatever. Obviously, Anthropic will always start the lead in that department. But the problem is when they are being told to restrict their market, because this is all these companies do, right? They provide an AI model that you can pay them to use tokens, right? So you can pay them for access to the model, burn tokens, your budget goes and give them more money, you go. If they're restricting that to the US, then they're going to make a problem. You could again, you know, devil's advocate against that. Okay, but these companies become so intrinsic to other companies' operations, then they can actually charge them anything they like. It doesn't matter about public access. Maybe that's their long-term plan. I don't know. But why I want to pop this up here is this is OpenAI. Now, it looks according to reports that they are considering delaying the IPO to 2027 because of the state of the SpaceX very rocky IPO. Now, if you follow SpaceX, it went up like crazy. It was worth more than Amazon. Then it's like tanking. Now it's below its IPO level because SpaceX doesn't have the profits or revenue or anything. But those companies that are worth multiple trillions, it was hyped up and it will be hyped up for a very long time. It's an e-commerce company, so you'll know what those companies are like. But this is what OpenAI is, right? This is what essentially Anthropic is. And OpenAI, I feel like they're going to be the sort of slowest one on the market here, right? So we've got SpaceX here, Anthropic's going to hit, and OpenAI's going to hit. But with Anthropic, will they decide practically later, right? It's going to be interesting. I'll tell you what, I love Games Next. If you don't follow Games Next, you should. YouTube channel's amazing. Now don't forget, right? Because Anthropic are waging a war against Chinese open source open models, distilling their models and then regurgitating them in new models. They don't like that. But remember, how did Anthropic build their models in the first place? Well, they stole all of the information on the internet. In fact, Anthropic famous for basically buying shitloads of books, scanning them in some sort of process that destroyed the bot to feed the training of their models, right? So who the hell are they to moan about this when they nick everyone else's shit? You know what I mean? What? Okay, let's talk about OpenRouter, right? So what models getting used, right? Where are the tokens being generated? Now this, we're going to take a look at the models from this week, right? So you can see DeepSeek is leading the charge, right? Mimo is number 2, right? You'll see a list, pattern here. Chinese open source models and Chinese models are leading the way here. You've got Anthropic 6, they could also 8, 10, GPT 5, well, they're losing market share to US giants, and this has been going on for a while, and they're losing it to open source models. Now, there's a world we're going into where you're going to have your own AI model. We've known this for a while. You're going to have models running on your devices that do specific tasks, right? Whether on your mobile phone, whether on your PC. This is the world we're moving into. Just like the question, do you even need these high-end models anyway? But that's why it works. And I don't know, this is an economy. I think it's very hard to get going. I think you've got frontier models, which they're all built on stolen data. But frontier models are able to do certain things. You know, we've all seen the sort of Mythos saying, oh my god, it's found vulnerabilities in like government systems and hack everything. It's insane. You know, that type of stuff going on. You're not going to be able to do that with some DeepSeek model you download on your own computer. Yes, but you might be able to in a year's time when they get going to do that. Then what we're going into? What world is that? Everyone's got like these devastating powerful AI models and telling them to go and do this. Is this why the US government is restricting the frontier models? To say like, no, you guys have got to keep the lead of compute, keep the lead of model training. We've got to always stay ahead of the game. We can't show people these models because it's a national security issue. It's crazy. This is actually crazy. I don't sit here for hours and hours talk about this. I think the fact is this: the latest frontier models on the apparently unless you Google, because I don't know what's going on with Google models, are not released for a while. It's like a mark of failure if you don't get restricted by the US government. It's like you want them restricted. It's like a badge of honor. Yes, models going to be restricted anyway. These frontier companies, frontier labs, are just going to, I don't know what, like increasingly service select partners who are going to be, you know, mega cap US companies. They're biggest investors in the US government. And then what's that mean for the rest of the world? And you know, is that world we want to go into? I don't know. It just doesn't seem very free or very open market. But I don't know. You guys don't know anything about this kind of work. I think it's very contentious topic. There's a lot of discourse here. I think it's bollocks. I think we should all be allowed access to it. Now, based in the UK, right, we don't have our own AI models. We use US models, one of the latest. But it's all downloading Chinese models. Does this mean the US just launched its own AI, its own AI models, and other companies, maybe the European Union itself, said no, we're not going to use US models because they can turn the switch off. Or actually, this is something which might happen. What happens if data centers start getting built out in Europe and they're actually hosting the models? So they host a fable by that, it's a fable practice, it's not the US jurisdiction. What then happens to Anthropic? Because they're US company. That could be a mental world we could go into. But anyway, I would say, if I was America, I'd like all of our allies to access the stuff, and I'd go, that's clearly not okay, that's not going to happen. So yeah, welcome to the permanent AI look at everyone going, right, so stay together, I haven't got too intimidating. I can see, we're taking them off, but I can't read my monitor, but no, I'll get back on. Anyway, follow me after this, and I'll catch you on the next video soon. I'm ready, my friends!
Oh, hold on. Yep, sucks. Oh yeah, garbage, you could make everything so much more expensive. In order to use it, you gotta verify yourself. And hope that it's not a problem whatsoever. Don't lie to yourself like that. Right, so
I'm ready, my friends. Giddy up. Yes! Job well done. Practice in front of that mirror. Now you doing it on the dance floor. This is exciting. What the son of a... Oh, I can't wait!
Hop there!
Wunderbar! Hell, that was easy. You are stupid! Say hi. Yeah! Pony up, boys! Wonderful! Another satisfied customer. Damn it! Holy Mary, mother of maggot! Is there a point to your lives? Prepare for your examination. Throwing a grenade. Green grape. Red or blue?
You cannot beat me! Ah!
Final round. Fight to the death.
I'm coming!
And but that was good. Let me read the last line. Did I hear?
From now on, losing
Was it a
is
collab or
important.
not? Because yeah, I know it was mimicking other people's style, but was it mimicking or was it collab? Probably not. Yep. Very good. Oh, very good. But so it's still coming in. Right. It's more like a like premiere video. No, it's live.
Welcome back to Slop Live. Today's Slop, you will own nothing and be happy. Sony has recently been contacting users who bought movies on the PlayStation Store, announcing they were removing 551 movies like Terminator 2 and Recall, as these movies were distributed by Studio Now and their licensing run out. And of course, there's no reimbursement or refunds, as you can't agree to this when you buy anything on basically any digital store. It can just be taken away at a moment's notice. One user posting an email he received saying, as of September 1st, all your previously purchased content will be removed from your library. Thank you, PlayStation Store. And that's it. Also, gotta love the email ending with PlayStation Slogan Play has no limits. I guess it does have all this licensing runs out. This isn't the
I
first
will
time Sony has done this,
pirate
so why would you
everything.
Amazon?
I'm
And once again,
gonna be
reminder,
happy about
and
it.
piracy is always morally correct. Nothing like remembering the importance of media after Xbox 6 announced that we don't this. It's also not looking too great over Xbox either. Earlier this week, the CEO of Xbox saying that gaming is facing accessibility crisis, and people are being priced out as consoles and games now cost more and more, which is true. Even the prices of PCs have become insane lately, and it's nice to see a CEO aware of this, and I'm sure this won't age
Oh,
zero.
I
And then 2
thought it
decades
was
later, Xbox announced that they're
old
raising the prices
news.
of the models by 100 USD and 150
I thought
USD,
it was
so
old
announcing
news
those
at this
to
point.
I don't think anyone's going to buy an Xbox in the first place, so I'm not sure the price hike's going to help. Gaming is cooked, but thankfully, Fall Guys is free. Thanks.
Or
Slot it on.
free but no longer available on Steam apparently, from what I remember. So not so free when I'm gonna install this shitty launcher. But yeah. Holy shit. This Chinese crap out of nowhere here. Oh, I think I had this video recommended, if not a similar one, like a long time ago. Oh. Oh no, it's after 2 hours and a half. Finally, I had to substitute watch later stuff. Yep. I think it's the same one for that's the GPT thing again. If I'm guessing right.
Hello guys and gals, me Mood Harlock is changing in the next week, okay? So again, I know that I've been talking a lot about this internet mass surveillance demon, but you know, I made a video like a few days ago, you know, I was telling you your computer is in danger, right? You know what I mean? Like, hey, listen, we're at a point where computers are getting really expensive. There's a conspiracy that, hey, maybe the powers above us don't really want us owning all of our computers, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, there's also a whole set of other laws that we're looking at where your control and your freedom on the internet is very limited. Now, as a guy who's made a lot of virus investigation videos, I pretty much explored every single aspect of the dark web, the goofiest sides that I can show you and have a good time with. And one thing that I've learned is a lot of content that I made is only possible because the internet is this free last bastion of real human freedom. That's why I'm so fucking passionate about making sure it remains free and accessible in the future. Now, I understand the internet is a dangerous place. If you have children, it is not like back in the day. Back in the day, I used to go on MSN Messenger and play some goddamn pool with friends. Now I'm sure kids are going on Discord and Roblox and fucking fighting predator after predator, okay? But given the internet and the propensity for danger, I think parents should have a lot of personal involvement in their kids' lives, okay? Look, kids don't get access to phones and tablets and computers out of nowhere. And if they do, you as parents should probably keep an eye on it. No, if they do, and then make sure that you implement the parental controls that are built into these devices to prevent kids from accessing parts of the internet or talking to people that they probably shouldn't, okay? Look, you brought kids into this world, it's time to fucking take care of them, okay? You don't just have to worry about the predators outside the house, you have to worry about the predators in the internet tubes, okay? And that's up to you. You gotta be able to fight back. You have to be able to protect your kid everywhere, okay? Sorry to say, kids are a full-time responsibility. You brought them in, you take care of them. The goddamn nanny state can't. Now, next week there is this big push on a bunch of laws, right? So this is known as the Act, and it's a package of different laws. And we talked about probably every single one of them. So in the next week, literally the next week, a bunch of lawmakers, instead of debating these individual proposals, they're gonna push them through an ultra-expedited process. So basically, if you care about your free, and most of my viewers are American, and you Americans can do all of this myself. Go onto your own search engine, go to that, or any search engine you trust, look up the representatives that live in your zip code, in your state, in your writing, and you know what? Look at their email, look at their phone number, and call them and tell them you don't like this poop, okay? That's the best you can do. And here's the thing, people are like, oh, that's not gonna do anything. Brother, it's better than sitting there and doing nothing, okay? When I say fight back, I ain't saying get a fucking musket and run out on the horse and lay siege to everything you see. That would be against the terms of service. But I am saying use the power of democracy to make sure everything goes in your fucking favor. Maybe you can give it a try. That is the best thing you can do. Because at least if you do that, you can have the moral superiority over everyone else that didn't even fucking try. Say, look, at least I did something. At least I tried. But here's the thing, if you don't do anything, these scumbag politicians, it doesn't matter what side you're on. This is one of the reasons why I have a really big thing for a lot of the political talking heads on the website. Or I'm not a political channel, but at the end of the day, if this was your bread and butter, shouldn't you as a channel probably talk about this and explain that your freedom is on the fucking line? That mass surveillance here. The fact that individuals like me, people like fucking Louis Rossman are talking about this is such a fucking slap in the face for individuals. It shows me that everybody involved in the whole left, right, all this crap is just a whole bunch of fucking losers that have no fucking real care about the actual issues that are happening. These are scumbag politicians fighting away, push mass surveillance and the control of your free speech on the internet and putting it into actual real fucking danger. So anyways, let's just go over what's been going on. So the kids act, right? Start to the text over here. This is a act to protect children and teens online, empower parents and strengthen family. I find it funny to mention empower parents. If you want to empower parents, teach them instead of becoming the fucking nanny state. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of those political head channels, you know, a lot of guys on the right wing side that are like, doesn't the UK like monitor your fucking speech and like, you know that meme where it's like, oh, you got a license for that, mate? Like the whole fucking the whole meme stuff. It's like you're about to be asked for a license here in the United Motherfucking States of America, okay? Like the freest nation in the fucking world. You know, you might be able to say UK's the lost country, Canada's a bunch of cuckolds, Australians too busy fighting and losing to fucking emus, but Americans are about to lose to fucking ones and zeros. Why? Because they're too fucking lazy to stand up for their rights, you know? And how much more offensive is that really, right? Like at the end of the day. But again, look through this bill, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot to go over. Over 100 pages actually. But there are some definitions that have been brought up by the fellows over at the that you should be paying attention to. Now on the surface, if you look at defenders of this bill, like Richard Blumenthal, for instance, he'll basically post on his website, for instance. So he'll say the Kids Online Safety Act does not disclose, it does not require disclosure of private information such as your history, messages, or friend list. What the Kids Act does is create an obligation for platforms and afterwards safeguard and tools to prevent it, which a lot of these will already exist, which is what these politicians aren't necessarily right? So when they say, does the Kids Online Safety Act require age verification or force users to provide driver's license? And they say no, it doesn't impose age verification requirement. Enterprise platforms like data about use. In fact, it explicitly states that it does not require age verification or election. Additional data from users. That all sounds great, right? It all sounds like they listen to what I said and they're like, let's protect kids in the way that you say. But the reality of it is that there's no law lawyers, no law lawyers this. And I found that even though it says that yes, it doesn't require age verification, technically the closest section of the bill does say that it shouldn't be required age verification. If you read the rest of the bill, I have. And some of the every other watchdog legal organization, I'm not here to be like a piece of the I look at what they say, I look at what they say, I look at what a lot of these organizations say, and kind of like homogenize together. When I report on that. So they said if you read the rest of the bill, they haven't mentioned when they talk about knows or should have known. So throughout the ecosystem, the parental controls required by every website around knows or should have known. If a child or a user is a child, right? Anybody that's defined as under 13 or a teenager with 13 to 16 years of age. So again, you can actually read this for yourself and know and basically see where it defines. So right here, age 19, line 19, 20, knows or no. The term know or no means to know or should have known. And the reason why that's so important is because it serves as basically one of the big giant loopholes that kind of forces a lot of these websites to be mixed. So for instance, right, that kind of explains the problem is the website operator doesn't need actual knowledge that a user is a minor to get into the So it applies when a platform knows or should have known. So this negligence standard basically means that when the courts and regulators come to a website, they're going to have this whole long legal case about should you have known little kids under the age of 13 or 16 and have access to adult features. So what's going to happen is in order to avoid liability, every single one of these services, like Reddit, Discord, like the standard J service, will have determined which users are teenagers and which are not. Most won't be able to trust the user, so they're not going to be able to tell you, hey, are you already under because you didn't put any fucking effort. They'll have to collect more information about age or any lawsuit or government action. Right? Some companies may respond by requesting driver's licenses. Others will rely on age estimation systems that can guess ages. And guess what? Those systems we all know make fucking mistakes because they rely on vision models that sometimes say, listen, you're somebody that obviously looks under the age of 18, but you're actually fucking 32, so we're going to treat you as a kid. Oh, you're somebody that's developed a little bit quickly. Oh, you're 15, we're going to guess you up like 26. So again, these are situations that you got to look at and realize that in some cases, even though the fucking protections they're putting can put some kids in even more fucking danger. You know what I mean? Because in some cases, it might place people in certain groups or people who are actual predators may find ways to get themselves into a child's age gate with clever methods. Because remember, predators just really fucking know what they do, and then they able to have a whole bunch of verified kitties to go after. Right? It's a really insane situation to look at. Right? You know, start off with, hey, we don't want kids to have access to like pornography. Just I'm not against that. I don't think kids should have access to it. They're very addictive, right? And absolutely fucking right. But look at where it falls from, right? Hey, we want to stop kids from accessing pornography. Okay, now we're going to be looking at every fucking social media service. We're looking at each and every single feature on social media service. And now we might be looking at things beyond social media services. Now we declare something to be unsuitable for minors, whatever the fuck that may be. We're going to be starting to like block everything there, right? So even in this case, when you look at section 213, where they talk about a provider or a platform to establish, implement, maintain, or enforce reasonable policies, practices, and procedures that address the following harms to minors. So toxic violence, sexual exploitation, distribution, sale, or use of narcotic drugs that aggravate any financial harm caused by the practices, and yeah. And that may sound really good, but it also pushes extra moderation on topics that don't necessarily have anything to do with again selling drugs. Imagine somebody just talking about age, whether talking about anything related to gambling or alcohol. You know, in some ways where they might be talking about the safety of it, or they might be talking about, hey, listen, imagine you're like, again, you consumed a drug or something, right? And maybe you're scared to looking up information about the safety of what to do, about that drug or how to avoid it, right? System, that may be something that's also very low. Again, there's not because of these umbrella terms, a lot of this stuff may be pushed out of the system. So you might inadvertently put people in more dangerous situations or take away safe resources for them when they get into situations, which happens in life. This is how it works, right? The reality of this too is obviously they've been discussing things like AI chatbots. So again, when we're talking about kids having access to online AI services, which you know, seems like a pretty important aspect of human life nowadays, right? Especially the government pushing this up as hard as they have financially backing it. Kids are ultimately going to be protected. And the only way to protect them is basically make sure that everybody using these services is given their release. So now we all have to have our identities attached to every single thing that we do, and every single thing that we post, and every single thing that we inquire. That's where the real creepy shit is starting to come across if you're really thinking about it. Now, yeah, ultimately, at the end of the day, one of the biggest issues is that loophole of do you know or should you have known. And ultimately, even these laws straight up say we don't require you to give us an ID. You basically made it where all these companies are going to be so financially in terms of liability that they're going to take our information anyway. In some ways, a lot of these tech companies would probably enjoy it. They have their ID and all this shit anyway. It helps them prove that each person is a real person they advertise to, and also allows them to get more information on a user than they normally would anyway. Which again, if you care about privacy and safety, probably the least amount of information you need. Again, ask yourself if you're comfortable giving out your driver's license or any other fucking piece of information to every other site. And before somebody says, but no, when you buy a beer at a store, don't you have to show an ID anyways? Show your ID to a fucking bartender or like somebody at a store once. It's a lot different than uploading to a server, not knowing if it's going to be deleted or not, or it's getting shared around somebody. And you know damn well there's a difference right there. So let's not try to be bad about it. Obviously, there is a little bit more in the situation too. For instance, a lot of these like age verification measures are going to be designed in a way to prevent access to certain privacy features. For instance, a lot of children or really any users with access to things like messaging will require you to provide an identification proof that you're not 5. And ultimately, if you're using a service that doesn't necessarily have encrypted end messaging, and you're also giving your ID up to them, well, that also opens up your entire messages list. Grabs and now that has an ID attached to them, well, it's not even private anymore. Anything is so attached to you that's not even. The other thing is also that messaging. So again, if you're aware of disappearing messages, like everybody doesn't know, a lot of messaging services have disappearing messages. So you can send somebody a text and able to disappear on the server and when I'm saying device. It's kind of like having a real conversation, right? Not everything you say to somebody is stored in some fucking server out there. A lot of times conversations disappear, especially when people who are journalists, people that are fighting tyrannical government, people that just really care about their rights, right? People that are talking about sensitive things. Well, that information gets locked down. People that are only willing to talk to, they are a lot of these social media services. So again, this is all the kind of stuff that you have to really watch out for. The reality of it is, look, again, this is a very tiring, and again, it might seem like a lot of that's why I'm here. That's why I talk about this stuff. Again, you really have to parse through the bullshit to see, what is real and what isn't, what is hyperbole and what is actual. What is that? Is that in order to protect children, a lot of politicians involved here have left some pretty like and these rules I don't think are here no reason. I think ultimately at the end of the day, for the companies, for a lot of people that enjoy watching every act of your life, they're deliberately let in so that when this stuff happens or when this stuff gets banned for reasons, we've always rose awareness of this, and it's always kind of stopped or installed. But there's a reason why a lot of these like organizations are trying to put all this stuff really rapid. It's alarming, it's scary, and unless you're constantly fucking vigilant of it, eventually you get this stuff, then you do not have a you do not get fucking undo it. You might be able to get this stuff to the Supreme Court and argue it and do whatever you want. Once it get through, this is what it is. It's pretty much a done game. And honestly, that's why we need you. So I mean, educate you. you know, I mean, ultimately, you know, I think most people don't want it, but you know, we're living in a world where gaslighting things is all about things. So we're really television, why do you think I'm reality is the next wave of mass surveillance, the next wave of making sure that everybody on the internet, I need some news, the people who have treated the internet as the last bastion, really finally don't have any other letting. And you know, when you're looking at government, remember, it doesn't matter what they say, at the end of the day, it ends up right. You have a fucking government and you have a letting go. But again, you want to have the ability to say your piece and be able to create when the internet turns into this state of mass surveillance where every single person is monitored, well, nobody's really ever going to be able to see what's going on. Nobody's ever going to be able to have access to free information, and the whole fucking world changes that. So, but again, take it seriously like that, because literally after this, you can change word words. Well, maybe we'll be able to say that, but you gotta be able to. You have to be able to.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe microplastic snorting, maybe 5G beams have finally penetrated the brain. But we have bore witness to an unbelievable display of corporate self-destruction with a big old smile on their face. It's been watching a kaiju fight between two massive corporations, Microsoft and PlayStation, as they duke it out, battling to see who can drunk drive their business into the ground faster. Now, I know that not all of these terrible decisions are entirely their faults, like Xbox pricing. That's just a result of the state of the industry right now. Solely because of AI, by the way. I'm tired of hearing me about the AI boogeyman, but it is just a genuine plague. It is a miasma of misery sweeping across the globe that is affecting every single person on it while bringing no benefits and only sadness and incredibly outrageous, absurd pricing. So it's hard for these companies to continue to make these electronics at the prices that they were when AI booming here has caused them to go through the roof. So that's why everything's raising prices. But I'll go ahead and read some good news. I saw this tasty little nugget this morning where Lenovo is where the high memory prices are just the new normal, at least through 2030, and they may never return to the early 2025 levels. So that's positive. AI has skull fucked us so hard that now we just have to take the abuse with a smile on our face and get used to it. Rub some dirt in it. It's the new normal, baby. Isn't that just joyous? Hope bubbles into two shapes because there's plenty more friction coming from the financial pounding we'll continue to take as these companies still whole hog go full throttle into AI and just give one of these to every human being on the planet. Because as I mentioned, these companies have learned they don't really need to consumer. They can just incestuously sell to each other and just imagine everybody inflate their profits and their bottom line while cutting out workers as well, saving more money there. It's just a complete fucking mess, a complete disaster. So yes, I recognize that even more price hikes were kind of inevitable. Xbox had already raised their prices pretty recently and now they've done it again, much more substantial. This time $100 plus on all their models and even discontinued one of them because it was like too expensive to keep going. So still an egregious price increase, but I know it was the result of where everything is because of AI. That's not the only terrible decision that I'll be out about here. Really, the actual quotes about the statement. Yeah, I haven't seen the full article. I just saw the announcement here about they're still trying to push live service games. So let's see if it's as bad as it sounds. Because it sounds pretty bad. Okay, well, even name drop Concord. Ooh, yuck. President confirmed that they pursue live service games even as he held PlayStation 6 handheld designed to meet challenging ways worldwide. We believe that live service games are content that attracts users on a global level, so we want to continue to revitalize the market through both first-party and third-party content we can revitalize. Every single AAA studio on the planet is trying to push live service games. It is full of them. It's oversaturated. It doesn't matter revitalizing. It's not like it's dead. I mean, most of PlayStation's live service games are dead. They really just killed the biggest one, which is Destiny 2, which has been already emerging for a while. We're not only focusing on promoting new releases, but also considering that we can do what we can do with older titles in the medium to long term. Also this year we're going to release our own live service title, Marvel Total Fighting Souls, and hope everyone will enjoy it. Oversaturated with bad live service games. Yeah, it very much is. I don't have a lot of PlayStation being the ones to introduce a good one. They had a good one with Destiny 2 and they mismanaged the fuck out of it. That's what PlayStation seems to do. Games, live service games continues to provide something. The genre itself is relatively new. I think many people are trying various things, so we also want to continue to take on challenges within that context. I just hate that mentality. I wish they would just focus on making good games. I really think, and I've said this so many times, like a broken record, make cheaper games that don't take years and years and years to develop. Just make good single player games that take maybe a year, 2 years maybe to develop, like a couple $1 million budget at the highest end. Like pump those out, deliver creative fun experiences instead of trying to chase the big ticket live service item, which just keeps fucking these companies. So they still have another chance with Fair Game, $sign, which apparently is completely rebooted under the new name, break in because PlayStation the original version. I remember hearing about that. I fucking swear, there's something nefarious afoot here with this. Someone must have cracked the one which Willow and made PlayStation higher ups obsessed with live service games. Because for a while now, they keep fixating on trying to deliver them, and they're terrible. Poorly received, they flat, they lose hundreds of millions of dollars on all of their live service attempts. Someone you might remember Babylon's Fall, Babylon's Fall. That was like a fully, PlayStation exclusive, they were rallying behind super big, but it was a live service attempt that was console exclusive to PlayStation that only repeated like 400 players, maybe one of them were taken. I went to experience the worst goddamn live service game you ever possibly can imagine. They're based on it status. Like they keep putting all their eggs in this basket of live service, and they're terrible games. They're not being received well. They're being outright rejected by the community. Marathon is not performing where it needs to be, and yet the lesson they're taking away from it is that the community must want more live service games. So don't worry, we're gonna keep doing it. Yes, I know we've lost so many hundreds of millions of dollars, which is why we gotta keep putting hundreds of millions of dollars in there. We're gonna fix it. It's what you guys want. We gotta revitalize live service games, baby. We're the ones to do it. Even though everyone collectively owns that, it's a snoozer. It's not what the PlayStation community is salivating for. Clearly, the appetite's not there. Maybe it's a good one, which they did called Destiny 2, but they mismanaged that shit to the fucking ground. They put it in the dirt. They slowly hemorrhaged players for so long because leadership was clueless, sucking their thumb and making players suck their asshole for a terrible long time with their awful decisions that eventually had people abandon it. And then they just recently stopped development on it and canned a large chunk of the team behind it. But that was not only their most successful live service game, but also just one of the most successful, generally most successful live service franchises, most successful live service IP, and look at how they handle it. So even if Sony does find another unicorn like Destiny, there's no trust and faith that they'll be able to keep it alive forever or anything into the deep future like they keep wanting to do when we have a proven ineptitude here with how they handled Destiny 2 for so long. So why do they keep chasing this dragon? It's outrageous to me. PlayStation's doing they had their worst performing May in 26 years. I believe Xbox is about to have a catastrophic collapse too with a new price hike. You don't know that, but I know buying an Xbox in general, let alone paying even more to own the fucking dust box. I do know that, man. Xbox has not been getting anyone to spend money on their console, and now they've raised the price again, so it's only going to get even worse. $800 for the Series X. Yeah, it's catastrophic. This is the day after others said gaming's becoming unaffordable. Then the next day they announced the Xbox price increase. Everything went up $100 bare minimum. Fuck me, silly. Just look at these prices now. Look at these diabolical prices for an Xbox, a console that's already been struggling to get people to buy it in the first place. Now it's even more expensive to buy it. Oh baby, wow, that's just gross. It's just gross. I know price increase was inevitable because of where memory pricing is. I get it, but holy shit, going up by over $100 on multiple models, up $150 on some of these models is just so outrageous. Have you thought about renting an Xbox? Oh, that's a financially responsible decision. So you can't afford to pay the $500 entry fee for the Xbox Series S, which bro, the Series S is $500 is nuts. And the Series X note describes $750, and then you want to describe on that Series X $800. Yeah, that's really that shit. You got it. Come on. Microsoft needs you. Money is temporary. Xbox is forever. They basically use the price increase announcement. Wait, what are we talking about? They're making a joke. They're actually doing that. Let me see. That real? I've got their sunsetting 2 terabyte model because that would cost like $2,000 or something crazy. They would do like $1,100 something crazy. Oh wow. Today we're sharing programs to make Xbox consoles more accessible. Buy now, pay later. Oh baby. We made it easier for players to use buy now, pay later options on eligible Xbox hardware purchases. Microsoft stores making possible break up payment and short-term interest-free installments. There's also interest-free financing. We're working hard to let players purchase eligible Xbox hardware 0% APR financing for 12 months. Giving players more flexibility with lower monthly payments and more budget control. What the fuck? It's never been more affordable to get yourself an Xbox. These aren't even price increases. At that point, you're saving money. You have to slap that shit on Florida. So cool. Previously played consoles, working retail partners on new programs to provide previously played consoles at lower prices. Players who are ready to upgrade no longer use their console, be able to trade in and participating in retail partners for store credit. I think it's actually an upgrade. You know, I've got the Series X from a couple years ago, but I'd really rather pay more for it. I'd rather upgrade it now at the worst possible time to do so. I'll trade it in. Those consoles will be available at lower price players and certified refurbished consoles. The Xbox certified refurbished consoles available at Microsoft stores for $200 on the wow. You already don't own your game, so might as well own the console too. What do you mean? You own the console? Over time, you get to own it over time. Payday does give up on Payday 3, going back to Payday 2. Engine upgrade, open beta announcement. That's so embarrassing. Payday 3 was such dog shit that we'll just forget this. We'll go back to 2 years like that one. I know the whole rent to own model for consoles isn't new, and I've adapted that before. But let me just sit you down here for some advice. No, that's not a good idea. To pay in these incremental installments for your Xbox that is dreadfully overpriced. I genuinely can't even picture someone with these prices. Like, oh, yeah, I think I will pay that. In fact, over time, over a 12-month period. In fact, like that boggles my mind. I hope there's not a lot of people out there doing that. That would be financially irresponsible and a genuinely awful decision. You think GTA 6 will cause an increase in console sales? Yes. Since it's not even PC on launch, there are going to be tons of people that buy a console just for GTA 6. There's no doubt in my mind. Do you think Rockstar will sell GTA Online separately? They can get away with it. I think they will. They can definitely get away with it. People can buy it no matter what. It's a monthly, they wouldn't care. How many people care they get upset they still pay for it? I don't think they'll do it though. But they certainly could. You know, PlayStation deleting 500% sales from customers' library due to license expiring. Oh my God. What is going on, man? Holy, is that real? PlayStation's deleting 551 movies from customers' accounts. 551 movies? Like Rambo: First Blood, Bridget Jones' Diary, and Deer Hunter. Terminator 2 also on there. Contacting PlayStation Store users who bought movies from the platform that are distributed by Studio Canal. Terminator 2 totally recalling confessions of the Game Time, saying you'll no longer be able to access your previously purchased content. It will be removed from your video library. There's no mention of any refunds or maintenance to the users. Sony simply says the films are going away due to our content license agreements. Once again, reaffirming the fact you're never truly buying anything that's digital, temporarily renting it. Yep, that's egregious though. Holy shit. No mention of refund or anything. That's diabolical. So that's gotta be illegal, right?
right? It's gotta be. When you scroll past the endless, you agree with so you're unwittingly agreeing that nothing you buy is really truly bought, and nothing you take away from you at any point, and there's nothing you can do. The same is true of your games. True. I'll even bring up GTA 6 no physical. This is only in the UK. Oh, is it just UK customers? I mean, it still should be completely legal across the board, but it's only certain events are all over it. That's nuts, man. I don't even know how I could possibly argue that legally. I bought all of these things from this service. I no longer have those things. They took away from me. I should have my money back. What's your counterpoint? Other than, well, you signed this agreement saying that you're renting. But like, there's already been a precedent set, at least here in the States, that there's no real expectation for users to read every single thing in the terms and service agreements. That's already been proven. You can't just put illegal things in there because people aren't expected to fully read all of them. So like, that argument it wouldn't work here. Maybe in the UK it's completely different. I don't know. Seems like a studio canal thing. That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty nifty. I'm telling you, man. Physical copies of everything is integral in the modern age. It becomes such a physical media. A nice, timely, grim reminder about the importance of recognizing that when you are existing in this digital space, consuming the digital goods, it's just completely empty calories. You're consuming the idea of the thing that you are renting. You're not actually buying or owning anything you're getting digitally at any time to be taken away from you. And in this case, your PlayStation films, they don't even give you your money back. So you bought something and now you don't have it anymore, but you still have that money. So it's just you basically gave PlayStation a donation. This couldn't have come at a more serendipitous time. With GTA 6 unveiling that they're not doing discs, at least not on launch, where it's going to be code in a box. You should see now why having a disc is important, right? This should be like abundantly clear even without this lesson. Even if you want to drive home. We've seen so many examples of just the things that you buy online you don't own, and they do oftentimes get taken away for a variety of reasons. Maybe licensing, like in this case, or just who knows, maybe your account gets banned because of who knows what. But you don't own any of your shit. However, if you have a physical copy of it, you do. You have it. It's accessible. So you actually buy something, and that's important. Supposedly GTA 6 will have a disc release in December. Rockstar is only making the game digital exclusive temporarily to prevent leaks and spoilers. If they're actually making a physical release this year, that reasoning, not too sure about that. But I don't know about that. I don't know about that. For a reason, so people double dip further. Yeah, that seems far more likely. No, this is like totally different spoilers. Not hoping that people buy digital also buy physical collection until I actually the game. Like, no, it's just solely about stuff. It really is just wild. Has been nothing but bad news from the gaming industry for quite a little bit now, and they keep finding even more wild ways of going lower. Anyway, you just want to yap about it. It's a fucking disaster. That's true about it too.
Good. Some tiny things in here. It looks like a code. Could be a code. I don't know. What the fuck? Bandcamp.com.
我逮到你了，好吧，这里大安全。
在笑话，你们类走这个程序说，谁没吃过？
我好爱这节目，我也是。等我一下，安全第一，现在备战特技，疯狂全场小偷主球。
你得给我等着瞧，海绵宝宝。
放马过来吧！我打。
喂，你活该，笨海绵。快别傻了！
嘿，山迪，有没有听说过小松鼠变成怪头肉的故事啊？
应该没有。
我说给你听。等等，我忘了开场。哦耶！这一招还不错吧？好美丽的一天，美丽的天空，美丽的植物，爱植物，美丽的罐头堆。山迪，这是你最烂的伪装术。
你错了，海绵宝宝，这个才是。好，准备接我这无情的绝招。我最爱的。
坏坏先生赐给我力量，我要让这一碟特别的辣椒酱变得非常非常辣。
等等，我烂住了啦！
我就知道你会想通的，海绵宝宝。
好耶！
Just like that. Well, the least thing was. I got black and white now because whatever the fuck. If I go back and forth, it just should. Yeah. Let's see how this. Today 5 p.m. Yep, okay. Okay. Interesting. Wait. Oh, so much sports slop. Mostly World Cup slop. No. No. $20 ago. No much else then. Last refresh, last, and that's it. Can just double check the links, of course. What a way to end it. Yup. Oh, this one's still going. Yup. Oh, well. That weird one. Disaster thing. So it's only Manware. Wait. Okay. Only Manware OpenAI far through us to death. See. Okay, asking. Okay, asking. Wait. Okay. Now what should. Trap. Why? Okay. Score. Physical dream. This is stick. Night trap. Happy ending. Understand till fire station. Why you don't read Steam? Okay.